Alright, the story kicks off with the captain, making sure everyone can hear him. The captain announces that the baby princess is arriving at outpost number 11,361. She's gonna be the new big boss. According to imperial law, all 14,000 members of the outpost will become her citizens, under her command. It's a super rare opportunity in the Galactic Federation, but then someone just raises their hand and cuts him off. The officer, clearly annoyed, snaps, "Fu interrupted me." A guy pipes up, introducing himself as Yang Xiufeng, a senior mechanical engineer in artillery engineering. The officer's kinda weirded out by our MC's height, or lack thereof. But Yang's like, "Dude, I'm 1.80 meters, which is actually pretty tall back on Earth, just so you know." Questioned by the Earthling, the captain hears concerns about low ammo and the princess's safety, but he just tells Yang to zip it. Irritated at being questioned, the captain transfers Yang to basic maintenance. He clearly doesn't want to see that engineer around anymore. After that, he just wraps up the meeting, saying everything's sorted. That's all, folks. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a woman says she has a new report from the front lines, and the officer tells her to spill it. She reports an attack by the Singlong race on another outpost and suggests they get ready. The officer remembers that this species hunts advanced life forms across the universe. But he's not sweating it. He wants to prioritize the princess's ceremony, and the woman just says, "Understood. Also, any info about the attack needs to be kept hush. Hush so the princess doesn't get her royal panties in a twist." Over at the maintenance team's base, our MC gets totally bowled over. Some dude apologizes, saying he didn't even see Yang because he's so small. Small? He's 1.80 meters? Like 1.80! Others start gossiping about the new guy, accusing him of insubordination and even telling him to go back to Earth. All because he's short. But when he finally gets to the dorms, Yang Xiufeng is shocked by what a dump the place is. Our MC looks a bit thoughtful while holding a red object. He's thinking about his parents and how badly he wants to go back to Earth. However, he needs to finish the tasks his dad gave him. Dad's checklist includes get married, have kids, make hundreds of friends, and buy a house. Standard stuff. Fail any of those and Dad basically just sounds him. No pressure. Our poor MC realizes his trip home isn't happening anytime soon. Elsewhere, the princess disembarks from her ship, greeted by a cheering, adoring crowd. And this is our lovely Princess Weiwei. At the outpost, Weiwei is met with warm greetings. Clearly, she's got some serious popular support. The princess then thanks everyone for their support, while her royal knight, Leek, stands by her side. But hold on, Weiwei isn't just anyone. She's the 133rd Galactic Princess, and she's taking command. She went from an illegitimate princess to royalty with real power. Besides that, she's also thinking how the resources of this territory will bring her a ton of profit, and these commoners will guarantee her success. Knight Leek advises her to be careful, since this isn't the capital. But Weiwei snaps back that she already knows that, and he doesn't need to remind her all the time. But our powerful girl immediately face plants, showing she's a total klutz. She asks Leek if anyone saw her wipe out. She complains that the fall really hurt. Then she demands to know who the unlucky sap was that left trash in the hallway. The knight then points, suggesting it was our MC. The princess questions the MC's presence there. After all, it was supposed to be packed with elites. But Leek figures he must be a primitive earthling, given his short stature. The princess asks for the MC's name, and he's surprised, wondering if it's really the princess talking to him. Our MC, trying to avoid getting chewed out, introduces himself as Yang Xiufeng and asks if the princess needs anything. The princess then gets all blushy, thinking Yang is actually pretty handsome. She then asks if that bag belongs to Yang, and he confirms it. The princess blames the MC for making her trip and demands compensation. Yang, not having much to offer, apologizes and says he had no intention of making her fall. Weiwei says she might forgive him if he shows some sincerity. Yang says he understands what kind of sincerity she means and asks the princess for a moment. The princess just thinks about how her status always gets her these kinds of perks. Returning, he offers a card as compensation. The princess is curious, wondering what it is, and Yang explains it's an old gift card for a seafood buffet. She's in disbelief, asking if the MC is seriously pulling her leg. What she really wants is 200,000 star coins to call it even. But, see, she's saying this because she thinks our MC is some rich noble. Yang explains he spent everything on student loans and only has 200 left. The princess is stunned, realizing the MC is totally broke. The knight warns the princess that she could damage her reputation by bullying staff. And believe it or not, she agrees with him. Changing her tune, she says she was just kidding. She even praises Yang for being a young engineer, but our MC admits her little joke scared the daylights out of him. From now on, Leek and the MC will be friends, but since she has other things to do, she says goodbye. The MC thinks the princess is actually pretty nice. Right after, some people surround him. Two women chew out the MC, saying the princess would never associate with a poor guy like him, and he should know his place. Meanwhile, in another spot, we see the princess looking seriously ticked off. She's fuming, saying if she runs into Yang again, she's gonna teach him a lesson. And just then, the commander approaches, asking what's wrong with the princess. Wei Wei asks what's up with him. The captain informs her about a nearby Singlong race portal. Tons of enemies are advancing fast. But no need to panic. The captain has everything prepared. Turns out, everything means her evacuation. But the princess refuses to abandon her team. She's confident in the outpost defenses. So, it's decided she's staying and fighting. Coming from 12 light years away, the Singlong attack through a portal. One of the members reports over 1,000 enemies approaching. Another warns about a high-risk target, even suspecting it might be the Singlong king. The captain is suspicious of this target. It's too obvious, too easy. He then figures they must be after the princess because of her star power. A perfect meal for them, since they always hunt down isolated royalty. He then gets annoyed, thinking the princess is way too confident in the outpost defenses. Originally, the outpost had the Empire's best defense system, ready to take on any race. But after a century without an attack, the defense funds were redirected. The current system is useless. With not much else to do, the captain orders the self-destruct activated, an evacuation notice sent out, and the princess's signal jammed. His goal is to say the princess fought to the bitter end to protect her team. Since the Singlong were hunting her, he wouldn't be to blame at all. The captain reminds everyone there that they all got a piece of the redirected money, so they don't have much choice. It's either demotion, the light way out, or prison. So, the self-destruct device is activated. The scene shifts, showing the monsters getting closer to the outpost. And who shows up? King Zilong, a colossal, disaster-level monster. Leek orders the soldiers to line up and stop the enemy's advance. The soldiers then confirm the order. King Silong senses that delicious feeling coming from the outpost. Then he takes a massive leap towards the soldiers. He brutally smashes all the mechs he finds. Realizing things are looking grim, Leek tells everyone to form a fire-based network, where the soldiers report they're out of ammo and the magazines are empty. And to make things worse, they don't even have tactical knives. Realizing the outpost doesn't even have decent weapons, the mission seems more impossible by the second. Leek suspects that Deputy Chief planned this, and most importantly knew the real situation. At that exact moment, a soldier screams that the princess is in danger. The Sing King launches an energy attack, obliterating the distant armors. He realizes everything there is just scrap metal. But more importantly was his real target. He figured out his targets are hiding in the base. Immediately, Leek orders preparations for an emergency evacuation. He ejects at the last second, just before the king destroys his armor. After ejecting, the knight hides behind some rubble. Alarms start blaring, the base is self-destructing, evacuation has to be immediate. Then everyone starts to panic, realizing they need to run. Everyone starts yelling, telling the princess to hurry. The escape pod is about to leave! The princess screams for Leek, seeing the ship leaving without them. But unfortunately, the escape ship is already gone. Wei Wei curses out the deputy chief for ditching them. And she's wondering, what in the world are they gonna do now? She begs the knight to think of something fast. But unfortunately, Leek says there's nothing he can do. The princess starts crying, asking if this is gonna be her end. But out of nowhere, our MC pops up, asking why they're still hanging around. Yang says he finally found them. The princess gets hopeful, asking if he has a way out. The MC says of course he has a safe way out, but Leek notices the MC's injury. He says it's nothing major and he's fine. Yang says they need to go to the ship production area. There are ships there that haven't been delivered yet. Yang tells them to put on suits while he sets the coordinates. The princess starts to trust the MC. After all, he's a mechanic. Leek notices the princess is uneasy and asks her what's wrong. Wei Wei shows him there are only 2 spaceships available. Leek then tells her she has to book it, like, now. He justifies it by saying their 2 lives are worth more than some primitives. They can compensate Yang's family later. Just then, Yang returns apologizing for the delay. He then says they need to get going. And that's when he realizes everyone bailed and took the ships. Our MC got left in the dust, folks. Yang laments not being tall, but is that really enough reason to ditch him instead of taking him along? He calls the others liars. After all, if they were friends, they should have taken him with them. But looking up, something catches his eye. A monster invades the base, and at the same time, the self-destruct hits 5 seconds. 5. The deadly king is still looking for his target. 4. Leek and the princess have already fled. 3. The princess regrets leaving him there. 2. The captain smiles, satisfied with his plan. 1. Yang is about to meet his end. And in the next second, the outpost explodes. Floating in the darkness, our MC wonders if he's already a goner. Oddly enough, he feels calm, until a distant light catches his attention. Could that light be the stairway to heaven? But something makes him hesitate for a moment. He realizes there are actually 2 lights. So, which one does he choose? Which is the real path to the pearly gates? With too much to process, our MC just smiles thinking, whatever, let's just roll the dice. He then heads towards the brighter light, figuring it's the safer bet. Crossing through the luminous portal, Yang finds himself in total darkness. But seriously, where is he? He starts shouting to see if anyone's nearby. But he feels something soft above him, and then starts tearing at it. A bright light starts flooding in. The brightness is so intense it almost blinds him. But looking around, Yang questions what he's seeing. He finds the appendages on his body strange and notices he now has 2 pairs of hands. Not only that, but antennae and wings. He wonders if he's been reincarnated as a bee. Finding all this pretty interesting, he thinks about looking for nectar like a good little worker bee. However, looking up, he's blown away by the view. Our MC starts admiring the beauty of that planet. Enormous floating islands of land drift before him. Yang notices the soil looks fertile and free of pollution. It's nothing like Earth, which is full of smog ash and radioactive seas. Over there, life only lasts 40 years. Yikes. Nearby worker bees are chatting. One points at our MC and identifies him as a newborn drone. Noticing the attention, Yang looks in their direction. One wonders what they'll do while another confirms, saying he really is the drone. One of them comments that our MC is the smallest drone she's ever seen. Even in this new world, he can't escape the height jokes. The curious bees ask for the MC's name and also if they can touch him. Our MC, feeling popular, introduces himself to them. Tilting his head, he lets them touch him. They then comment on how soft our MC's skin is. Another voice interrupts, asking what they're doing. Shouldn't they be working? The bees then recognize the voice, realizing it's the Queen's guard. But our MC is still a bit dizzy from all the squeezing. And we see Billy, the Queen's guard, a disaster-level powerhouse. Weighing in at 900 tons, she orders everyone back to work. The bees scatter, obeying the order. Folks, I just wanted to remind you that our MC is the only drone in this harem. This hive. Our MC feels relieved. He thought he was going to pass out from being squeezed so much. Billy comments that the situation really is quite something. The guard turns to Yang, asking if he's the first newborn drone. Billy then tells him to follow her and meet the Queen. The truth is, Yang had totally forgotten he could fly. So he gets excited, realizing he's actually managing to fly. Just the sensation of flying makes him incredibly happy. But the klutz ends up smacking right into a tree. The bees comment that our MC is super reckless. It's his first flight, and seriously, why is he so hyped up? Recovering, Yang spots the hive and wonders if that's where the Queen lives. Getting closer and closer, he feels a strange energy coming from it. Landing, Billy and Yang enter the hive. At the entrance, another guard greets Captain Billy but finds it odd to see her there on her day off. Yeah, for real, Billy is one dedicated guard. Billy explains she's taking the drone to the Queen, and that's why she's there. But once inside the hive, Yang feels intimidated by the intense stares of the other worker bees. He notices there aren't any other drones around, but Billy explains to him that he's the only one among over 3,000 female workers. I like where this is going. Things are looking interesting for our MC. Billy also explains that apart from the Queen, they're all workers. Meanwhile, our MC is just there thinking, over 3,000 workers. That's a lot of ladies for one guy. Although it seems a bit much, Yang is actually pretty stoked about this. His mind wanders, thinking about being the only male in that place. He even wonders if he can handle it all. But Billy asks him why he's so happy. She even asks him if he's thinking about something inappropriate. The guard asks if he's thinking about wooing her sisters, finding that pretty out of line. And our smooth-talking MC asks if that's wrong. Billy then explains that only the Queen reproduces, but drones also mate with outside queens, annually. But enough about that, they're arriving at the royal chamber. Before the Queen, Billy introduces herself and greets Her Majesty. The Queen then asks the reason for the visit. Billy then informs her she's brought the newborn drone to meet her. We get a close-up of the dangerous Queen. Her name is Bai Huang, and she's also disaster level. Our MC, who's a goofball but not an idiot, thinks she's very beautiful. He wonders if she'll be his mom in this world. The Queen notices the little drone's gaze. Without thinking too much, Yang says out loud that Mom is very beautiful. Billy then scolds him, telling him to call her Queen, and asks if he doesn't know the rules. Speaking of rules, shouldn't he be kneeling? But for real, our MC has no idea what protocol she's talking about. The Queen says it's alright, since they're alone, she doesn't need to worry about it. Besides, she finds our MC very captivating. Gently, the Queen invites him to sit beside her. She explains that an old rule calls her Queen, not Mother. And Yang questions her, since she's the one who birthed him. She explains that the ruler of Sky Island needs to maintain her dignity. Yang says he understands. She says that in the past, she was a worker, but she was chosen by the former Queen to inherit the royal power. The Queen emphasizes that everyone in the hive is related, so they should live well together. So, the Queen assigns Billy, Bamangmang, and Bimamam to take care of our MC. Billy assures her she'll train our MC to be an excellent drone. The queen praises Billy, saying she's the most capable worker and also the only one with 2-star strength. So she asks Yang to learn well from her. Soon after, we see the residential area of Sky Island. Various tribes live there, under the management of the bees. Thanks to their protection, Sky Island is considered the safest place around. Billy then points ahead, showing the specific residential area of the hive. She warns Yang, who's at level 0, not to leave there. The outside is extremely dangerous. Not only that, but it's governed by the law of the jungle among the wild tribes. Yang then receives a new room with food and water guaranteed by the hive. Billy asks Mang and Mama to give that thing to our MC. Man, thank goodness I misunderstood that. He asks what that is and if it's a pet, but the guard states it's nutritious and very precious food. Yang questions if bees are eating insects, and then complains, saying these reproduction folks are getting worse and worse. Actually, they're not bees, they're wasps. Our MC now understands why the hive seems so strange. The girls say goodbye, promising to see him the next day. He then just watches them leave. Looking at that simple room, he notices the lack of technology. It reminds him of the Middle Ages. But surprisingly, he likes it and says reincarnating as a wasp seems like a dream. Lying down, he then decides since he's there, he'll be the best wasp possible. But suddenly he wakes up as a human and wonders what's happening. He questions if he's back in the previous space. But out of nowhere, someone yanks him with a lot of force. He's dragged towards another mysterious light. Surprisingly, Yang ends up in the monster graveyard even after reincarnating. With a lot of struggle and effort, he manages to get out of the mouth of the monster that had eaten him. He doesn't even understand how he managed to return to his original body. Klutzy as ever, he ends up falling back into the mouth of a giant monster. His left arm was injured, but the suit contained the bleeding. Still, he needs to disinfect it ASAP. And besides that, his leg was also injured. And to make matters worse, the whole situation is crawling with monsters. Hurriedly, he tries to collect dry branches to make a fire. So he starts gathering the fallen twigs on the ground. Our MC manages to make a fire super easily. After all, he's a neeked and afraid addict. After a while, Yang says he's going to boil the bandages to disinfect his wounds. Grabbing a piece of cloth from the embers, he thinks that without medicine, this is the only way to stop the bleeding and clean the wound. As he cauterizes the wound, he starts screaming in pain. The pain is so intense it makes him pass out right there. Waking up later, he saw a valley full of monster corpses. Could these monsters have perished in the explosion our MC survived? Something in the scenery catches his attention. He finds the darkness that has taken over the place strange. The next instant, a huge something almost crushes him. It was a Zuli dragon, a cosmic monster of disaster level, weighing 180,000 tons. The creature's colossal size leaves our MC scared and terrified. A second dragon appears, asking the first one what happened. The Zuli dragon comments that it thinks something small passed between its feet. Our MC gets bullied even by dragons, man. The flash dragon tells him to forget it. Maybe it was a sheep. The Dragon King is badly injured and needs blood, like yesterday. So they should look for fresh bodies as quickly as possible. Yang wonders what in the blazes they're talking about. The creatures then begin to collect the most recent corpses from the valley. Our curious MC wants to know where they're taking those corpses. He thinks maybe this is a good opportunity to escape. One of the dragons then announces it's time for them to leave. So both fly off carrying the bodies. The dragons fly over various creatures, and we see the rich wildlife on that planet. And hidden in the mouth of a corpse, our MC is happy to have gotten out of that cursed place. He then starts to look around. But where exactly are these dragons going? Is that a monster nest? The dragons fly directly towards an active volcano. They dive straight into the volcano's crater. Inside, they discard the bodies they collected. But with the impact of the body hitting the ground, Yang is thrown out. The fall ends up hurting him a little bit. A dragon informs old Chico that the ingredients have arrived and asks him to make soup for the king. The turtle says he has quick hands, despite not having good eyesight. Meanwhile, our MC is over there looking for an exit. He notices the old turtle is approaching where he fell. Old X says he's going to make a great soup with those fresh ingredients. And our MC is dying of fear of being seen. For a moment, he believes this is going to be his end. But, amazingly, the old guy simply ignores him. Our MC is relieved, realizing the old guy really does have terrible eyesight. Old Chico comments that the soup will need a few more minutes simmering. The turtle starts cutting meat from the corpses. Yang finally feels safe for an instant. But at that moment, the monsters started staring at each other, wondering if they're really seeing that. Then they start shouting, saying there's a human there. And most importantly, he looks delicious. Terrified, our boy starts running desperately. He wonders when this nightmare will finally end. But it's too late, our MC is about to be crushed. As a last resort, he activates the suit's airbag. The suit inflates, turning him into a ball, and the monster steps on him. The impact violently launches him through the air, and the unlucky guy flies towards the cooked turtle. The unlucky fellow is about to collide with a large cauldron of soup, and Yang ends up falling into the boiling soup. A nearby monster wonders if that isn't the Dragon King's Longwood soup pot. Another confirms. They shout for Old X to stop, but the turtle doesn't hear them. At that instant, a larger dragon crushes the smaller creature. A cosmic dragon roars, saying this is the king's palace, and more importantly, are they trying to rebel? The smaller creatures deny it and point out there's a human in Old X's pot. Indifferent, the bat dragon says it's just an unimportant human. And he repeats this phrase while taking his foot off the crushed creature on the ground. He wonders if the crushed dragon actually bit the dust. Ignoring them, the giant creature yells for them to get out of there immediately. The bat dragon respectfully calls out to his king. He recalls the explosion, questioning how the mighty dragon king couldn't prevent what happened. The king replies that he needed to seize that unique opportunity. After 300 years without progress, the chance to advance his power was right there. He just needed to absorb her star power. The king orders that no one should approach while he recovers, and the servant swears to protect him with his life. Meanwhile, Old X pours out the soup, and along with the liquid, Yang is sucked into the new compartment. The turtle thanks his lucky stars for finishing the job, while Yang went into the king's regeneration capsule. Inside the capsule, he feels the weird effect. He's exhausted and desperate. Yang has the freaking urge to destroy everything in that miserable life. And again, he's about to lose consciousness, and out of nowhere, he wakes up again and realizes he's back in the wasp's body. He then starts checking to see if he's dreaming. Nope, the pain confirms it, this is real. Yang understands. Both bodies are real. When one sleeps, the other wakes up. Apparently, this isn't your average reincarnation. This means he now has two different bodies. He gets excited, thinking he must have been chosen. Soon after, he starts thinking his real body probably should have been a goner by now. Before, he was just some random earthling, but now he's a wasp with noble status. Most importantly, he's surrounded by ladies. He feels like this is where he belongs. Our MC then feels hungry. He realizes he hasn't eaten anything since he arrived in this body. He remembers the caged food he received the day before. Curious, he goes to check what's good to eat, and then looks inside the cage. The creature inside begs not to be eaten, but Yang decides to follow local customs and try the food. Does moth taste like raw shrimp? Taking a bite, he finds the taste horrible and spits it out immediately. The moth complains, "I was about to be a goner and I still get called disgusting." He then takes it outside, says he's not going to eat it, and also tells it to stop crying. Slamming the door, he leaves the moth outside. The moth is confused for a moment. It realizes it's finally free and smiles with relief. From afar, other wasps spot the loose moth. They come with hungry eyes towards the moth. The moth then gets scared and starts banging on Yang's door, begging to be let in. Without much patience, Yang opens the door again. It says our MC is a good insect and asks him to take it home. Obviously, our MC refuses. He says he's starving and needs to eat something first. The moth then suggests pollen cake. Since he doesn't eat meat, he'll probably like it. Our MC is interested in this pollen cake idea, and it confirms it has some at home, and most importantly, its sister's a great cook. Our MC, who is starving, suggests flying there. It warns our MC about the guard and also spots a red bread flower. The moth explains that specific flour is edible. Since the house is still far, our MC can eat that. He eats it and finds it sweet as honey. Our MC feels better, so he thanks it. It says it was nothing and suggests they continue on their way. Our MC asks if they're close, and it points to a tree hollow, saying that's its home. Soon, Yang will taste its sister's cooking. The moth says its sister is its most important treasure. When they arrive, he sees its sister begging a wasp to get her brother back. And good thing she spoke up, right? Because I was having trouble figuring out its gender. The wasp cruelly replies that it's too late. She states that her brother was sold and probably already devoured by a lord. Yang finds the scene cruel, and the moth runs to help its sister. The moth then calls its sister and asks if she's hurt. The sister is surprised to see him. He comforts her, saying he's fine and safe. The little one then turns to the wasp and tells her to leave their house. The wasp finds it interesting. She remembers selling him. So how did he survive? With a lot of courage, he says it's none of the wasp's business. The wasp confronts him, saying that as food, he should know his place. Escaping is a crime, and she has the right to punish him. At that exact moment, Yang intervenes and tells the woman to stop. He declares that the little moth was brought by him. If there's any problem, they should deal with him. The dark wasp is shocked to recognize Yang. The moth thanks him, calling our MC Lord, but Yang asks him to call him Shay Fang, since they're probably friends now. Surprised, the wasp says she didn't know that was a friend of the Lord, and then asks for forgiveness. But Yang finds her kneeling strange, and the moth doesn't quite understand either. But it's explained that the wasp tribe rules Sky Island. No insect dares to offend them. So, Yang reinforces that the moth is his friend and orders her not to be bullied anymore, and he asks if the woman understood. The wasp gets annoyed, thinking how a male of her tribe is there, calling food a friend. Realizing our MC is there, alone without a guard, she deduces he snuck out. With a malicious smile, she thinks this is an unexpected surprise. Back at the wasp's residence, someone shouts for Xiaofeng. The sisters want to take him for a walk. Looking through the window, they realize he's not there. But where did he go? Billy concludes the idiot snuck out again. She gets irritated that he ignored her order, and most importantly, left the protected city. But at the moat's house, he praises the food offered. It really is delicious. Each pollen cake has a unique fragrance. Yu's cooking really is very good. It just needed a little meat to be perfect. But the word meat shocks the two moths, and they start to get scared. And Yu says our MC was very kind to him. He then grabs a knife, ready to cut his own flesh to repay the favor. Before he does something idiotic, the stone knife falls from his hands. Yang quickly apologizes, explaining to him that wasn't what he was saying. Our MC states that he considers him a friend, and doesn't want him to get hurt because of him. At that moment, the dark wasp returns, finding the scene very touching. Yang asks, what are they doing there? She says she came to invite our MC to visit the mud wasp tribe's territory. But our MC understands what she wants and refuses the invitation. The wasp threatens to use force if he doesn't cooperate. She orders the giant beetle to grab Yang, but to be careful. But our MC is confident, telling the moths not to worry. He'll take care of that beetle, but the monster advances quickly. Yang thinks about his fighting skills from Earth, where he used to take on 10 people at once. And for anyone doubting our MC's skills, he really knows how to fight, okay? The boy even lands a counter-attack on the beetle. He even follows up with a rapid sequence of kicks. However, the blows seem to have no effect, as if it were a massage for the beetle. Yang questions if the creature's muscles don't feel pain. Suddenly, the beetle grabs our MC by the head. Whoa there! Yang despairs, saying he's gonna die. Either the beetle lets go, or his head will be crushed. The beetle doesn't listen to our MC and violently throws him to the ground. The impact was so strong that the moths got worried about Yang. The mud wasp orders everyone to be taken, and the moths even try to help Yang. The wasp laughs and mocks our MC's attempt to fight the beetle. He must be crazy to try that. Inside some kind of transport, the little moth asks if Xiaofeng is better. He replies that it hurts a lot and he thought he was going to die. But where are they going now? And Yu supposes they're being sent to the planet's surface. He explains that the surface is inhabited by the dangerous dragon beasts. Yang asks what these dragon beasts are. Are they like dinosaurs? The moth explains even to his grandfather's ear that the dragon beasts come from beyond the sky. In the past, insects dominated the surface. However, a war against the dragon beasts resulted in the total defeat of the insects. The survivors fled to places like Sky Island, struggling to survive. Yang associates the dragon beasts with the Star Clan. He wonders if this planet also suffered their invasion. But even so, the insect strength is very great. Even being great, it becomes impossible and unfeasible for the insects to win this war. Our MC then asks why the mud wasps live there, and the moth explains that they dominate arid caves, and there they enslave other insects. While holding the rope, the wasp announces they've arrived. She says she'll take him to meet her sister, who will surely like them, and especially Yang. Looking around, our MC observes the deplorable state of the mud wasp's slaves. The wasp notices our MC's interest and tells him that if he doesn't behave, she'll finish him off. Yang notices that all the enslaved insects are covered in wounds and misery. The wasp calls her sister, showing her what she brought. Other wasps recognize him as a male of the tribe, but is it safe to bring him there? She says she captured the witness moths too, so there shouldn't be a problem. But Yang finds it strange that every group he sees only has females. One of the wasps comments on Yang's youthful appearance. She predicts he'll become very handsome. Imagine producing a queen by mating with him. Our MC says not in their wildest dreams would he mate with them, and even tells them not to dream. Meat only falls on the vegan's plate, apparently. But in response to that, he gets a really hard slap across the face. The wasp says she has time to teach him a lesson. Soon our MC will be begging for them. From afar, someone asks if that's the male from the wasp clan. The red one explains that after being expelled by the dragon beasts, there were no wasps there. Instead, the inferior mud wasp clan acts with arrogance. The mud wasps are used to kidnapping a male from the wasp clan. They can only be seeking their own ruin. The red one sees a golden opportunity in this. Attracting the wasp clan there means the end of the mud wasps. Another fears it's like inviting wolves into your house. Expelling the mud wasps could make them slaves to the sky wasps. However, the red one understands the mantis' concern. Alone, they can't beat the mud wasps. So he'll investigate the wasp clan's trustworthiness first. Meanwhile, our MC seems to be trapped in a dark place. The wasp says, this is the bottom of the mine, and there's no salvation and no escape. She tells Yang to think and promises to get him out of there when he figures out what she really wants. But Yang retorts that it will never happen, not even in his dreams. He ended up making her even angrier. He'd rather perish than surrender, but she doubts he'd last very long. At that moment, the motes also find him. Our MC asks if they were locked up there too. Immediately, he's surrounded by other prisoners. Yang asks who they are, and the mote replies that they are residents of the mine. And Yu introduces Stigbug and Mama as his new friends. And Yu also says everyone there is friendly. Mama heard about the kidnapping, and he thinks the mud wasps are very bold. Stigbug also agrees, predicting their defeat. But our MC reveals that he escaped secretly. The other wasps don't know about his capture. So it's unlikely the other wasps will come to his rescue, and our MC apologizes for the bad news. Mama reassures Yang, saying they were just venting because of the long time they've been in that prison. He hopes our MC doesn't take it badly. The Red One appears, suggesting it's possible to attract the Wasp army, and all the prisoners recognize him. They propose to help Lord Yang escape and return to Sky Island. And Yang notices he's even taller than the Queen herself, and then the imposing red insect kneels. Kneeling, he begs the Lord to defeat the Mud Clan and free them. But our MC feels too weak and incapable of performing such a feat. The Red One guarantees he'll protect our MC for the rest of his life. He believes in the certain defeat of the Mud Clan. Our MC hesitated a bit. Even if he escaped, the Mud Clan would pursue him. Would he really be able to do it? Yu, seeing this, tries to encourage him. Yang then asks everyone to gather around. He reflects a bit on his past and remembers there were times he needed help. So he's gonna have to make this happen. Our MC then calls the Red One and asks him, what's the plan? But at the mine exit, wasps are talking about Yang's capture. The praying mantis flower tries to pass by unnoticed. The Red One then identifies the praying mantis and says she's his equal in strength. She'll distract the guards while he flees. Yang introduces himself to her and asks her to be careful when she executes the mission. And she replies to Yang that the future of the mine insects depends on him. The Red One then nods, asking them both to be careful. She then informs him of the 30 guards at the exit. The beetle will attract 15. The other 15, she'll take care of. She also warns that the wasps react quickly to alerts, so she asks Yang to follow her very closely. With that, she dashes off at high speed. She assumed a combat-ready stance. The wasps then question who she is, and what she's doing in the tower. In the blink of an eye, she takes down 2 wasps with a single blow. More mud wasps appear, shouting about the escape attempt. But the praying mantis defeats them all very quickly. And so, she continues defeating all the wasps in her path. And she emerges unscathed, striking a very flashy pose at the end. She calls Yang, warning him they're arriving at their destination. Yang, in turn, is impressed by her strength. Counting the fallen enemies, she realizes one wasp is missing. The wasp appears, complaining of a stomach ache. And immediately she notices all her defeated sisters on the ground. The wasp is terrified and runs off to notify the hive. She screams desperately that they're under attack. At that moment, Yang and the praying mantis hear an alarm sound. Meanwhile, the other wasps ask what happened and why there's a fire. Mama blames the stink bug for setting the shade on fire while cooking. He apologizes, Lord Wasp, for the carelessness. She calls him a darn nuisance and threatens that if it happens again, the consequences will be severe. They then start to chat to see if they can stall her longer. Meanwhile, the mud wasps don't hear the alarm sounding. Realizing there are problems at the exit, they all head there. Mama laments not being able to stop them for longer. The Red One says it's not his fault. The bell was inevitable and it was the maximum alert. Probably, Lord Wasp and the Mantis have already been discovered. And unfortunately, the plan was a failure and they have to fight head-on. But Mama reminds everyone that it's 2 of them against several wasps. The beetle says he only has 1 chance, but he trusts our MC to free his offspring from slavery. He won't hesitate even if it costs him his life, he'll do it. Yu appears, asking him to wait a moment. He asks to go along because Xiaofeng is his friend and he wants to help too. The Red One thanks him, but without star power, you can't help much. Mamal and the stink bug ask you to calm down. He reminds him that the Red One and the praying mantis are star warriors. And Yu admits to being weak, and he's one of the last on the food chain. But Xiaofeng, even though noble, never looked down on him. He became his friend even though he was food. Most importantly, now he risks his life to save everyone. So, even though he's weak, he's not going to stand by and watch his friend risk himself. He wants to go too. The other insects agree. Xiaofeng is risking himself for them. They can't just stand by. They affirm they'll do whatever possible to help our MC. Thus, several others offer to help in the fight. The Red One then praises Yu, calling him a brave warrior. He takes back what he said before. He then asks for everyone's strength to help in the battle. Yu readily agrees. From above, Yang observes the wasp looking for him. The praying mantis holds onto the wall, trying to hide. Our MC, who's pressed close, gets embarrassed by so much proximity. She moves away when the wasps leave. She realizes reinforcements are approaching and they need to hurry. Our boy fainted from so much emotion, and the wasp asks if he's okay. She informs him that they're near the exit and will soon be safe, just about to leave. The wasp leader intercepts them, asking where they think they're going. Ever since the alarm sounded, she suspected the underground insect's plot. Helping the little wasp escape and luring the wasp clan really is a clever plan. She wonders if that plan was the traitor beetle's idea. The praying mantis denies the betrayal, and the wasp tells her to shut up. The mantis then tells our MC to fall back, saying she'll take care of everything. She then gets into an attack position. She advances determined for an all or nothing fight. She uses a spinning attack, hitting several wasps at once. However, that other unfortunate beetle advances to attack. The praying mantis's attack is useless against this unlucky guy's carapace. She knows this is really bad. Thus, she receives a direct hit from the beetle, but she recovers quickly. The beetle throws several punches, but she manages to dodge. Then she jumps to dodge a powerful incoming attack, but he grabs her by the leg, throws her with great force against the ground. But he doesn't stop there. He keeps hitting, and she can no longer defend herself. Yang tries to help her, but she screams, telling him to run. The beetle then holds Yang, but he keeps screaming, saying he'll fight to the end. The wasp leader acknowledges the girl's skill, but she's fighting a beetle that's about to reach its second star. Then, the leader draws her stinger. She hits the praying mantis right in the neck. Even though she lost some sisters, she managed to capture the mantis. She says she'll take her to the nursery, and there she'll become energized food for her babies. This will ensure strong warriors. The beetle asks about Yang, and she orders him locked in a cage under guard. This little wasp has already caused a lot of trouble. After they're done with him, they'll get rid of our MC. And our MC thinks that even as a noble, he's having a really rough time. Really, he wasn't born to be a hero. Another wasp arrives in a hurry, and the leader asks the reason for this nervousness. The messenger then informs them that the mine peasants have revolted and started an attack. The leader then asks who's leading them, and the other replies saying it's the dung beetle. Sorry guys, I didn't want to say it, but it really implies he's the dung beetle. At that instant, a large explosion occurs at the mine entrance. Yu shouts for Shifeng, they've come to help. They came to save Xiaofeng and the praying mantis. The wasp leader finds it strange. Just yesterday they were disorganized, so what could the beetle have done? The beetlecorn acknowledges the beetle's skill in gathering the weak, but determined trash is still trash. He says he'll make everyone understand that resisting Lord Mudwasp is the worst mistake of their lives. The leader orders an attack, but the insects are not intimidated, and so this chaotic battle begins. The leader gives the order to capture the beetle alive. For them, that would be a great achievement. With a single blow, the red one throws several wasps, and this scares the others. The beetlecorn recognizes his former captain, but the red one doesn't want to talk about the past. He should be called by his name. The captain recognizes that the black beetle is still 1 star. He says you don't level up by capturing and turning kids into ketchup. And apparently, now the beetlecorn is really irritated. He wants to see if the captain is still the strongest, but the red one just tells our MC to run. Yu tells them to take the chance to flee, but he notices the praying mantis is badly injured. She thinks maybe this is the end. Yang must go on alone from here. She feels incapable of protecting him. Yang tells her not to worry, she was amazing, but now he will protect everyone. The wasp leader appears, mocking that the weak like to group together. Either they follow silently or face her fury. And Yu appears and says no one will hurt our MC. He even attacks with force, throwing the wasp against a tree. The wasp tells them to get out, questioning their audacity. Yu then shouts, telling our MC to run. And man, this kid is stubborn. They've told him to run like 3 times and still nothing. Yang is surprised and calls for his friend Yu. The wasp tells him not to worry and to start running. Meanwhile, the red one dominates the other beetle, but also asks him what's wrong. He mocks, asking if that's all the strength his rival has. The beetlecorn then reminds him of all the strength and effort the Lord put in to level him up. Where's the red one's loyalty? But what right does the black beetle have to talk about loyalty? Wasn't he the one who exterminated his entire family, including even the larva? The red one then kicks him, calling him stubborn. The leader orders them to stop fighting and go after Yang. If he returns to Sky Island, everyone loses. Fallen, the black beetle feels his body failing. The power difference really is too great. But the leader doesn't care. She wants him to go capture our MC. The red one sees this and realizes it's a great danger. The leader asks where the red one is going. He's her opponent, he really needs to think about how he's going to stop her. The red one says he'll stay and calls him a traitor. The red one tries to counterattack, but his body starts to go numb from the sting he took. The wasp is impressed, realizing he can still move, even after the paralyzing sting. Surrounding the red one, the wasps say they'll give him a warm welcome. Meanwhile, Yang is pursued by the black beetle. He shouts, ordering the little one to stop immediately. Yang notices the rapid approach, and the beetle threatens to be rude if he doesn't stop. But our MC replies that if he wants to catch him, he'll have to try first, and with that, he continues to dodge all attacks. Meanwhile, the praying mantis looks at the sky, very worried. The moths cheer for Yang to hold on tight. Mama says he can't take it anymore, they're screaming in pain, but they need to resist firmly. Soon our MC will arrive with reinforcements. Will this be their end? But back to our MC, the beetle finds it difficult to capture Yang. Meanwhile, Yang thinks it's hard to lose him. Everyone is at their limit, but they'll hold off the wasps as long as possible. Yang isn't going to give up. In his childhood, he dreamed of being a hero like Eggman and destroying monsters. His father encouraged him to study so that one day he could pilot mechs alongside Eggman. Upon passing the Youngstar Academy, he ran to tell his father. Now he could go to Youngstar to learn to pilot mechs. His father was very proud, and his mother promised a feast that day. However, monsters attacked his city, paralyzing interstellar teleportation. Amidst all this chaos, many people ran desperately to survive. His parents spent everything they had on a spot on a Youngstar military ship. And this was so our MC could arrive on time. At the time, our MC didn't want to go anymore, he preferred to stay on Earth. He was very worried about his parents, if they would survive without an economy, and most importantly, without a home. His father scolded him, calling him ungrateful. He said our MC shouldn't worry about them. He should really go to Youngstar and gain skills. That is, if he really wanted to be a hero. And along with this dream, our MC took a notebook full of tasks he had to complete. But only later did he realize his parents didn't want him to come back as a hero. They wanted him to leave Earth and never come back. It seemed like they had tried everything for him. His father's tasks seemed ridiculous, but he felt their love through that gesture. Life at Youngstar was very difficult, and his parents were his only motivation. He believes that one day they will reunite. After all, he still hasn't repaid his parents. He can't fall here. So at this moment, our MC's star power begins to manifest. But the beetle catches up and is ready to hit him. The blow hits our MC's back with great force. Even with all that impact, he manages to recover. The beetle tells him to stop fighting in vain. Our MC's defeat seems more than certain. If he doesn't want to be treated like trash, he should go back without causing trouble. But our MC remembers everyone who trusted and supported him. Not only that, but the promise he made to protect everyone. So, since he doesn't give up, his star power manifests again. But now the intensity is in both bodies. He won't allow anything bad to happen. Then an intense light begins to emanate from him. The beetle is surprised. Yang just leveled up. But even reaching the first star, he can't beat someone who's almost leveling up to the second. Our MC then tells him to get out of the way. And the beetle wonders how Yang can have the aura of the Star Dragon clan. He finds all this impossible, but there's also not much time because Yang is preparing a punch. The blow hits the beetle right in the face. Yang passes by him like a runaway train. With that impact, the beetle loses consciousness and falls from the sky. The praying mantis is astonished. Yang defeated the beetle. Then everyone starts to think our MC is incredible, or actually, a miracle happened. The wasp leader doesn't believe what she sees. She then orders everyone to pursue our MC. The little wasp cannot escape. The insects celebrate the Lord's evolution. The mud wasps are finished. This boosts the morale of all the prisoners. Mao continues to encourage everyone to keep fighting. And from afar, Yang watches the beetle falling. Not even he knows what this strange power he just used is. Meanwhile, mud wasps fly towards him. Spotting Sky Island, he mentally asks Billy and the others for help. Meanwhile, the guards are looking for him. Billy questions where our MC could have gotten himself into. Another guard warns about the mud wasps flying towards the island. Billy and Ash find the timing of their arrival very suspicious. Billy gathers everyone to investigate. Questioned about Xiaofeng, she suggests stopping the search. She realized our MC isn't nearby. The mud leader tries to capture our MC, but she manages to block his path. Actually, I don't even know if it's her. They all look alike. It must be her because she's accusing our MC of causing a lot of trouble. But Yang is determined. He's not going to stop fleeing. But he also doesn't understand why his new power isn't manifesting. And at that instant, a mud wasp warns that they're in trouble. They've been completely surrounded by the Sky Island wasps. Billy then confronts the mud leader. Before the excuses start, Yang warns Billy about the lies. He says he was kidnapped and taken by force. They wanted to make him have kids with them. And our MC, not satisfied with that, asks for help. Billy then orders their arrest. The clan elders will sort it out. The clan leader doesn't have much to do. She's surrounded by spear points. She finds herself completely cornered. Back at the mine, several insects have been captured again. Mama laments the defeat and questions if Xiaofeng will really come. The stink bug trusts him and tells him to remember what the red one said. Except Mama also remembers that the red one and the praying mantis were also caught. Mama is afraid of becoming food, so he despairs. But the stink bug scolds him, telling him to trust Xiaofeng. Meanwhile, he points at something, and from afar several sky wasps approach. The prisoners start shouting for Xiaofeng. Yang says he's back as promised. Mama realizes he really brought the clan to help them. And now, with everyone gathered, the liberation begins peacefully. Yang apologizes for the delay, but Yu says he knew he could do it. And Yu also asks, what's that mark on our MC's chest? I don't think even our MC had noticed it. Yang finds it strange he can't remove it. Mama's reaction makes everyone curious. Mama claims the thing on Yang's chest is that thing. You know, it's that thing, man. You don't know what that thing is. He reveals it's the royal seal. Yang asks what blessed seal this is, while Yu confirms, saying he's heard of this famous legend. The legend says that monsters with king quality recognized by the universe receive the seal. It grants protection and unique abilities. Yang questions, asking if that power is the heat he felt in his chest. Yu says yes, that's what he used to win the fight. Yang remembers that the Wasp Queen also has something similar on her chest. He finds it a bit strange that he has the seal, since in the Wasp world, only females become queens. Billy then grabs him, saying the queen has been looking for him for a long time. And now it's time to go back. Our MC gets an earful for ignoring her warnings and leaving. Watching them leave, Mama questions if that really is the royal seal. Stickbug comments that it really could be the royal seal. The red one then arrives, asking where the Lord is. He wants to thank him for everything. But it's too late. Mao just informed him that he just left. Imagine the idea of the mine having its own king. A true king with a royal seal, unlike the mud wasps. But the scene changes, and we're back in the palace. The queen takes care of Yang, asking him to eat slowly and not try to run away again. Billy questions if the mark really is the royal seal, and the queen confirms, but Billy finds that mark on a male strange. The queen thinks Xiaofeng has an extraordinary talent blessed by the universe. Our MC has to ask a question, Queen. Yang asks if he can help the mine insects. They were oppressed by the mud wasps. But the queen explains that the mine was given to the Mud King for fighting against dragons. The clan cannot interfere there. If the beasts hadn't messed up, Yang's clan would face judgment for intervening. Now, the Council of Elders will decide the mine's fate through negotiation. Not even the queen can decide alone. Yang thinks that with the royal seal and his power, he could protect everyone. The queen praises Yang's kindness, but he's newly formed and needs to grow safely. It's too early to protect others. At that moment, one of the guards announces that 2 mud warriors are requesting an audience. The news surprises the queen. Outside, the red one and the praying mantis greet the wasp queen. The queen questions the reason for the visit, but our MC is happy, seeing his friends again. They represent the mine insects and, most importantly, have come to swear loyalty. And this surprises the queen even more. The red one asks Lord Xiaofeng to lead the mine people, swearing to defend his honor with his life. Our boy is left speechless. Yang says they might want to, but what about the others? But the red one affirms the decision is unanimous. Except Yang admits he's not quite ready yet. He needs to learn to control his powers. Our dangerous queen intervenes, saying Xiaofeng has already answered. So, the others should withdraw. The red one understands and says they really were too hasty. Back at the mine, Ma reacts to the news. They are saddened by Yang's refusal. Ma comments that it really was difficult, and unfortunately, Plan F failed. But that just means they'll have to move on to Plan B. And Yu asks about this Plan B, Ma just laughs, saying they wouldn't understand. He boasts about being the most beautiful insect. He plans to use his charm. I was putting faith in this Plan B, but apparently, it's gonna stay just faith, because, for crying out loud, I can't believe he's gonna try this. And obviously the idea discourages everyone. And then everyone leaves, ignoring Ma. Floating in the Dragon King's aquatic chamber, our unlucky human wakes up again. But he panics, thinking he's drowning in the liquid. Soon after, he realizes he can breathe in normally. He then looks at his arm and is surprised, but at that instant, he spots the Dragon King. Yang is terrified and starts trying to flee. He realizes he managed to escape without being followed, and wonders if the Dragon King is sleeping because he's injured. Is our MC unlucky? Yes, but every now and then he gets very lucky. Let's agree that this body should have been toast a long time ago. Our MC imagines that pool must be for restoring the monster's flesh. And that's incredible. The liquid regenerated his arm and strengthened his body, though the marks scare him a little. Only Yang feels significantly stronger. But did everything get strong? Our MC then takes a look around to see if anyone's nearby. And since he didn't see anyone, he decides to test his new strength. But out of nowhere, there's a very loud sound that ends up scaring him. This noise makes him question where it came from. He searched so much he found it. He ended up finding a huge monster. Our MC realizes it's safer to remain hidden in the cave. A while later, the monster seems to yawn. I think he's sleepy. But feeling a tremor, our MC asks if that's an earthquake. Only then does he realize the dragon has fallen asleep. This is Yang's chance to escape. But the smell of meat is tempting. His body is starving. The problem is that the plate is 15 meters high. Only with a ladder could he reach that. And the ladder would have to be very long. But he looks up. Coincidentally, a piece of meat falls from the plate. But this is wrong, he's unlucky, and now he's full of luck. Pretty soon a system's gonna pop up. The meat lands right near him. Our MC thinks now is feast time. Without wasting much time, our MC starts eating the meat. It's so tasty and tender he can't even stop eating. After eating a lot, he feels completely satisfied. But right after, he feels intense pain. His stomach feels like it's burning. He feels energy boiling in his body, like it's gonna explode, you know? And right after, his nose starts bleeding. The overload is so much it makes him faint. I think that meat shouldn't have been eaten in excess. Not for someone his size. Waking up in the beast body, Yang hears someone calling him to class. Sometime later, he's already at the academy. The instructor explains that combat is vital for worker bees. Yang sees many beasts like Billy and asks if he'll study them too. But Billy denies it, only workers get basic education. It will be Billy who trains him personally. One wasp remarks that Billy is pretty tough, especially today since she's in a bad mood. Then she hurries our MC, saying she's gonna start attacking. The first blow almost hits Yang. The instructor demands he maintain focus. One wasp points, surprised to see the male fighting Billy. The spectators think the little male is very cool. I just can't say if cool would really be the word to define this guy. He's kind of strange, right? Exotic. Another wasp is impressed with Yang. He's dodging attacks very well. Seriously, is this his first training session? The worker wasps start cheering for Yang. Yang tries to counterattack, but Billy easily dodges. And she even thinks that if he's counterattacking, it's because he's not at his limit. So Billy tells him to show his full potential. The guard increases the frequency and speed of attacks, and Yang, with great effort, manages to block the blows. Billy praises his agility and even admits she's a little impressed. The wasps comment that he's incredible. He even received praise from Billy. But actually, Yang never imagined that Earth's martial arts would be useful at some point. Billy ends the first stage and announces the second will begin. Sometime later, Billy notices the dragons have already returned after the cleanup. Yang thinks, how can even the insects be so big on this planet? What he didn't expect is that Billy will use the dragons as material for the second stage. He asks Mang to give a demonstration. But Yang worries about Mama and Mang. He knows the dragons are very powerful. The wasps prepare for the demonstration. Quickly, they activate their special abilities, materializing their combat weapons next. The dragons sense the threatening presence of the wasps. Immediately, the monsters move to attack. Mang hits one of the dragons, but the wounded dragon retaliates, firing its horns like missiles. But the other wasp counterattacks with an energy blast. The two attacks collide in the air, and one cancels out the other. Yang is very surprised, and Billy explains to him that her armor is stellar. Drone warriors have a 3-star limit. By swearing loyalty to a king, they gain power quickly. Then they transform and amplify their strengths. That's why loyalty is vital. Yang compares this to ancient generals, needing loyalty to use their full strength. Billy continues, saying that workers learn the armors in 2 weeks, but Yang's training is to master it in 3 days. But hold on, it doesn't stop there. He has to defeat a 1-star dragon. 1 month later on Sky Island, our MC manages to knock down a tree with a single punch. He also learns spatial manipulation techniques. And finally, he feels the ability to protect others and without being a burden. But a poor man's joy is short-lived. His stellar armor only lasts 5 minutes. One of the guards comments that it really is impressive. He did all that in a month. He even seems like a genius. Billy ends the training and invites Yang to the palace to meet the other council leaders. Yang asks if he'll meet the other tribe leaders. Already in the palace, the Wasp Queen apologizes for the wait. She tells Xiaofeng to greet all the leaders present. Yang greets the beautiful sisters, introducing himself. One of them calls him a sweet talker, another asks if he's the royal wasp, and a third jokes, saying she wants to have kids with him. If she were younger, that is. The comments leave Yang a little scared. At that moment, another wasp greets the queen. It's Queen Bumblebee, or the Mockingbird. The historian is totally mocking me with that name, Hut. But anyway, the Wasp Queen introduces Yang and says that's the successor of Cam Bumblebee, which is another branch. Successor Vivi respectfully greets the Wasp Queen. Vivi also greets Xiaofeng, saying she's heard a lot about him. This is how it starts. Yang greets Princess Vivi, and the name sounds familiar to him. The Wasp Queen praises Vivi's power and education. And Queen Boom, it's gonna be Queen Boom. I'm not gonna keep saying Boom, Bimbly all the time. It's Queen Boom. Queen Boom confirms her talent and quick learning. The Wasp Queen then asks Xiaofeng to show Vivi around, since it's her first time there. Yang suggests going to the garden. There are many beautiful flowers there. But at that moment, Queen Boom starts coughing. The Wasp Queen then asks about the old injury. Queen Boom says it's an old problem. She's been getting used to it for a long time. She hopes Vivi qualifies as a successor before her time runs out. Discreetly, she notices blood on her hand after coughing. In the judgment hall, the punishment for the mud wasps was decided by the elders. The mud leader admits her greed and begs for clemency. but the elders declare the crime unforgivable. The clan will be banished from Sky Island. She then questions if the banishment is just for kidnapping the male. Isn't the punishment too exaggerated? The elders call her insolent, revealing that the kidnapped one is the future third king of the island. The mud leader is in disbelief. That little wasp is a new king. As she's taken away, she insists that a male king like that must be a mistake. Already in the garden, Vivi admires the flowers, but she finds it strange he took her to such an isolated place. Yeah, MC, what are you trying to do in a remote place like this? She starts to think our MC is trying to declare his love for her, but our MC just offers a red flower. He says it's delicious. Then he asks her to try it. Vivi thinks he's a little rogue, and he must be playing hard to get. Our MC looks thoughtful and concludes the girl is irritated. Persuading a child is very problematic. One of them proposes a game and suggests hide and seek, but even so, both realize it's a child's game, but both also accept. Our MC's friends show up, but they're forbidden from entering the palace. The red one then asks for a message to be sent. When Shafeng spots his friends, he apologizes to Vivi, explaining that those are his friends, so he asks to be excused for a moment. He says he'll be right back. She grumbles, saying that leaving a royal heiress like her to greet commoners is strange. With the meeting over, our MC heads to the Wasp Queen. He announces he came to bid farewell to Her Majesty. But the statement leaves her intrigued. She questions this, Your Majesty, and the departure. Shafeng says he's leaving to establish his own territory. The Queen asks if he's really decided, and Xiaofeng confirms, saying yes. Then, affectionately, she picks him up. The Queen praises our MC for being kind. She knows he always wanted to help his friends. His destiny isn't there. And now, with the power of a king, he's ready to defend himself. She only has one request: for him to remember that this will always be his home. And also for him to come back to see her from time to time. And it's at this moment that the Red One and the Praying Mantis appear. The Praying Mantis informs him they came to escort him. The Queen then asks the boy to take care, and he confirms. But before leaving, he promises he'll come back to visit her. And with that, they leave. The Queen feels like a father for the first time. But Billy reminds her that she's already their mother. The Queen then asks Billy for a favor, but Billy replies that she can't even refuse a royal order. But suddenly the scene changes. We're seeing Queen Boom, who asks Vivi, what is she thinking about? And she says she's not thinking about anything. But this nothing has a first and last name. I'm sure of it. The girl thinks Shafeng really likes to brag. She overheard Xiaofeng saying the leaders agreed to give him the mining area. He knows the mine is arid, particularly unsuitable, so he asks Sky Island for help to build this new city. The Red One and the Praying Mantis question him if he's talking about the Dragon Beast's habitat. Shafeng admits it sounds a bit fanciful, but after fighting Dragon Beasts with the king's power, they're not so unbeatable anymore. Our MC asks if they will help him. They declare their lives are to obey his royalty, His Highness, the Insect King. And Princess Vivi is there, listening attentively to everything. She thinks he's just a child talking like an adult. He'll end up in a dragon's mouth easily, very soon. Meanwhile, in Half-Elf Village, villagers scream for help. The dragons have arrived. That creature in Abomination lands. She's ready to devour the little aphids. The Red One then orders the monsters to stop. Our MC and his friends advance, and he also declares he won't let them intimidate his people. Quickly, he activates his star power. A great wave of energy is generated by him. He shouts, saying his opponents are there. Our MC, who thinks he's the Incredible Hulk, challenges the dragons. If they really have courage, then they have to come in our MC. Then, the dragon beasts fiercely move to attack. The Red One immediately prepares for combat. He grabs the monsters with his brute force, using all his enormous strength. He violently throws the creature against the other beast. Next, several other quick cuts are made, and the one who did it was the Praying Mantis, who continues attacking relentlessly. She stops shortly after her accurate attacks. One more of the creatures is about to fall on the aphids. The Praying Mantis realizes she won't make it there in time, but the boy reassures her. He says it's alright, asks them to leave it to him. He uses the spatial control ability, swapping his position with the little critters immediately. Next, he activates another ability, the Strength of Giants. Then he manages to hold the heavy creature before he's crushed. Holding the body, he notices the aphids are fine. They then thank our MC, calling him Lord, King of Insects. Sometime later, one of the aphids comments that it was the Lord of Insects who saved him. He wonders if the Insect Lord came to claim that area. But the boy explains he came there to take everyone away. Our MC says he came to open up a safer living area. The aphids celebrate, happy not to have to fear the dragons anymore. At the mine outpost, Xiaofeng informs them he's researched the island's surface for a few days. He described the place as flat and with plenty of resources, ideal for living near Sky Island. But the area around the lake is surrounded by very dense forest with many signs of dragons. Investigating further would be too risky and time-consuming. The red one then suggests that to investigate, the tribe can help a lot. Our MC asks what the heck kind of tribe that is, but the praying mantis just says he'll know at the right time. Sometime later, the protagonist complains about the smell and asks why they're there. And the red one says it's dragon droppings. It's that tribe's favorite dish. He then warns that they're arriving. A fly says there's delicious food around. Another says they're going to eat that. Shaffing vomits, the scene is so disgusting. The king of flies then asks if they need anything. The red one then says their king has a request. The king of flies notices there's a wasp with a royal seal there. He licks his own hand, full of, well, no, seriously, this scene here really isn't very cool. Then the fly greets Shaffing normally. Our MC also greets it, just a bit hesitant to shake a handful of that. The fly declares it's an honor to work for the Lord and shakes his hand. Poor MC. The fly boasts that just by tasting the droppings, it can discover the gender, race, age, strength, offspring, recent diet, everything with precision, even child support payments. But our MC can only look at his soiled hand. The mantis asks for help investigating a dragon beast near the eastern lake. The fly asks if they plan to take the territory. And the mantis confirms. The fly then understands and asks them to leave it to him, and at the same time, he gathers everyone. King Mojo coordinates for them to go investigate the dragon beast near the eastern lake. Thus, the whole group begins to investigate the indicated area. Near a very crystalline lake, Yangfeng rushes to wash his hand. He complains, saying he can still smell the droppings. Mao Mao then finally appears, saying he heard about this new settlement. The news made our MC very excited. Mao Mao says they formed a team of almost 1,000 insects. Facing the dragons at East Lake wouldn't be a problem. At that instant, he hears an insect asking a baby's age, and he discovers the baby is only 2 days old. And, believe it or not, a ladybug also declares she'll fight alongside our MC against this beast. And worse, others get excited too. Chafing notices something in a nearby insect's hand and asks what it is. The red insect shows kitchen tools. He says he'll crush the magic beast with that. Discouraged, he realizes the team is just beast food. Suddenly, Billy arrives, asking for him. Her arrival makes our MC very excited. He asks why are they there. Billy says they're there because the queen gave an order to protect Shofan. The 5th troop of the Wasp clan, with 300 warriors, presents itself to him. Billy informs him that squadron will be under his command from now on. Meanwhile, the Red One demands everyone give their all in training. Everyone is trying their best to improve, and the Red One's training is pretty intense. However, with just one blow, he lifts everyone off the ground, and they fall right after exhausted, but he orders everyone to get up and continue. The Dragon Beast's power is not limited to his own. Billy even observes, thinking they've improved a bit, but Xiaofeng knows they haven't improved enough. Billy states they must establish a new home, but the praying mantis intervenes, saying they can't ignore that. She admits the wasps really are strong, but having another tribe fighting for their future isn't something she likes very much. But Billy questions, saying that a lot of effort with little talent is useless. They argue and bicker. The mantis claims she can create a home without the wasps, but Billy doubts that very much. Our MC tries to intervene, telling them not to fight. Only she replied that it's none of our MC's business and told him not to meddle. While they argue, he sneaks away, thinking females are very dangerous when they're angry. Sometime later, the fly explains there are many dragon beasts in the area. The Tyrannosaurus tribe is the strongest, with almost 20 members and most are 1-star level. To make matters worse, the Tyrannosaurus leader is 3-star. Our MC confirms the situation and announces the battle plan. He explains they'll investigate the Tyrannosaurus tribe's main and daily routes. This will be the first step. The second will be to find an ambush spot. The Mine tribe will wait on the sides. They'll use ropes to restrain the 1-star ones. And the goal is to divide the group. And with the plan underway, they carefully prepare for the ambush. The Tyrannosauruses fall into the trap. Upon seeing ropes being thrown to capture them, a surprised Tyrannosaurus asks what that rope is. The stronger wasps declare they'll eliminate them one by one. Using their numerical advantage, they quickly eliminate all the level 1 dragons. But the leader is confused, wondering what's happening. He then looks up, seeing an intense glow forming. Billy transforms into her powerful stellar form. The Tyrannosaurus leader doesn't care. He says it's just a few overconfident insects. Meanwhile, the mantis and Shaffing are defeating all the remaining monsters. A Tyrannosaurus realizes he's still alive even after the attack. Our MC questions why he didn't fall. The praying mantis explains it was a superficial wound. Our MC is relying too much on strength. He should use weight and inertia too. He reflects that the king's power only gave him access to abilities, but to lead everything, he needs to improve qualities and techniques. One of the wasps confirms, saying all the Tyrannosauruses fell. Meaning, all the 1-star ones, right? Everything really is going as planned. They just need to support the beetle. The Tyrannosaurus leader then advances, brawling against the Red One. He admits the red one is quite strong. He lets out a heck of a roar, and this sends the red one flying. Billy advances for a direct attack, but the monster scoffs, saying the wasp tribe isn't as strong as the rumors. He says that one day the wasps were feared, all of them were once 5-star. But insects like them, with only 2 stars, wouldn't have been worthy of being on the battlefield back then. Billy can't even cause significant damage to the creature, and the monster realizes she's out of power, but the red one lands a powerful punch on the monster. However, the attack was still superficial and didn't even get past its defense. The wasps scream, asking the beetle hold on tight. They're coming. But the monsterling doesn't care. He thinks everyone there is insignificant. He attacks with his tail and hits several at once. All the nearby wasps are hit and injured. The red one says the insect king is no match. He orders a quick retreat. The Tyrannosaurus says he'll deal with those 2 there first, and then it's our MC's turn. But our MC analyzes. Even all together, they can't beat the Tyrannosaurus. If it continues like this, they'll lose. The beetle is a tank meant for frontal combat, while Billy is balanced with no weaknesses, but lacks coordination. If you add the praying mantis, man-man and man-mang, the situation improves, and that's if they work together. Then he says he knows how to defeat the 3-star Tyrannosaurus. They just need to collaborate with each other, one covering the other. The red one asks how this collaboration works in practice. Yang explains that each has their own ability. Combining the team's strength, they enter scarab mode. Thus, everyone prepares for a coordinated counterattack. The boy orders the tank to advance, and this role falls to the red one. But the monster scoffs, any kind of trick is useless. But the red one replies they won't know if they don't try. Our MC tells Mama to use her poison needle and paralyze the dragon. That way they'll interfere with its movement. They advance with everything to execute the plan, but the monster just laughs, saying they're very bold to covet its territory. Billy says now she'll be the dragon's opponent. She uses a powerful energy attack with her spear. She manages to strike the dragon with force. Another wasp also attacks. Another also comes, preparing her stinger as a weapon. One of them comments that the coordinated attack is working, but the beast is still too powerful because it hasn't fallen yet. The Tyrannosaurus gets ticked off, saying he'll defeat them one by one. In reality, he didn't imagine that defeating them all together would be so complicated. The only option left for him is this: defeat them one by one. The praying mantis goes for the attack, asking where he's looking. She hits the monster dead on. The monster calls her a darn insect, while she complains that his carapace is very hard to pierce. Tyrannosaurus then starts to attack, saying she'll be the first, except our MC swaps places with her very quickly. The monster then hits the ground, causing a huge impact. Our MC is sunk into the ground but assures them he's fine. The dragon doesn't care about them. He continues attacking and launching several fireballs. Well, Mama is about to be hit by one of them. Can see the flaming attack coming her way, but our MC swaps places with her. Once again, this unlucky guy takes the hit. Xiaofeng is all burnt, but he says it's okay and it was easy, except in reality, he's turning into a punching bag. Another wasp girl screams, saying she's about to be crushed by a paw. And once again, Xiaofeng uses his special swap, taking her place and receiving the blow. I don't know, but I think our MC is enjoying getting beaten up, man. He then starts shouting, telling Bimmerman she could have avoided the attack, but Bimmerman says she also wanted to feel the sensation of being protected. Come on, MC, give her a break. You did it with everyone else, and you weren't going to do it with her. Trying to flee, the dragon wonders where such a tough and small monster came from. He resists everything. If it continues like this, he'll get worn out. However, the praying mantis attacks him again, and finally the dragon falls. The dragon begs them to stop. He doesn't want the territory anymore. The only thing he wants is to leave and never provoke any insect again. The wasp sworn not to believe him. Dragons are vengeful, so he must fall right there. The red one tells him not to even think about escaping. But irritated, the dragon threatens, saying the dragon clan will come and defeat everyone there. The red one then lifts him up and orders the girls to attack. The wasps then advance and attack the monster. The defeated creature then falls lifeless. And finally, we have a victory. Bill even comments that defeating a 3-star dragon without casualties is an unbelievable victory, actually the first in centuries. She acknowledges that all this is thanks to our MC. Without him, they wouldn't have come close to solving this. But for him, it was a piece of cake. Everything was according to plan, so relax. You can see it on his face how easy it was. But Mang Mang also comments that our MC is good. None of them understand why our MC is ignoring them. Come on, they're praising him. But he doesn't care, he turns around and heads off. Now everyone is arriving at their new home. And man, the view is breathtaking. And Xiaofeng declares that from that day on, that will be their new home. This is the first insect territory outside Sky Island. History will remember this day. Everyone can choose a piece of land and build their homes. There it will become everyone's Eden. Everyone starts running, looking for a little piece of land. Our MC is dragged by the crowd, even asking them to wait. The motes come to check if our MC is okay, but actually he's there, falling to the ground. Back in his human body in the middle of the star dragon's nest, Xiaofang is jumping, wanting to climb a mountain. Or a dragon's table, right? Reaching the top of the structure. He looks around and what he finds is a large amount of stored food. His physical quality improves every day, ever since he started eating this dragon food. After collecting several items, our MC is satisfied. He once again thanks nature for its valuable gift. Our MC recounts that he explored almost the entire area while the dragons slept. He discovered a real hidden treasure. He then starts rummaging through a large pile full of mech junk. He found an old motherboard, but it still works. How about making a washing machine with it? Next, he hears a sound coming from below. Our MC shouts, asking if anyone is down there. He just forgot he's in the middle of a dragon's nest. If someone hears, it won't end well. And to my surprise, we see that it's Princess Wei Wei. She's trapped in that hole. She realizes the voice that shouted is human. Then she introduced herself as Princess Wei Wei, the 3rd, 20th, 40th of I don't know what of the Galactic Empire. She, as a princess, orders to be rescued, but promises a reward of 500,000 star coins. If I were our MC, I wouldn't rescue her. But since she's offering a pretty penny and a little something, it might be worth it. See, Arlie MC is thinking it over to see if it's worth it. Not even he knows if it's really worth it. 500,000 might be too little. Our MC is pensive, thinking whether to go or not, to rescue or not, to leave her or not. To get an answer, he reviews his father's wish list. He's already made over 100 friends and gotten a house of over 1,000 meters. He realizes he's already achieved 2 at once. The other 2 remaining are very difficult because marrying an insect beast would scare his father a lot. His little devil version suggests there's a woman right there. Why doesn't he grab her? But our dense MC asks if he's talking about the princess, as if there were more than one woman there. But he refuses, remembering he saved her and she abandoned him. How could he marry someone so malicious? Besides, she lives for thousands of years and he only for decades. But the little devil says that's not important, he'll already be gone anyway. The little devil asks him to think, what if she had no choice? Is he really going to let her die because of a misunderstanding? Yes, MC, leave her down there, that's gonna be a problem for you. My son, don't do it. The little devil also reminds our MC that he and she are the only humans there. He asks what would happen if he rescued her, even without wanting anything. The devil is so sly he starts to rush our MC, noticing he's hesitant. Our MC then throws the rope. He asks her to grab the rope, and he'll pull her up. But she hesitates a bit, asking if who's up there is really human. Without much choice, she climbs. Reaching the top, the only option she has is to apologize, because she finally realizes it's a human. Xiaofang then extends his hand to pull her up at once. But when the princess finally sees the protagonist's face, she gets a fright, thinking it's a ghost. This makes Vivi fall again, but our little hero in training catches her in time. He asks her to hold tight to the rope. Once up, he warns that the dragon beasts are sleeping, so she can't make any noise. Devouring the food, she says she's relieved to be alive after all this disaster. Our MC also says yes. He ended up experiencing incredible things and even grew a little. Our MC, seeing her eating desperately, offers her water. The girl is almost choking. Quickly, Vivi drinks the water. Xiaofang asks why the dragon beast kept her alive. The princess says it's a royal secret, and our MC says he won't ask again if it was inconvenient. He also comments that she must still be hungry, so he'll go get some desserts. The princess reflects that she was horrible to our MC, but even so, he didn't hold a grudge and saved her again. She then calls Shifeng. Our boy gets embarrassed, realizing what the princess is doing. She says she wants to show him something, but he thinks the little devil's plan is going too fast. Then the princess shows her royal mark on her body. She explains that the royal family with that mark can inherit the Galactic Empire. Of course, she wouldn't be taking off her clothes for any other reason. This leaves him impressed. She also has the royal mark. He didn't know humans could have the royal mark like insects. The princess explains that the mark attracts monsters, and any monster that eats her can have its power increased. She planned to attract the monsters and use the outpost to eliminate them, thus gaining influence. But what she didn't know was that the outpost was fragile. She knows she made a big mistake leaving our MC behind, and because of that, she's willing to do anything for his forgiveness. And he asks if she's talking about anything. But our MC says it's okay, he understood the situation. So he asks again if anything goes, and she confirms. But the princess thinks that if she gets out alive, any promise can be reviewed later. But our MC, who is different from this schemer, says he'll do his best to protect her from now on. But Shifeng changes the subject. He says now it's time for dessert, his creation, shaved ice. She asks where he got ice, and he replies he got it from the fridge, duh. Yes, our MC built a fridge there. Xiaofeng explains about the mech graveyard nearby. There he finds parts to make whatever he wants, as long as it's electronic. Vivi sees this as an opportunity to escape. She asks our MC to take her there quickly. Arriving at the location, she deduces that it's probably loot from some dragon. She identifies that all the mechs are level 5 or higher. Even though they're all destroyed, she believes it's possible to assemble at least one functional mech. And the goal is, obviously, to escape. And she proposes they use those parts to build a new mech together. But our MC thinks she must be kidding. Parts weigh tons. It's impossible to move them without equipment. But she's wondering, where is our MC going? At that moment, he remembers his giant wasp form. His current body is all bandaged up due to so many injuries. And once again, he activates his ability, swapping the human body's position with the wasp body. And the swap occurs successfully. It's interesting that the two bodies can swap places freely. But thinking about it, from the wasp's perspective, he always thought he was in a land of giants. But looking now, he starts to question if his wasp body was always that big. It's the first time he sees the insect world from that angle, and the little moth enters the room. And she comes face to face with our MC in his human body. Our MC realizes that even the moth has an oppressive presence. Yu runs, calling his sister, saying he caught a strange little creature. But actually, the little moth gets chewed out for playing around while our MC is injured. But she says Xiaofeng isn't in the room. But his older sister tells him to find Xiaofeng immediately, and he better do it quickly before she gets mad. Meanwhile, on the eastern border of the lake, the Red One confronts intruders and says this is the king's resting place. The mosquito woman says they came to see the insect king, but the Red One denies the visit, saying our MC is badly injured from the last battle. She questions, asking if they let the king get hurt. Drillmouth calls them incompetent. The Red One, losing patience, tells them to leave. They have nothing more to do there. But the mosquito says if they can't protect the king, it's better to leave it to those who can. Drillmouth confirms, saying it's safer to let them take care of the king. One of them says he'll use force if they keep trying to stop them. But the Red One orders the praying mantis to prepare for the imminent battle. However, this insect, I don't even know what it is already, appears quickly behind her. He uses his characteristic ability, Metal Wings. They then enter a sinister battle to see who wins. Meanwhile, Drillmouth advances against the Red One. He shouts, telling him to taste the power of his drill. "Ooh there!" But he's stopped with just one hand. Ooh there again. The difference in strength between them is quite obvious. He notices Drillmouth has some power as he looks at his hand injured by the blow. And suddenly he realizes the blood from his hand is being sucked. And the one doing it is the mosquito woman, who is approaching stealthily. The darn thing even comments that his blood tastes terrible. The blood of a dragon beast is much tastier. In the distance, other insects notice the commotion and the fight that has started. Mangaman comments that the newcomers are capable and good. Surprisingly, Billy also agrees. She just finds them a bit disorganized, and they'll probably lose because of that. Back in the room, the little moth asks if he really is Xiaofeng. The moth also asks if our MC shrank because of his injuries, but our MC says it's very difficult to explain. Our MC can't reveal that that's his original form. The moth then asks, what the heck is happening outside? Someone explains that warriors came looking for Xiaofeng, but the Red One blocked them, and now they're fighting. Our MC realizes they're looking for him. He thinks that if it continues, the situation could cause problems, so he needs to stop them. Our MC then starts to fall asleep. Xiaofeng wakes up again in the wasp body, and now he's ready to intervene. He comments that the regeneration pool works very well, and his body is almost complete. I just don't understand how he went straight to the pool. But it wasn't just his body that improved, his star energy was also replenished. And out of nowhere, someone orders everyone to stop immediately. And obviously, it's our MC declaring himself the king of insects. He orders an end to that fight. The mosquito woman comments that he's just like the rumors said. The three greet the insect king, while Xiaofeng comments if they were there to cause trouble. She denies it, she just says she heard about the king's heroic deeds, and so they came to join. But our MC asks what deeds those were. Drillmouth then pulls out a list, saying our MC abandoned nobility, led the lower classes, resisted oppression, swore to annihilate the dragons, and recovered some lands. And our MC asks where he got all that from. Drillmouth says he saw it in a flyer. By the way, could our MC sign it? It's just that he's a big fan, you know. Xiaofeng reads the flyer, and it says things like, recruitment order to annihilate dragons, recover ancestral lands, and restore glory. But he asks who the heck made that flyer. Mama pretends he doesn't know anything. The only thing he says is that someone who greatly admires our MC did it. And Bug confirms that Xiaofeng is famous. Other insects appear, saying the flyers ran out, and if they should print more. But besides that, where can they put this giant statue of Xiaofeng? Mao says to keep printing nonstop. Our MC asks what this business of statues and flyers is, but Mama just says it's a long story. Realizing they've been exposed, Mama tells Bug to run and fix it. Meanwhile, our MC thinks those two are really dumb. The scene changes to the praying mantis, and she's dreaming of her painful past. She vividly remembers how her family was killed by dragons. And when the Red One appeared to help her in that terrible moment, he was the one who took her out of that place full of destruction and despair. They fled desperately from the Dragon Clan, leaving everything behind. Then she finally wakes up from that recurring nightmare. She realizes she had that nightmare again. But now, in her new home, everything is peaceful and tranquil. All the insects are there, working and doing their duties calmly. However, something specific catches her attention. She sees Xiaofeng and wonders what he's doing there. Another tribe introduces itself. They came as refugees from the borderlands and came to swear loyalty to the king. Xiaofeng assures that he'll take good care of all of them. In this case, over 200. The elder insect thanks him, and Xiaofeng says they're all family, so they don't need formalities. Our MC notices that more and more insect beasts are seeking refuge there. The Red One thinks another major battle happened on the front lines, and our MC asks him, what front lines are these? Billy explains the Wasp MC's agreement. She says that every 5 years, she gathers insects of 2 or more stars to fight on the front. She and the Red One will go next year, and that's why there's such a shortage of strong warriors there. Our MC asks if there are 5 other kings besides him, and Billy confirms. Insects near the island are safe, the rest are protected by the other kings. Besides all this fuss, the eastern region is guarded by 3 Wasp kings. Him, Queen Yellow Jacket, and Queen Carpenter Bee. Yep, it's Carpenter Bee, alright. As for the northern region, they say it's guarded by the Beetle King and the Rhinoceros King too. A self-destruct ability is granted to all allies of the kings. Hold on, we're not done with the divisions yet. The Western Plains are guarded by the Grasshopper King, the strongest of them all, a native disaster-level monster. With his Royal Crusade ability, he leaves his allies with improved attributes. Chafing comments that the kings are clearly strong, but then comes the question, why do they keep losing ground? The Mantis appears and explains to our MC that they face 4 dragon generals, each with an astronomical 6-star disaster-level power. These terrifying powers were granted by the Dragon King himself, who is also a 6-star disaster level. Besides, the Dragon King is with his elite on the hunting grounds. This means there are even stronger creatures. She also comments that she'll soon reach the 2nd star, and then will have to join the front lines. But the Red One advises caution, saying she's still too young. And our MC says he'll work hard to get stronger and join them. But Billy tells him that since he wants strength, the intensity of his training will increase starting tomorrow. But he asks if there isn't a faster way. However, Billy bonks him on the head, asking if he's complaining about her training. But she says there is a faster way, consuming high-level dragon meat. The stronger the dragon, the more effective. 3-star meat can generate a 1-star warrior, and our MC thinks about this high-level dragon meat. Back in his human body, Xiaofeng says he has the material and energy to build a mech armor. The problem is the blueprint. He's only repaired them, never built one. At that moment, he hears something nearby again. The princess gets scared seeing the Star Dragon King nearby. She asks, terrified, why the Dragon King is there. She points, talking about that giant monster, which, by the way, is almost complete. Xiaofeng reassures her, saying he's been there for over a month, and the knee hasn't even regenerated yet. He just forgets that before he was at waist height, and now he's at knee height. He starts to think that letting the Star Dragon King fully heal could be a big problem. Thinking about it, wouldn't that be high-level meat? But it's not possible that our MC is thinking of eating the Dragon King. He wouldn't do that, he's not that audacious. Xiaofeng makes a decision. He's not gonna let the Dragon King recover. Our MC asks Vivi to let go of his arm. He's getting a little embarrassed by this. It's too much closeness for him. Vivi then moves away, saying she hadn't realized she was so close. She then starts to think about what she's doing. She can't just act like a little girl. Meanwhile, our MC is back there, saying no one can resist his charm. Meanwhile, Old X pours more liquid into the pool where the king is. The old man says that after so long, the king's leg injury is almost closing. But he gets scared, wondering where the king's leg, which was almost complete, is. He's confused. After all, the medications were correct. So, why isn't the king healing at all? Without much alternative, he decides to increase the medication dosage. And obviously, the one who cut the Dragon King was our MC. He takes a forkful. He brings it to his mouth and wonders, how many stars would the Star Dragon King have? Well, that's not something that matters much. As soon as he eats, he feels powerful energy coursing through his body. The glow is so much it attracts the attention of other insects. The scene changes to Greystone Canyon, and someone is screaming, asking for help. The reason is they're facing a colossal beast. The canyon's first line of defense has fallen, and General Lord Thun leads the dragon army against the second line. The Boom tribe warriors defend the canyon, but all fell trying to protect that land. But back in the East Lake residential area, the Moths wonder what happened. Xiaomo wonders if something went wrong, but the funny thing is I've been calling him Yu this whole time. Did I mix up the names? If so, sorry folks. Xiaofeng replies that everything's fine. What this sly dog doesn't say is that he evolved. Besides evolving, his abilities also improved. The Moths notice our MC got taller, so he probably leveled up. Charmo praises our MC, saying he's a genius. He went up 2 levels at once in just 1 month. How did he do that? But our MC replies it was just training. Ah, slay dog, just training, huh? Elsewhere, Mangming informs them she found an injured member of the Boom tribe. They need to see the Wasp Queen urgently. Billy sees the injured Boom warrior and asks what the heck happened. The injured warrior explains that the dragon general attacked by surprise. The first line fell, and they're requesting reinforcements immediately. Everyone is shocked by this very serious information. Billy orders the queen to be informed and asks Mangming to take the injured for treatment. Mama says she'll warn the residents to prepare for evacuation, and it could happen at any moment. Seeing our MC running, they explain to him that Greystone fell. And this happened because Queen Boom was injured and weakened the royal power, and consequently, the stellar armor. Hearing this, Xiaofeng says he's totally against evacuation. The Red One asks if our MC leveled up, but Xiaofeng just ignores him. He's there questioning why the evacuation is happening, since they fought so hard for that land. Even saying it's temporary, our MC says he's not leaving. But Billy tells him there's not much to do against General Taiyuan. Billy explains that even if they're not the target, the 3 star dragons pass by killing all the insects. And that's why they can't face that army. The others ask Xiaofeng to forget it. They're already used to this back and forth. But our MC keeps putting his foot down. He says he won't allow the dragon beasts to destroy their homes. Won't allow this to happen again. Billy asks him to stop being stubborn. The regular army is different from the border beasts. Our MC says he knows, but still insists. Our boy states that it's the dragons who should leave that land. He then orders all insects willing to fight to gather. They have something important to resolve. Xiaofeng asks if the Moth didn't want to know how he advanced 2 levels in a month. He asks them to follow, as he will tell them the answer. Sometime later, we see a line of insects. Charmo asks for calm, saying everyone will get a piece. The darn MC made a big soup with the Dragon King's essence. The wasps, who don't understand anything, ask why Xiaofeng made so much soup. Even though she has more meat than the others, Billy comments that the insects don't compare to Taoyang's army. Xiaofeng is deluded by the previous victory, according to her. While eating, she thinks that later she'll try to stop him, so he doesn't do anything idiotic. But she finally feels what that meat actually is. But our spotlight turns to Xiaofeng, and he asks for everyone's attention and warns that the dragon beasts are about to invade their territory. He states that everyone has already suffered enough with that previous life. He also says he's tired of seeing his companions eliminated by these dragon beasts every time. He reminds everyone that their ancestors rest there. So they are the true leaders and kings of that land. The Mosquito Girl thinks that, as the rumors said, this really is the powerful and worthy king. Xiaofeng declares he will drive away all invading dragon beasts. He invites whoever follows him to drink the broth and go to battle together. And then, everyone raises their chalices to the Insect King. The insects then begin to drink the broth made from the Dragon King's meat. Stinkbug says he feels warmer inside. He then transforms into a 1-star monster. Man, look at this guy's skin. He's ripped. Quickly, everyone starts to evolve too. The Red One reaches 3 stars, and the Praying Mantis reaches 2. Billy also reaches 3 stars, while Mangbang and Mom advance to 2. The Tough Trio is no different either. They advance to 2 stars. Xiaofeng then orders an attack, and the units shout, "Defeat the dragons." Thus, the insect army takes flight towards the enemy. Mao, since he doesn't fly, ends up getting left behind. He laments and is sad that he can't fly, but take note, he's going to transform into a heck of a butterfly. You can write it down, call me on it. He's going to get fierce still, I have faith. Billy asks our MC if he has a definite plan. He points on the map to the only river channel that can accommodate a dragon army. Xiaofeng also explains that the river fork can restrict the enemy troops' movements. Hold on, our MC is a strategist. He locates some villages that can help with logistics, although he's a bit hesitant. Billy asks our MC why he's so worried, and the others reply to him, saying that now everyone has the strength to fight. But Xiaofeng isn't worried about strength. What he really fears is that the villages will be destroyed before they arrive. So, they need to pick up the pace. But Billy knows the risk of speeding up and fighting exhausted. The warrior understands his desire to save the insects, but she warns that leading by impulse can wipe out everyone there. Xiaofeng doesn't accept standing by and watching his relatives be eliminated. So, he asks for a group to go ahead. Meanwhile, a canyon village is invaded. An insect begs Lord Dragon Beast to spare his daughter and wife. He even says he's willing to become a slave and do anything to save them. The dragon, in a good mood, gives him a chance to become a slave. But because he's a smelly insect, he can only save one person. Man, seriously, our MC has to beat this guy up, just for this. This darn thing still asks which of the two he should eat, since he finds both delicious. The dragon then asks, why doesn't the father decide quickly which one he wants to off and which one he wants to keep alive? Since the father doesn't choose, the dragon decides to eat the little one, since he's not very hungry, and the child starts screaming desperately for her father. Someone shouts for Feng to come back immediately, but he accelerates, flying at high speed. He activates divine speed to get there faster. Seeing the dragon about to devour the child, he flies with full force and punches the monster. The sudden attack catches the attention of all the monsters in the area, and thank goodness, Xiao Feng comes quickly and saves the family in danger. They ask if our MC is the drone king. Our MC just asks them to leave quickly, he'll handle the rest of the situation himself. And the father thanks the king. And the dragon asks which blind insect spoiled his mood. Surrounded by monsters, Xiao Feng questions why they destroyed the village. He says the residents just wanted to live peacefully. The dragon scoffs, but Xie Feng, irritated, says they could all leave, without exception. Except the dragon asks if it's just him there, a mere 2-star insect. But Xie Feng says he's not alone in that battle. The arrival of reinforcements surprises all the monsters, and they begin to wonder if that in the sky is a meteor shower. But that's the insect troop arriving in attack formation. The dragon starts shouting that the enemy is attacking in large numbers. The dragon leader wonders where those troops came from, since they didn't receive any information. But no matter what happens, they will eliminate everyone and take the reward. The leader then orders all his subordinates to advance. They then advance to combat the insects. The insect army, about 5,200, faces the dragon army of more or less 8,070. Billy tells our MC to stop being reckless and hide, and the red one agrees with this. The fight from now on is with them. But our MC replies that he's very sorry, but he's not that coward from before. Billy reinforces again for him to wait before acting. She then orders them to go straight to the leader, following and protecting the insect king. A subordinate dragon notices there are 3-star insects, except the 3 dragon leaders are also 3-star. He realizes the situation could get complicated, but nothing stops our MC now, who is advancing without mercy. He realizes that combining allies' abilities has better effectiveness. The boy calls this combination Cutter Mode, but suddenly a celestial dragon appears quickly behind him. The dragon even says he will be the source of star power for the army, and he hits our MC with a celestial thunder attack. The enemy thinks that by eliminating our MC, the insect army will collapse. He's a 3-star level celestial dragon. Xie Feng coughs, noticing the dragon can release lightning. He admits Billy was right. They are much stronger than the East Lake dragons. The dragon explains that using the power of elements is a sign of 4 stars. So, please, our MC shouldn't compare him to those useless ones. He throws lightning towards Xiao Feng, but the dragon notices our MC's speed in dodging attacks. Immediately, he launches another, more powerful lightning attack. One of the subordinates comments that the thunder spear locks onto the target. He orders the other subordinates to hunt the rest of the insects. But what he didn't imagine was that Xia Feng would swap places with a monster using his ability, and the subordinate dragon ends up taking the attack in his place. Meanwhile, the red one is dominating the other monsters on the front line. Every warrior and insect is giving their all in this battle. The battle seems intense on all combat fronts. One of the armored dragons says it's useless to try to hit him. His skin is too tough, but the red one activates his gigantification ability. The red one, almost twice the size of the armored one, asks how he's doing now. The dragon is then attacked. He's thrown against a rock. The red one shouts that the dragon is going down, and the monster fears, saying that a few more punches and he'll be off to another life. To save himself, the dragon quickly sheds its skin. He thought it would be easier to win, but apparently he was very wrong. He also admits the beetle's physical strength is too great, and he can't confront him, not head-on. He then turns and starts digging a tunnel to escape. The red one realizes he's going to try to escape underground. The beetle thinks about entering the tunnel to go after him, while the dragon thinks that's a good opportunity to attack. Seizing the chance, he attacks from behind. He tries to activate his phantom bite. But what he didn't imagine was that the attack wouldn't work out at all. Without much option, he starts to spin his body. The red one then throws him far away, telling him to get away. However, the dragon manages to tear off a piece of his skin. Running again, he admits he'll do this until he completely finishes off the beetle. The red one realizes the enemy dragon is quite astute. Meanwhile, Fenglai is attacked by another powerful dragon. She uses the Starlight Shield and defends herself from the attack. The projectiles are successfully blocked. Then she quickly advances towards the dragon opponent. The dragon notices she's entered its range. A monster then raises its tail. Quickly it attacks again. She blocks but is thrown back by the force of the blow. The warrior realizes his strength and reach are superior, and this makes the fight very difficult. Elsewhere, a flying dragon scoffs at its opponents, calling them trash. The wasps complain that with strong winds, they can't even fly, much less open their eyes. The flying dragon mocks, wondering how it's possible for two star insects to be challenging him. He then activates one of his strong wind abilities. But the wasp warriors don't intend to give up. The flying dragon asks for more reinforcements. The terrestrial one calls the insects weak, and the armored one asks if anyone can swap with him. The insect warriors know they need to continue, or Shofeng will be in danger. Suddenly, another dragon is knocked down on the battlefield. This puts the other dragons on alert. The armored dragon recognizes the fallen one as Terraclaw, a 2-star chief. How did he get into that state? The wounded dragon warns everyone to be careful with those 2-star insects. Bluewing thinks the 2-star dragons are no big deal. Mosquito even says a dozen of them isn't enough, not even for a snack. Mosquito asks if those aren't the wasp leader and the beetle. She also comments that it seems they're having a tough fight against their opponents. Wing notes 3-3-star dragons, while Drill gets excited, wanting to fight them. The flyer notices the insects defeated the 2-star elite. The flying dragon orders the dragon brothers to teach those insects a lesson. The 3 dragon leaders prepare for battle against the newcomers. Drill says today he will taste the blood of 3-star dragons. Billy asks them to be careful and not be reckless. Mosquito reassures them, saying they are experts at dealing with dragons. The flying dragon says he wants to see how capable they are in combat. The 2 groups meet face to face on the battlefield. Wing says the wind is just a light breeze, there's nothing he needs to worry about. He then delivers a direct hit to the flying dragon. The flying dragon is surprised by the technique used, but the monster realizes the attack is still very weak. It only caused a small wound. But Wing says that's already enough for the plan to work, since the dragon's blood will now continue to gush non-stop. Mosquito praises her brother, saying she'll see what she can do with that blood. The girl then quickly creates some kunai to throw at the dragon. Apparently not. She used it to improve everyone's weapon. Probably everyone's weapon is now much stronger. Mosquito then explains her bloody blade ability. The blood attaches to the weapon, and when wounded, it accelerates bleeding and leads the enemy to their end, even if the blow isn't fatal. The flying dragon, full of fear, asks the terrestrial dragon to deal with Mosquito first. She retreats, saying she's good for support, not for fighting. For that, the others can handle it. The girl knows how to steal the show, and Billy knows it. The warrior remembers her mission is to protect Shefeng, so she can't take too long. So, she needs to finish the fight as quickly as possible. She enters her full battle mode, releasing her energy. She declares she fights for the honor of the Wasp clan. And she doesn't stop there. She orders the dragon beasts to prepare for the final attack. The terrestrial dragon advances against her with full fury. He attacks but Billy dodges. The dragon realizes she's very fast. However, right after, he launches several projectiles in her direction. But our warrior manages to dodge all the shots. She prepares her special spear blow. Hits a monster right in the head. I think the dragon took a nap, I'm not sure, but I think he wanted to take a little snooze. She then says the rest is up to Mosquito Girl. Mosquito gets excited, realizing now she can drain all the dragon's blood. The dragon starts screaming in pain, seeing its blood taken. He even asks her to return his blood. Drill asks if the armored dragon is hiding. Following the enemy's trail, Drill goes after him. He finds this sneaky dragon's hiding spot. Smiling, the insect warrior goes for the attack. The dragon then gets a drill in the butt. Ooh, there? 1,000 times? Drill asks what it feels like to experience 1,000 years of suffering. He says he learned this move from a blonde-haired human. Irritated, the dragon says he's going to finish off that smelly insect. But before he can, someone grabs his arm. The armored one asks if the person doesn't see he's busy. He just didn't realize the one holding him is the red one. Yeah, I think now there's no escape, he's going down the drain. He asks them to wait, surrendering and promising never to invade the insect's territory again. The red one replies that the last one who said that didn't have such a happy ending. Next, he gives the dragon a massage so he can sleep and rest. Finally, Shefeng appears, but he appears complaining, saying that facing 3-star dragons is dangerous, at least alone. He realizes he's at half his power, so it's better to wait for the red one and Billy. Looking up, he sees his friends shouting to attack and defeat the dragons. But soon he sees one of the wasps being brutally attacked. Shefeng thinks everyone is fighting with everything they have at that moment. But if everyone is fighting hard on the battlefield, how could he retreat now? So he shouts at the dragon leader, calling him a dummy, asking where he's aiming now. He says he's right there. Is the dragon dumb? Not paying attention. With a lot of anger, the dragon says the boy is asking to go to a better place. The monster uses that lightning ability again. The dragon asks where our MC is running. Well, he thinks the enemy's power must be infinite, because it hasn't run out yet. The enemy fires several lightning bolts in sequence at the boy. A monster even admits that trying to hide in the forest is smart, but not smart enough. But Xiao Feng's strategy is to keep the monster busy, and if he can do that for as long as possible, that's enough. He calls the dragon a dummy, telling him to count his victory when he's actually won. Xiao Feng uses an attack ability against the dragon. He starts shouting that he's right there and asks the dragon where he's looking. The creature takes the attacks, saying the boy really deserves to be eliminated. Our MC uses another ability to hit the monster's neck. Xiao Feng mocks, calling the monster an idiot for not being able to hit him. The angry dragon activates that lightning ability again, but the blow only hits a nearby tree. He comments that our MC really is fast, but questions how long this ability, or rather his power, will last. But where did the boy hide this time? Then Xiao Feng quickly enters mosquito mode. I just don't know when he got this ability. But he thinks he needs to weaken a monster, at least before the red one and Billy arrive to help. Our MC then starts to suck the dragon's vital energy. A monster comments that he really is getting more tired and starts to rest his head. Suddenly, he realizes his vital energy is being drained. Our MC realizes he's been discovered by the enemy. Xiao Feng realizes it's too late to change modes, and the dragon asks him where he thinks he's going, but he manages to dodge the attack quickly. The dragon then decides to use its strongest ability, Celestial Lightning. He says, no one has ever managed to dodge this attack, so there's nowhere for the boy to hide this time. The powerful blow hits the boy dead on, and our MC is violently thrown by the force of the attack. The dragon complains about being made a fool of. He says the boy forced him to release all his remaining power. Then we see our MC fallen. Due to the impact, he can't even move. Right after, the dragon grabs him by the neck. The monster says he finally caught the little rat. He says now it will be our MC's end. It was really expected that a 3-star would win against a 2-star. Our MC starts to lament, saying he's very sorry, but even though it was brief, he really enjoyed his time with everyone. Except the dragon exhausted all its strength in the last attack. Except Xiao Feng thinks he still has a little strength and questions if he should wait longer. Decided, he activates his battle mode. Our MC activates his gigantification, and the dragon gets scared, realizing he has another ability. A monster doesn't have much to do. He needs to finish off our MC as quickly as possible. However, Xiao Feng manages to hold the monster's attack. Actually, the blow is surprisingly weak. Could this be just an illusion? But soon he realizes that's not what's happening. The dragon praises Xiao Feng for managing to block all his claws. He realizes the strength of beetle mode really is very good. Our MC realizes the dragon isn't good at close combat, but the dragon denies it, saying he is good. Our MC then realizes this is his chance. He jumps to face the dragon head on. He then lands with both feet on the dragon's face. Right after, he delivers a knee strike. And to seal the deal, he lands another punch to the face. But the impact was so great that the monster flies far away. The dragon leader tells him not to get too cocky, because as soon as he recovers his power, he'll come back worse. Our MC is there having fun, commenting that it's very good to defeat a 3-star dragon. The dragon thinks he can't meet his end at the hands of a mere insect. He calls our MC darned while being pressed. The dragon then goes to a better place. Our MC observes the creature's body, only now lifeless. Our MC can't even believe he managed to beat a 3-star. Where's the phone so he can take a picture of this moment? The flying dragon also sees the bodies of his defeated companions. Enraged, he curses all the insects present there. He then tries to attack Wing stealthily from behind. The treacherous attack hits Wing directly. The dragon once again shows his arrogance, saying the same old blah blah blah. The mantis asks for support to help Wing. Except the girls can't get past the wind barrier. Except the praying mantis realizes the dragon is unfocused and the wind is weaker. This is the chance to break this barrier. The blade's cut should create a vortex opposite to the wind. So she gives the idea of working together, staying at the tip of her blade, and then she can launch both of them. Mang finds this strategy bold, but it could be very good. The two warriors then prepare. The praying mantis asks if Mang is ready, and right after she launches her with full force. She hits the dragon right in the neck. The praying mantis then shouts that the wind field is gone. This is their time to attack. All the insect warriors advance against a single enemy. The praying mantis uses one of her cutting abilities, and thus she puts a definitive end to another creature. Finally, Billy asks about our MC, and Mama says she saw him being chased into the forest. Billy is surprised by this, thinking Xiao Feng might be in great danger. The red one says his stellar armor is still active, so that's proof our MC is still alive. So everyone starts working together to find our MC. The armored dragon comments that Xiao Feng is probably resting now. Except, wasn't this unfortunate fellow already gone? What's he doing there alive? But he continues, saying his leader is the strongest among them. Maybe even together they couldn't beat him. He also says his boss likes to play with his prey before the end. At that moment on the horizon, they see a dragon silhouette approaching, and it's getting closer and closer. All the insects are distressed by this unexpected arrival. The armored one says his boss is back, and this sly dog's time has come. Billy asks everyone to prepare for the final battle. But the one who appears is our MC, asking why they're so nervous and if the battle is already over. Billy asks what happened to this 3-star dragon. Our MC throws the dragon's body to the ground. And Billy asks, surprised, if he managed to defeat that 3-star dragon alone. And our MC replies that he also thought he'd never achieve something like that. Our MC says he just wanted to delay him until help arrived, but somehow the dragon's power ran out. And that's when he won. The armored dragon is left not knowing what to do now. For him, it's impossible for a mere 2-star insect to defeat his boss. Now that his boss has been defeated, everyone is doomed. But Billy tries to trade information. If the armored one tells the enemy's route and strength, maybe she'll spare his life. But the proud dragon says he'd rather meet his end there than give up that information. The flyer also says the clan will never bow to insects, and they can do whatever they want with them. Except I thought they were all already gone, right? But apparently not, they were just sleeping. But the armored one says, why are they including him in this if he doesn't want to perish? He says he's like this, he's willing to offer every piece of information, as long as he stays alive. Billy, suspicious, remembers the dragon threatened all of them, and this change could be a trick. But the dragon says that was just a misunderstanding and everything's cool. He tells the other two to shut up, since unlike them, he still wants to survive. He says he's different from the other dummies back there. He also says they can ask whatever they want. Just ask, and he'll open his mouth and tell everything. What matters is getting out alive, the rest is just the rest. The dragon thinks he was lucky to find the insect king. He plans to escape, recover his strength, and then gain credit with all this. But Xie Feng finds it suspicious. As suspicious as it is, he also needs information, right? So he'll have to close this deal. But he finds a solution quickly. He asks the insect girl to suck all the dragon's energy. Then I want to see him escape. The girl beats her chest and says he can leave it to her, while the dragon wonders if this is really necessary. And for those who think we didn't have casualties, we did. 318 insects perished on the battlefield. So, a moment of silence in their name. Unfortunately, if I stay silent here for a minute, you guys will off me. So let's continue, but take a minute at home. Our MC laments his losses and thinks that if he had done something different, he could have had a different outcome. The red one says no. Even if they had retreated, it would only make them go back to the past, where the weak had no chance. What Xie Feng really gave them was a choice for all of them. Xie Feng wasn't to blame for this. The red one asks the king to listen to the voices of everyone behind him. Everyone excitedly clamors for the insect king. They shout, saying they only won because the king guided them. A proud insect who personally defeated a dragon beast and finally avenged his family. The red one also shows our MC the villagers he saved. Without him, everyone would have perished. The Lacewing clan thanks the insect king. The beetle confirms to our MC and assures him that no insect there regrets anything. Xiao Feng says he feels the same, their loyalty was the best decision. Everyone swears to be only loyal blades, willing to offer their lives to defeat an enemy. Xie Feng looks at all his loyal followers. He thanks them but says there's no need to sacrifice their own lives. He doesn't have many friends, so he hopes everyone stays alive, especially by his side. To the side, we see that family of insects leaving very happily. The praying mantis observes the scene, thinking it would be great to have a family like that. She also reflects that they must be very happy at that moment. It would be great if Xie Feng could have arrived sooner. That way, he could have saved her family too. Suddenly, Xie Feng notices a strange light near him, and out of nowhere, his human form appears. He wonders where he is at that unexpected moment. Meanwhile, the red one is training with the mantis, but she ends up being hit directly in the head. The red one then orders her to get up and continue training. Xie Feng, who seems more like a spirit, is observing the red one training the praying mantis. He sees her training relentlessly without any rest, focused on getting stronger and stronger, and increasing her power with every movement and every blow. Our MC feels like a flood of unknown memories is inundating his mind. The scene then changes to him in the cave, wondering what those scenes are. He becomes thoughtful and starts to question how he could have had such a strange and vivid dream. But he continues preparing food, chopping vegetables. Meanwhile, Princess Wei, whom I'm calling Vivi, is relieved to finally be able to take a bath. She complains that being trapped in the cave made her skin all wrinkly. As soon as she gets out of that makeshift bath, a sudden cut flies by and slices the bathtub in half. She starts to wonder what the heck happened. Our MC is also scared by what happened, not even he understands. He wonders if he caused that unintentionally. And at that moment, he sees Princess Wei there, very close. Man, I don't know why. but I'm thinking this cut was on purpose. Our MC doesn't even blink seeing this scene. And Wei is wondering what the heck he's doing staring so intently. Upon realizing the embarrassing situation, she gets very ashamed. She then starts screaming, while our MC tries to explain it wasn't intentional. Sometime later she appears, saying it's impossible for the knife to cut steel. And she's also accusing our MC of seeing her in that situation. Our MC says he didn't do it on purpose, and it really wasn't intentional. But the princess doesn't care, she's calling him scum. She demands 100,000 coins in compensation to forgive him. But where is he going to get money at that moment? But she insists, since he saw her in that situation, he must compensate her. He even agrees, saying he understood. Xiao Feng then hands her something small as collateral. She asks if it's a promissory note, but he admits he doesn't have that much money now. Wei warns him he can't give up, and if he does, he'll be punished. But, again, he says he understood her conditions, but our MC is thoughtful, not knowing if they'll even return. So, what's the point of asking for money? Sometime later, a few more dragon beasts were defeated by the group. The armored dragon complains, saying he can't move anymore. But our MC doesn't care, he really wants the dragon to get up. Now is not the time to rest. But the armored one says he's out of strength, he'll be useless anyway. But our MC asks if he still wants to live. Xiao Feng asks Billy to rest along with everyone else. But she informs him that the dragons have almost all been eliminated, and that ahead is the main camp. So if they're going to camp, it should be there. Meanwhile, we see the camp being set up by the insects. Our MC is confident that the Wasp Queen and the rest will be fine. Billy says he really doesn't need to worry, since she heard the two queens will fight together. He asks why they don't act then, but Billy doesn't know the exact reason. She even says she knows what their plan is, but states it's not a battle they can get involved in now. Our MC then calls her by her name. He says that with her around, they don't need to worry so much. He promises he'll stay far away just observing, without getting too close to the battlefield. He begs, saying he wants to learn the experience of a battlefield, a really big one. Thinking it over, Fenley agrees, as long as he only observes from afar. Our boy gets excited with this permission. He knows that with Billy, the approach has to be gentler, otherwise it's no use. But meanwhile on the front lines, the enemy army advances relentlessly across the battlefield. But the Wasp army isn't fooling around, they're watching their every step attentively. Each of the Wasp Queens positions herself to fight. They prepare for this imminent confrontation against the dragons. Seeing the dragons attack en masse, Queen Yellowjacket orders everyone into defensive formation. They quickly create a strong defensive barrier, and the dragons prepare a coordinated attack against this defense. They fire their projectiles directly at the barrier. The massive attack hits the barrier with force. The dragons don't even wait, they continue advancing. Still in formation, the Wasps quickly prepare a counterattack. They hit several dragons advancing against them. Right after, the Wasp warriors also advance for combat. They even manage to injure some monsters. Queen Carpenter Bee prepares a powerful area support ability. Tricky little name to say, Man. The wounded Wasps on the battlefield begin to glow. They begin to heal quickly from their wounds, completely regenerating all their wounds. The battle continues intensely with attacks from both sides. Gradually, more and more dragons are defeated by the Wasps. Suddenly, something from afar catches Queen Yellowjacket's attention. She attentively observes a distant point on the battlefield. Chafing finds the battle simply incredible to watch. He comments the dragons are being suppressed. Billy explains that the Wasp elite force, they've been used to fighting on the border for a long time. Their lineage is intertwined for generations, and this allows the army to benefit from the abilities of both queens, and best of all, simultaneously. She continues explaining that the queens have reproductive duties and take turns guarding. This is the first time they've appeared together. Our MC thinks the Wasp Queen is incredible. The queen, in this case, his mom, right? His adoptive mom. Since there are two there, right? I had to define who it was. The queen smiles, feeling our MC's presence nearby. Both realize Shay Fang is there, observing the battle. Queen Yellowjacket comments that he's grown a lot since the last time. The dragon general is getting closer and closer. He orders everyone out of the way, as he himself will handle the situation. They are shocked to hear the general will handle everything alone. They then start running desperately away from there. The goal is to save their own lives from that imminent confrontation. When one of the smaller creatures looks back, scared, Billy saw the fat general in the air, about to come crashing down. He sees the fat general in the air, about to fall. And the general falls, making a gigantic impact on the ground. The worst part is that his body starts bouncing on the ground, making him go even faster. The smaller creatures were almost crushed by his passage. A little green one comments that if he took that hit, he'd be off to a better place, for sure. Shay Fang observes the general bouncing quickly across the battlefield. He thinks that such a big guy being so agile is something frightening. Seeing the approach, all the Wasps retreat. They quickly return to defensive formation. The dragon general jumps high, preparing to belly flop. The wasp leader orders him to stop the attack and return to formation. The general sees the concentrated energy and starts to sweat cold. He's hit head-on by this combined attack, and this sends him flying far away. The fall was so great it even raises a cloud of dust. He gets up, he's injured, but he's still standing. He quickly dodges another energy attack. The general says he won't fall for the same attack again. He inhales with force, inflating his enormous chest, launching a sonic attack that destroys the defensive barrier. At that moment, the wasp's weapons begin to float in the air. Queen Carpenter Bee uses her telekinetic manipulation ability, carefully positioning all weapons around the enemy. She then launches them simultaneously against the enemy dragon. The general tries to block the rain of weapons, but it's not very effective. Billy finds the dragon's disadvantage strange, but the general doesn't retreat, so she starts to wonder what he's planning. Even Chafing notices he doesn't have much advantage. Suddenly, the other queen puts her hand to her mouth, feeling pain. The yellow queen asks her to go rest, saying she'll take care of everything. But she denies it, stating she needs to repel the dragons. The dragon general complains, saying the attacks really hurt a little. He says he didn't come all this way just to get beaten up, so he gives an order for all dragons to attack. The creatures that were hidden emerge from above the barrier. The yellow queen realizes they're the same beasts as before. Seeing the new threat, all the wasps move to attack again. The fat one then prepares a powerful energy attack. He tenses his body again, and fires a huge laser from his mouth directly at the wasps. The attack hits the barrier directly. The wasps on the front line are being massacred by the enemy's power. The little black queen thinks she needs to hold on a little longer, but the yellow one shouts, asking her not to exert herself so much. But at that moment, she ends up falling without strength to continue. She is quickly held by other warriors. Shay Feng, even from afar, asks what happened to Queen Carpenter Bee. And Billy reveals that this was the dragon's main objective all along. She explains that the queen is kind and strives to reduce damage, and that's why she was ambushed and injured. On the horizon, the yellow queen observes the dragons advancing on them. In this little game, the dragon army lost 8,000 and change, while the insect army lost 320. Chafing thinks this is how the battle between kings and generals should be. But the unlucky guy wonders if they're winning or losing. Billy explains that even if they lose less, if the queen doesn't recover, the other will have to guard the front line. And with both incapacitated, the clan can't reproduce. And thus, both clans go into decline. Our MC understands the gravity of the situation, but could he do anything? He thinks the queen's injuries are nothing for human technology, but then suddenly someone calls for him. Wait, is our MC crazy, or is he hearing the queen talking to him? Indeed, the queen is talking to him. I don't know how, but she's asking him to go see her after the battle. She says she'll take him to meet some important uncles. Sometime later, Chafing asks where they are in that strange place. The queen explains where she meets other insect kings, and our MC asks if these are the uncles she mentioned. Suddenly, it's explained to us that special spiders can transmit dreams and distant images through their threads. Hold on, the shenanigans don't stop there. They can generate holograms that allow communication. Does it make any sense? No, it doesn't, but follow the script. One of the kings asks what the heck happened and how Queen Carpenter Bee is doing. In this case, her real name is Ling Ling. She informs them that the queen's injuries have returned, and she needs to rest to recover for a while. Chafing observes curiously, wondering if those really are the insect kings. The grasshopper king comments that the dragon invasion isn't simple. They must have discovered their weakness in time. The rhinoceros beetle king asks Queen Ling Ling to rest and recover. The king thinks she's weak and shouldn't have gone to the battlefield in those conditions. But the queen explains the dragons were driven out, the general was injured, and they had few losses, and all this thanks to Ling Ling. Besides, she has already chosen her successor, so they don't need to worry. They question how long it will take, since the successor only has 1 star. She probably won't be able to bear the responsibility. Someone suggests finding a more powerful clan to transfer the king's power sooner, but the wasp queen is against this idea, and the grasshopper king wants to know why. She says she wants to wait for the natural transmission of power, inherited and suited to each clan. Hurriedly transferring to another clan might not release the same level of power. Our MC intervenes, saying his mother is right. They are clearly taking advantage of this situation. The stag beetle king asks, "Excuse me, who's talking? And more importantly, what's happening?" Raising his arm, our MC says he's right there. Someone asks if she brought a little wasp, and she says the one talking is the guy who awakened the king's power alone. The grasshopper king comments, very surprised that the rumors about our MC are true. Probably these rumors are saying he's small, right? Xiao Feng also declares he's against the transfer. The grasshopper king says this is no place for childishness. And the Stag King also agrees, telling our MC to leave. Our MC tells everyone not to treat him like a child. He knows how to heal his aunt's injuries. "Come on, my MC, I love you, man, but you're making it complicated for me. You say not to be called a child while calling the queen Haunty. You're breaking my chops, my man." In this case, he argues there's no reason to take her power. The Stag King tells him not to contradict his uncle and stop throwing a tantrum. Please, don't make him use his iron fist. But Shafeng retorts that he doesn't consider him an uncle. They're not even related. The queen observes the scene, as one threatens the other. The Grasshopper King orders them to stop arguing. He also proposes to give the little wasp a month to try. If it doesn't work, they can take the queen's power. Sometime later, our MC is getting chewed out, as always, once again being called reckless. But our MC says he didn't lie, he really has a way to heal his aunt. But he also admits he's not 100% sure. The queen then asks him to do his best and ensure no insect will blame him. Time goes back a few days, showing a previous scene. The Moth sisters are taking some used pots to the kitchen, and Yu tells his brother there's still some magic soup left. She asks why he doesn't drink it, since the soup can transform him into a powerful warrior. Xiaomuo replies that it doesn't do much for him. His physique isn't destined to be a warrior, he knows that. But his sister gets mad, saying physique is his appearance. He was always strong, at least in her eyes. And Yu confesses she wanted to be as incredible as her older brother. She pulls the younger one, asks, why is he hesitant to drink the soup? She says she heard that after drinking the soup, you become a warrior. But not only that, you also awaken a unique talent. So, what does he think about that? But then, both drink the soup. But apparently, it seems nothing significant happened. They don't feel that extraordinary physical strength. It increased, but it didn't increase that much. And Yu comments that the ability he feels doesn't seem suitable for combat. Meanwhile, the armored dragon begs them to wait before acting. The red one asks a classic question. Foot or hand, my partner, you only have two choices. The dragon desperately asks for help, while Xiaofeng asks what they're doing with him. Mang explains that prisoners who cooperate are released, but before that, they lose a limb. It's like a precaution so they don't fight a rabbit in the future. But someone explains that although it's cool to eliminate them, it would make dragons less prone to surrender. Our MC even agrees with some things, but still finds all this low-down stuff pretty inefficient. So, he asks everyone to wait a moment. The boy asks them to leave that specific matter to him. Everyone wants to know the reason for such a change, but he just says he has a better way to deal with dragons. Billy argues it's always been done that way, but the red one, even confirming, asks our MC to handle it. Feng then gives the order to release the armored dragon. The dragon gets up, wondering if it's really true that he's going to be released. Shafeng asks if there are other captured dragons, and if there are, they should be released too. The red one is surprised, asking if he heard right. But Shafeng confirms, saying that's right, release them. Shafeng thanks the dragon for the information, and allows everyone to leave with him. The other dragons immediately call him a traitor. He even got spat on right in the face. The poor armored dragon retorts, saying if it weren't for him, none of them would get out alive. Our MC tells the dragon that after all this time together, it's sad to see him leave. He even asks them to be careful on their way back, and if possible, come back to visit since he's very welcome. The dragon is instantly suspicious, realizing our MC is a natural-born con artist. Our MC waves goodbye to them with a smile on his face, leaving everyone confused. Mang and Mang question why release them after so much effort. Even Mama, who's next to her, wants to know. Even I at home want to know. Even you, watching, want to know. But our MC says that if the dragon isn't an idiot, he should be back very soon. The girls don't understand much, and neither do I. Our MC leaves, saying he'll probably be busy, so he won't be waiting there. While running, the armored dragon thinks that if he takes this information, he'll probably get promoted. But he realizes something is wrong. The dragon then stops suddenly. He realizes Shafeng didn't just release him, his information is no longer unique. He realizes that when the other dragons bring the information, he'll be useless and worse. They'll know he's a traitor. But, meanwhile back in the insect village, the moths are screaming, very scared, wondering why a dragon beast is approaching the village. The dragon states he came to see the king with no further intentions, but the red one doesn't care, he won't receive him. And that's final. But already face to face with our MC, he says his friend has finally arrived. And says he's in trouble, so can he stay? Our MC denies it, saying he only said that to be polite. He wasn't supposed to take it seriously. But the dragon says he can work if necessary. Our MC looks at the girls and asks them if the village wasn't in need of someone to dig a water channel. The dragon offers himself, saying he's great for digging channels. No, for digging tunnels. No, for digging even wells. Just leave it to him, and he'll do it. Sometime later, he's already digging and asking our MC if he thinks this is fast enough. The red one asks our MC how he convinced the dragon to do this. And Xiafeng replies that he knew what he was thinking and, most importantly, what he was trying to do. The red one agrees that releasing the others was smart, but keeping a dragon around nearby might make everyone sleep uneasy. Meanwhile, the moths observe the dragon working. Actually, everyone is watching the 3-star dragon working for them. And for those who haven't noticed, we're already back in the present time, okay? I don't know when, but we're back. Xiafeng asks them not to be afraid, because from now on, the dragon will do all the dirty and heavy work. And Yu is impressed and says it's really no wonder our MC is the king. Our MC thinks about keeping him out of the village, watched by insects. That way there won't be any problem. He then asks them to gather everyone and spread the news. Already with everyone gathered, our MC explains the new situation with the working dragon. He says dragons are flesh and blood, and they plan to capture more to put to work. So, the people don't need to fear so much. The red one declares that from that moment on, there will be no one in that place who will fear the dragon beasts. And when our MC is about to speak, the video ends, folks. In the next chapter, apparently things have changed. Do we have a possible water channel? The creatures are as curious as I am, so they start following the channel. That's when we see it flows into a plantation. Curious, they go to see what Xiafeng is doing. It seems he's building some kind of knife. Momo says the guy is creating paper, a telescope, a lamp. And Stickbug agrees Xiafeng is creating something new every day. Of course, these novelties excite Momo very much. Momo thanks his lucky stars that his prayers worked. He prayed a lot to have a wise and renowned god. But the little one questions since when he was praying, because he himself doesn't remember. Meanwhile, Xiafeng finally finished, and what he was making was a set of tools. Only then does he notice the creatures outside and asks why they don't come in. Stickbug notices the house built with joined wood. For him, this is something new, but it seems very sturdy. Spotting the destroyed mech, the insects ask what that is. Since it's something new to them, they also can't understand what that machine is for. Xiafeng explains it's a mechanical armor, a weapon specially made to deal with dragon beasts. Xiamo is amazed by it, and our MC's expectation is that he can deal with 5-star dragons with it. The little problem is that the armor isn't complete yet. Rummaging through the place, Mao Mao notices there are some very interesting things there. He puts on the helmet and says, "Now, Daddy, anyone can come." Xiafeng says those items promote self-defense. And this is until the mech is ready. Charmo, who's a little shorty, poor guy, asks if there isn't any weapon that's decent for him. And this leaves our MC very thoughtful. What would be the ideal weapon for a small muff? With much doubt, he starts rummaging through the trash. I think this MC doesn't have much sense of things, man. He gave a weapon that's twice the size of the muff. Twice its size. Why not, right? What could go wrong? The muff, poor thing, couldn't even hold the weapon. With so much weight, it ends up falling backward. That's what our MC says, there's no weapon for his size. But hold on, don't worry, he'll make one from scratch. Or just one, minimally. Sometime later, we see someone practicing target shooting. And man, that's a weapon, it's a bazooka. It's not that this thing is potent. Man, it went through the tree. Believe it or not, that huge shot came from the most little pistol. Yes, it was Xiamo who shot. The destructive power is so great that even the moth was impressed, not even expected that. He gets very excited. This is because the weapon is extremely powerful, especially for its size. Xiafeng says the test isn't over yet. The game is going to get a little more difficult. The moth asks if it can start already, but she says this while pointing the weapon at our MC. Young child, don't do that. What if it fires accidentally, right? Then there goes our MC, and our story ends. Our MC asks Moth not to get so excited while he tries to escape there, from the weapon's aim. Man, it's not that the little Moth is hitting everything. Xiaomo is a good shot, Our MC gets excited and curious about all that. How did he hit everything? But Xiaomo just says he can see all the targets clearly. This is because he gained some innate abilities after becoming an insect warrior. A little warrior, right? Not a warrior, a little warrior. He continues explaining that he is camouflage Ray Vix, Rasian, but until then, he thought they were useless on a battlefield. Until then, because I'm seeing this critter by passing the enemy and shooting them in the back. Excited to see this little guy on the battlefield. Our MC gets excited about this X-ray vision story. He, being an old hand, knows these abilities are important and incredible on the battlefield. Xiaomo clearly gets excited, but he was imagining something else for the X-ray vision, like another efficiency. There's no reason to go back just for war, right? Xiafeng can already imagine the tactic. Hide, shoot, camouflage, and change position. But then, what does the kid think? What would be the result for him? Xiaomo replies that clearly the enemy wouldn't find him, allowing for continuous ambushes. He can kind of understand the potential of all this, but suddenly everything changes. RMC starts to see flashes of Xiaomo's past memories. In the memory, Xiaomo says that as soon as he leaves his sister at home, he'll look for food. He asks little Yu to stay safe at home. He promises to bring good food if she does that. So he goes looking for food. Quickly, he already finds some mushrooms that look edible. But it's at that very moment that a dragon beast appears behind him. Luckily, the monster misses the attack, and this catches the boy's attention. Scared, he runs off as fast as possible. Next, he camouflages himself using his body. That's when the creature passes right by. Without the monster noticing, he leaves. And remember, at no point did he leave the food behind. Later, he was already preparing food for his sister, and apparently she liked it a lot, okay? Even licking the plate. Seeing all this in the boy's memory, our MC realizes this kid has been good since he was young. Always strong and brave. But then, out of nowhere, the scene changes to a desert landscape. There we see our MC and a small team gathered. The King of Flies says they've reached the right spot. And that crevice is what they're looking for. Our MC questions why they live there with so much land outside. The red one says it's probably to avoid dragons, which are usually right in the fertile lands. Besides, that place is quite famous for exile and a lot of turmoil. The fly explains that criminals, outcasts, and deserters go there after traveling a lot. There it's a totally barbaric place. What lives there is the law of the strongest. They hunt each other for food, besides the stench that is unbearable. And it's in this place that the famous mud wasps are. Their leader complains about eating leftover food again, so she refuses to eat and throws the bowl far away. Only the bowl falls on someone's foot. I thought it might be our MC, but that hand definitely isn't his. It's the beetle. He reminds the leader that food there is a very precious thing, but the leader prefers to go hungry than eat that. It's at this moment that our folks enter. Our MC already says it's been a long time since he saw the wasp. Irritated, she already asks who dares to invade her territory without permission. The red one asks her if she forgot them so quickly. And our MC says it's him, the king, the new king, Xiafeng. Recognizing him, she's instantly surprised. Instantly, she also gets distressed and says this time she won't be intimidated. But our little guy is there with another objective. He wants to give everyone a new chance to get out of that cursed place. The proposal catches the attention of all the mud wasps there. The leader says it's not necessary and invites him to stay, promising that she and her sisters will take good care of him. Yeah, it sounds like a very good deal. I'd make that deal. Our MC sighs, realizing she never changes and never learns. He then proposes a chancer. If anyone can take him down alone, he'll reconsider. The leader orders the dung beetle to go there and take the boy down. So, the muscular one accepts the challenge. He already prepares an attack, but our MC actually just stays very calm. All my expectation for this attack went down the drain. Our MC managed to stop it with just his hand. The beetle apparently starts to tremble. He surprises our MC, now a 1-star warrior or more. As he lets the dung beetle pass right by, he explains he now has 2 stars. I thought he was going to let the dung beetle pass right by, but apparently he comes back with the attack. And there goes brother roll. The leader doesn't quite believe it. Her strongest subordinate was defeated with a single blow. Xiaofeng says he sincerely isn't there to negotiate with them. But he wants a result quickly. Are they going or not? Faced with his power, they kneel and swear loyalty to the insect king. There's not much to do, right folks? Just accept. Clutching her pillows, the insect leader comments that she doesn't expect our MC to value someone like her. But she promises all her servants will do their best to serve him and produce descendants. Yeah, our man gets worried, but he shouldn't. There are already 3,000 waiting there, now there's even more here. Oh, lucky guy. It's at this moment that the praying mantis removes her cloak and positions herself behind our MC. Scared by the pincer, the leader then asks what they want to do. I think actually this praying mantis is jealous, huh? I just think so. She orders the wasp to show more respect to the insect king. I knew that was jealousy, I knew it. Observing our MC's guards, Dung Beetle questions himself and says out loud, how did they manage to level up now? They're at the 2nd or 3rd star. How did they do that following that dead weight? This clearly irritates our MC. He states the objective there was to recruit the clan, but if he doesn't want to swear loyalty, so be it. So, our MC leaves, taking everyone with him, and Roll stays behind. The red one asks if Dung Beetle isn't going with them, but the black beetle replies that he's a failure. Maybe that's his place. But the red one questions if he wants to bury himself there. Both grew up together, and that doesn't seem like him at all. He needs to go back and redeem himself. That place won't erase his past sins. Frustrated, the black beetle asks if there really is a chance to change destiny. The red one encourages him. He needs to at least try to do it. The next scene takes us straight to the Biwam tribe. And there's our MC arriving at the tribe. The guards say they were waiting for him, so they guide our MC directly. They will take him to the queen's room. A wasp comments that she didn't imagine he was so young and good with herbs. That's right, folks. Our MC is there to try to take care of the queen. Xiaofeng states he really hasn't studied anything about herbs, much less understands the subject. But he explains his plan is to perform surgery on the queen bee. The wasps are confused, not understanding what surgery is, so they ask him. And he replies, saying it's a physical method. First, open the injured area, perform an internal procedure, and then sew the wound with a needle. The wasps don't like the information much, so they question if this really works. Or is he trying to make the queen into a rag doll? Without thinking twice, they throw our MC far away. Well, look on the bright side, at least she didn't throw him that far. She threw him, but she threw him with affection. The moths arrive for the rescue, asking if he's okay. The wasps order everyone to leave. The queen doesn't need any treatment. Most importantly, they are no longer welcome there. Oh, and if they don't obey the order, they'll be ruder. Ruder in the sense, the beatdown will commence, understand. Sometimes they find all this unbelievable. And then Vivi appears, trying to understand the whole situation. Arriving there, she asks what happened. She heard the king would come there to try to heal the queen. So, where is he? The guards explain they expelled him. He wanted to open up the queen and maybe finish her off. They continue explaining themselves, and Vivi understands this term surgery. She recognizes it's a medical procedure, so she orders them to bring Xiaofeng and his group back, and quickly. And at that moment, Xiaofeng doesn't quite understand why he was expelled. For him, the plan was clearly safe. For sure, right? I'll go there, I'll say I'm gonna open up the queen, and it'll work out. They'll let me pass. What could go wrong? He even thinks about going back and explaining the whole story better, but the moths say it was because he explained too much that they were expelled. And that's when Vivi appears again. She didn't just send the guards, she went herself. The girl asks Xiaofeng to stay there. She asks if he's ever tried to perform surgery on someone else before. And he explains he has, but it was on a small animal. But she questions, asking if he really managed to succeed. But Xiaofeng replies that he succeeded, quote unquote, right? He got about 80%. Apparently, that's enough for her. So, she asks our MC to go back and perform surgery on the queen bee. I don't know if they're bees anymore, if they're wasps, but if I'm not mistaken, they're all wasps. Sometime later, the wasp guards intervene again. They ask the princess to wait a moment. They question if they'll really let that stranger treat the queen. The worst part is that Vivi confirms, yes. Vivi explains the clans have been friends for generations and would never do harm, and this urgency is shared by both. So, this is the only method available at the moment, and they can't let it pass. The guards look at each other, clearly worried, but what can they do, right? They trust the princess. Even reluctantly, they make way for the group to pass. So now it's time to work. Vivi asks our MC and his group to follow her. And there is our beautiful and lovely sleeping queen. Our MC tells Xiaomu and Yu to prepare to start the surgery. He'll combine wasp and moth mode. That way he gains X-ray vision and anesthetic power. So, he sticks the not iron stinger into the queen. Man, I almost said something bad and lost my monetization. That can't happen. After injecting the anesthetic, he activates X-ray vision. Locating the problem, he begins the surgery. Our MC needs to be as careful as possible. Any mistake he makes, there goes the queen, her powers, and him. But so far, everything is going well. Xiaofeng is managing to remove the fragments lodged in the queen's heart. After removing all the fragments, he closes the opened area. The kids are impressed by this, and Xiaofeng says it was nothing. If they want, he can teach them later. Although the technique is very rough, he had 100% success, thank goodness. But it still depends on one final item. He takes a vial containing a special dragon soup. The medicine is made by that old turtle. Then you already know, right? It's a little bit of that, son. Raises even the departed. Sometime later, Xiaofeng says that without infection, the queen needs to rest for a few days to recover, but the important thing is that everything is fine. Relieved by the success, Vivi thanks our MC. But our MC says Vivi saved the tribe. Without her support, this surgery wouldn't have happened. With the mission accomplished, Xiaofeng and his group leave. Surprised, Vivi thinks the insect world has developed a lot, to the point that surgery was possible there. Xiaofeng thinks the same as Vivi. But one thing intrigues him. He didn't expect anyone to understand surgery there. The insect princess then runs back hurriedly. She goes straight to the royal room to check how her mother is. Finally, the little thing arrives in the room. To her joy, her mother is fine and calls for her, albeit weakly. Vivi jumps straight onto her mother. What she forgets is that the woman just came out of surgery. She wants to put her in a coma again, she must. Although no, she took the dragon's little medicine, right? The one that raises the departed, so it's all good. Suddenly the scene changes. Now we see our MC in a surgery room. But then the scene changes again, and we see Princess Weiwei asking for more food. I'm just guessing, but I think our MC is performing surgery on himself. Xiaofeng asks if the princess is in a good mood because something happened, but she denies it. She just says the food is delicious and much better than the palace's. And our MC replies he learned from his mother. For an instant he thinks like a spoiled princess. She only likes luxury food and money. Is it foolish him to be trying to help her? Every day he washes clothes, cooks and cleans for her. He's practically become the homemaker without realizing it. But Vivi? No, the insect Vivi is very different. She's gentler and more graceful, the type of girl he really prefers. He informs Waiwei that the manga is almost complete in the final adjustment phase. Soon, they can leave. But anxious, she asks how long it will take, like a week, a day. But our MC says it won't be that fast. He warns that he's never piloted a MEC8, so he'll need to train a bit first. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Waiwei liked the news. This is a sign that there will still be some time left for her there. Sometime later, for an extremely unknown reason, we see a mecha fighting dragons. And he's being devoured. He couldn't fight against so many creatures. That's when we see it's our sly MC playing. And apparently he's playing by telepathy because there's no keyboard, no mouse, nothing. Waiwei asks if he lost again, and he tries to avoid it, right? Saying, gosh, it was very difficult, very complicated. It didn't work out. That's when she asks if she can try piloting the simulator. Apparently, it's just a little game that's a mech simulator. Our MC agrees, just asks her not to cry if she loses. That's when our attacker explains to her how it works. Only each time he gets closer and closer to her. What a smooth talker this guy is. Pure smooth talk. Suddenly, he asks her if she understood. And the worst part is she confirms, but I'm sure she didn't. Take back what I said, she understood, really understood. In this simulator, our MC had scored 300 points, but she scored almost 1,000. That's when she points and shows Xiaofeng that she passed the phase successfully. Xiaofeng thinks that, unfortunately, her score is incredible. She achieved something not even experienced pilots reach. Was she born with a talent, or is she a genius? He says that with her skill. They don't need much more training and can leave from there. Angrily, she gets up, saying practice is totally different from reality. Besides, she's too shy to pilot a mecha. But that's when our MC asks if the simulator's realism didn't hit. If she wants, he can make some adjustments. She says she denies it's that, and this leaves our MC totally confused. MC, you're not understanding the play. Our boy doesn't hold back. He asks her what's happening. She was the one who wanted to leave the most, but now she always seems happy with the possibility. Only the scene changes again. Now we're at the Insect King's meeting. One of them celebrates Ling Ling's recovery. The queen thanks everyone for their concern. Xiaofeng says before they weren't so considerate, but the queen says she knows their behavior well. The loyal servant king says that at that moment, they considered the good of the entire lineage and hopes she understands. The grasshopper king says that it's time to return to the main topic of the meeting. With the 5 original kings, a new king, and an injured dragon general, he says this is the best opportunity in centuries to attack. Ling Ling immediately asks what their plan and attack strategy will be. However, the Yellow Queen questions if it isn't too early to act. Xiaofeng is completely lost in the story. He doesn't even know what they're talking about. The Grasshopper King asks our MC to pay attention and explains they will form an expeditionary force to hunt dragons. He schedules it for 2 days from then and asks for everyone's opinion, but the loyal one warns they need at least 2 months to make preparations. The Grasshopper King says they can't take that long. If they take that long, there's a risk they'll lose the opportunity. He states that in 2 days, he will go on the attack and expects everyone's support on the plane. And then he simply logs off and disappears. Xiaofeng doesn't understand much, so he asks what they're really going to do with this expeditionary force. The Yellow Queen explains they're going to recover lost territory. And each king will get a share, so this is an opportunity for little Xiaofeng. And this definitely interests our boy who wants to expand his territory. Back in the village, Billy confirms the situation and says she needs to assemble an army quickly. The folks get excited, wanting to go to war. But Billy says not everyone can go. Some have to stay to protect the territory and the weaker ones. Brother Drill already says they are specialists against dragons, while Mosquito suggests leaving the weaker ones. Irritated, the Mud Wasp leader questions this comment, but Mosquito denies it, saying she's not talking about them. Are you getting sensitive? But ladies and gentlemen, don't worry because Billy has a solution. Mang and Mama will stay, while the others will be chosen by lottery. But Mosquito assigns the task of taking care of the base to Brock and Blue Wing. The two get irritated because they wanted to go fight. It really is very unlucky for both of them, but what can you do? Mamo interrupts saying something, but in the background, we see something. From afar, the armored dragon is observing everything very attentively. For him, this is excellent news. What he didn't expect was that our MC would appear right behind him. Our MC informs that he already spoke to Billy. He won't even need a lottery. He's definitely going on the expedition. 2 days later, everyone is already gathered. And the Grasshopper King thanks everyone for their presence. So, He explains that dragons invaded and enslaved their brothers for millennia, and asks if they just stood by watching this. Today will be a special day, a different day. They will show the dragons the strength of the insects. Our MC, observing around, realizes there are hundreds of insects. No, hundreds of thousands. And Billy confirms it's the first time in centuries they're going to attack a dragon general. But Billy explains that the hasty battle didn't allow for training new troops, so they had to send their direct armies. In this case, the elite of each kingdom. One of them is the Titan Legion, which belongs to the Rhinoceros Beetle King, indeed a very powerful army. Its commander, Golden Helmet, has already defeated 5 level 5 dragons and 11 level 4. The Stag Beetle King's army is also very strong. Its commander has defeated 35 level 4. Of course, the Wasp Queens doesn't fall behind. She has already defeated 9 level 5 and 30 level 4. Putting that aside and explaining the strategy, the main force will be the Grasshopper Legion, which will advance into the heart of enemy territory and contain the main forces, while the others clear the route and regroup. One of the commanders wonders if that's the famous Xiaofeng. Another heard he went to 2 stars extremely quickly. That's when she approaches Xiaofeng and asks if it's really him. And of course, he confirms. Billy greets Jing Jing, saying it's been a long time. Xiaofeng wonders if that's Billy's sister. Ding Ding says she heard she would take care of the new king, but does she have the skill for it? But Billy immediately retorts, saying there hasn't been any problem so far. RMC intervenes, praises Billy. She defeated a 3-star dragon alone. Vivi comments she heard Billy is the closest in strength to a king, but her subordinate scoffs. She has more time on the front, so she's probably stronger. Folks, I think I made a little mistake, so I'll rearrange the commanders. That one is the Yellow Queen's commander. The other from the previous scene is the Black Wasp's commander. And Billy in this case is our MC's commander. Got it. Jing Jing says Queen Wasp Mother preferred our MC to stay, but he didn't listen. But she understands that kings need space to grow. So if he needs help with anything, he can call her. Xiaofeng tells them not to underestimate them. They are strong too and can handle everything themselves. That's when Vivi appears and approaches our MC. She calls our MC to go a separate place to talk about something very private. His gossipy friends want to know the reason, but unfortunately it's not possible. They think it might be a love confession, right? But who knows? The girl even tries to say something but seems very shy. Xiaofeng thinks that after 20 years, he's going to receive his first love confession. But she reveals she already likes someone. So Vivi asks him to refuse on her behalf if the clans propose a marriage alliance between them. He says he understands, but he regrets all this. He even thinks the other guy must be a great insect beast. Oh, MC, don't be like that. If you stop to think, you have about 3,000 waiting for you over there. Plus another 500 from the mud. Women, you have them. The little guy, poor thing, got discouraged by the news. But no problem, when he gets to the war, he can put 500 soldiers in front of him, he'll take them all on. A broken heart is the best pre-workout. That's when the blessed Xiaofeng comes, asking what's wrong with our MC, if he can help. But our MC, dejected, poor guy, just thanks him and says he doesn't want to. Mao insists, saying love requires trials. He himself is an example of this, but we know not even a little. He continues, saying everyone finds him very handsome, but he tells a secret, stating that he's actually a beautiful butterfly, and that there is just a detail before he emerges from the cocoon. But Xiaofeng doesn't care much and just leaves, wanting peace. Out of politeness, he thanks Mao, especially for the butterfly metaphor. He's even a little better now. But Mao doesn't quite understand this metaphor story. He tries to shout our MC, saying it really isn't a metaphor. In no way could it be. The others laugh at Mao and ask if he really can transform into a butterfly one day. But then my question arises, would it be Mao he or Mao she? Could this be a she? We'll have to find out later. The scene changes to the armored dragon. He's tired of carrying a very heavy box. With all certainty and reason, he complains about Xiaofeng making him do this. And worse, all day long. He also complains about the collar they put on him. He looks like a slave. That's when Xiaofeng appears and says the collar is to differentiate him from the enemy. He's worried others might attack the dragon. He says it's only temporary and hopes the dragon isn't upset by this safety measure. With all the insincerity in the world, the dragon says he's not upset. In fact, he's even grateful. Looking ahead, Charmo asks what's inside that big, mysterious box. To satisfy everyone's curiosity, our MC pulls the cloth and says it's finally complete. So, he presents a mech called Warrior, his first mechanical armor that he built in that territory. For sure, this expedition will be the best opportunity to test that machine. Next scene, we see the little group armed to the teeth. And apparently the attack has already begun, because Mao is already shooting at everyone. With a face showing a lot of love, he says that surely no beast is a match for him now. Let the dragons come. Seeing the weapons, the girls got curious. Especially Billy was surprised to see the 1-star insect defeat a 2-star dragon. And Digging can only think of our army equipped with those weapons. But our MC thinks they can only be dreaming about that. But we continue, and on the 3rd day of March, the Wasp army separates from the main forest, heading northwest, eliminating every dragon it finds along the way. Showing the terrain model, the Fly King informs that this is his research on the surroundings. The Fly reveals that the Iron Spine Dragon clan is 50 miles away, with over 5,000 members and 30,000 enslaved insects. Jingjing finds it complicated to deal with the slaves, as the dragons tear off their wings after capture. In a direct battle, common insects would be caught in the crossfire. But Shafeng laments the tens of thousands of lives seeking rescue. Surely our MC won't leave them there. Jingjing continues. The area is surrounded by mountains, which makes it difficult to rescue non-flyers. And she reinforces that emotion cannot guide the decision, not in the military world. After thinking a bit, Shafeng has an idea to rescue the enslaved. He suggests digging a tunnel to the other side of the mountain, thus reaching the prisoners. And this will surely be easy for them to do, since he has a dragon skilled at digging tunnels. He can excavate until dawn. Dig agrees and says the method is good, but evacuating so many insects so quickly will attract attention. But our MCs, this is really the best option they have, so there's no way around it. Xiaomo suggests he infiltrate first, using camouflage to warn the insects about the plan. That way he can speed up the evacuation. Our MC is apprehensive because it's very dangerous for a small moth. But Charmer says he's not afraid, he's a warrior, so our MC will have to trust him. Already in enemy territory, we see a statue of the great dragon general being built. Getting closer, we see a dragon hurting a slave, but right behind is our little spy. Observing the scene hidden, Xiaomo is saddened by it. It's too much cruelty. But night falls, we're in the prisoner area. An insect says the other one in the next cell went to sleep forever. And this from so much exhaustion. The old one says he's lost count of how many have already gone. The little insect says he has a wish to escape that inferno. But the old one says that's impossible. The distance is too great and full of dragons. And if caught, it's the end. The little one asks if there's a place just for them. And the old one confirms, saying there really is. But then the other asks why no one comes to rescue them. The old one explains that insects were once strong, but they fought among themselves, lost ground, and never won against the dragons again. So how can they rescue if they themselves can't protect themselves? It's at this moment that our little one appears from the shadows, saying he can prove otherwise. He introduces himself as the insect beast from the sky insect's territory. He also says he's a direct subordinate of the insect king Xiaofeng. The old one asks if he, a subordinate of the king, was captured. But that's when they notice his wing is intact. Surprised, the old one asks if the boy is really there to save everyone. Xiaomo explains that the tribes have formed an expeditionary force and are recovering captured territories. He continues, saying that at this moment, they are drilling through the mountain and everyone should prepare. But the old one laments because they are still trapped in that guarded area. But even so, everyone approaches, happy with the chance to get out of there. Xiaomo asks them to quickly pass the message to all captured insects. An excited beetle says he'll spread the news to everyone now. Observing his equipment, the moth realizes everything is there, as planned. From the equipment, he pulls out a locator device. Before being sent, Xiaofeng reviewed the weapon, packed extra cartridges and soup, and asked him to always keep the locator nearby so he could be tracked. Xiaofeng had also asked. In case of danger, he shouldn't be reckless, as his safety was more important. Back in the present, Xiaomo tells the insects that as soon as he deals with the guards, everyone can leave. Next scene, he already has a dragon in his sights. The shot, which was not at all stealthy, caught everyone's attention. The worst part is it wasn't just the noise, the dragon fell right near the other enemies. They even imagined the other might have dozed off and fallen. But that's when they see the burn mark. But it's already too late. There go a couple of them. The last one even spots the shooter, but it's also too late for him. Going to take a little nap, are you? Going to sleep a bit. Just to be sure, Shaman changes his position. What if someone saw him? And he follows that blessed strategy: shoot, camouflage and change position, shoot, camouflage and change position. Sometime later, he had already swept the whole place, everyone was down. What he didn't expect was that sometime later, some patrollers would appear there. That's when a dragon mounted on a dragon notices something. He identifies the fallen bodies. He doesn't even think twice and sounds the trumpet. But there's also no need for much concern, because everyone is being taken out. Mosquito asks everyone to stay calm. They will be safe as soon as they pass through the tunnels. Switching to the dragons, they notice all the slaves are gone. Their officer is not happy at all and orders these slaves to be found. Already with Billy, she asks everyone to hurry. The dragons are already reacting. The armored dragon sees something and gets worried. He realizes that Dragon Officer is Lord Tal's confidant. If he recognizes him, his life is over. That's when our MC finally arrives. Yeah, he arrived with the new toy. The Blessed Mech. The bad thing is our MC is pretty bad at piloting this, right? But what can you do? At least he's armored. Finding the fugitives, the dragons charge. But that's when a rock comes their way. Whoever threw it is a good shot because the rock hit, and it's definitely our MC holding the tunnel entrance. No one passes him. The soldier doesn't understand what that is. It doesn't look like an insect. Shafing activates the armor's power and flies off among the enemies. The soldiers can't understand how he's so fast. As much as the armor is huge and very heavy, it's very powerful, so this is pretty easy for it. Our MC thinks that, as expected, the mechanized armor is very fast, but there's a detail: if his body weren't enhanced, he definitely wouldn't even be able to pilot it. But okay, enough talk. Now it's time to start the fun. Xiaofeng points the machine guns at the enemy. The worst part is it's not just that, he starts to accumulate energy. That main cannon there isn't just anything, he ripped it from an armor with a 6-star level. Tired of wasting too much time, our MC starts shooting. It even looks like he's playing target practice because he hits several at once. But that's when something catches his attention. He notices an attack coming from below. The one attacking is the Dragon Officer, but his attack simply passes right through our MC. Xiaofeng realizes he'd never 4-star dragon before, much less with his human body. But that's also not a problem for him. Now he's going into close combat. The dragon doesn't back down either and prepares its arms. He continues trying to attack our MC from a distance, but it still amounts to nothing. The attacks only serve to test the sword. But enough stalling, let's get to close combat. The brawl begins, but so far we have a tie. Our MC's mech is pretty strong, but the dragon isn't far behind either. Our MC retreats a bit, but the dragon starts attacking from a distance. But our MC deflects the attack, and it ends up hitting the statue directly. And there goes the head of Lord Talon's statue. Our MC says he's not to blame, the dragon broke it, so the responsibility is his. The dragon gets stressed about this, because this little game involved months of hard work. But he talks as if he were the one doing the work, right? Our MC ruined the dragon's chance to show his worth. That was Lord Tal's 30th birthday present. Revolted by this, the dragon charges. But our MC isn't paying much attention, he's worried about the armor. Was it made of patches? Yes, but it was made of 5-star mechs. It should take care of opponents easily. But then the dragon comes, saying he's going to crush our MC. But Xiaofeng is still worried about the armor. All indicators are normal. It couldn't be his fault, could it? While hitting the dragon in all possible vital points, our MC says he's not fighting anymore, he surrenders. Already far away, finally, the insects came out of the tunnels. One of them says he really was saved. The statue is even broken. The dragons that managed to escape are being attacked by the wasps. The creatures realize that's not a shooting star, but the wasp army. Even from afar, they cheer for the dragons to be totally crushed. Xiaomo and our MC are very happy with the result, especially Xiaomo, who is the spearhead of all this. The dragon leader apparently is still alive. He can't understand where such a strong opponent came from. The problem is he's not going to stay alive for long. The reason is very simple. There are too many little wasps for him to face. He even tries to argue, saying they're crazy for making an attack of that magnitude. There are many insects nearby, and they could get caught in the crossfire. But the girls know the reality is totally different. The blockhead doesn't understand this audacity. Normally they would be afraid. So, he orders all level 5 to be brought. Today they will face the wasps. The problem is it's too late, everyone has already been defeated. Not to mention everyone, about 15 are left. That said, to really call it finished, only one beast needs to be finished off. So, Ding Ding throws her spear, which is 3 times larger. And the target, can you imagine who it is? The desperate dragon asks to wait a minute, but we already know, it's too late. After the destruction, the spear rises, and goes straight into Ding Ding's hand. With the work finished, she gives orders to her army. Everyone must advance and destroy any enemy, if they find one, which I think is very unlikely. The scene changes to our MC, who is already in his wasp body. He says now he'll take the rescued to his territory. Ding Ding agrees, marching with them is inconvenient, leaving them there is unsafe. The best alternative is for them to return, the bad thing is they can't fly. So it will take a few weeks to be able to return to the territory. Ding Ding says our MC and his army should return with the insects, but clearly, they don't like it. Billy says it's a good idea, there's no need for him to risk himself in enemy territory. Not more than that, it would be much safer this way. Our MC argues, but Amelie replies, if the news spreads that the army has a 2-star king, dragons will rain down there. Oh, and she won't be able to protect him. Jing Jing says those insects aren't being given him for nothing. They can be sent to our MC's territory, and he'd take care of this matter personally. Since the king wouldn't abandon his own subjects, would he? It would be a lot to do, our MC agrees. The story jumps forward a week. We see our MC eating. They wonder why everyone is afraid he'll get hurt. What's the problem with being 2-star? He's already eliminated a 3-star dragon before. And with his armor, he can face him even up to level 4. Actually, even 5-star. He asks what Grasshopper thinks of all this. But she says she doesn't know. She went up to 2 stars 2 days ago. That's when our MC spots some wasps. He realizes they're from the Bumbly tribe. But what are they doing there? And peeking, our MC realizes they're asking Billy for supplies. They ended up encountering some enemies along the way and had certain problems. The meddler appears, saying, alright. Actually, not a meddler, right? After all, he's the king. He says they're all allies, so they should help each other. It's just giving and transporting some supplies, so Billy won't complain, will she? They're already at the border, so nothing there will be a big problem. She says it's okay, and our MC is dying to get back to the battlefield. That's when we see 2 armies clashing. Apparently, they're being attacked by frog dragons. Kim activates her arrow rain ability, and there go the frog dragons. The frog leader says the rumors about them are indeed true, but there's something that intrigues him. How long will she last in that territory? He withdraws his army, ordering everyone back to the forest. From afar, Kiki just observes. With her arrogance, she says they fled again. A little while later, the air delivery is arriving. The bad thing is Xiaofeng has to face his beloved head-on, but he's handling it pretty well. Our MC asks her if the frog dragons themselves can't be used as food. Or did she encounter a powerful enemy? Her commander says there's no powerful enemy. They're just astute and keep using tricks. So, our MC asks if they need help, but the general says no. She'll take care of the enemies in a few days. She doesn't need any brat there bothering her. But since he's sharing food, she'll let him stay and receive some merits. But that's when the princess says she's being very rude. Our MC is in disbelief that someone like that is a commander. The princess says if she continues with this attitude, she'll tell the queen mother. And Kiki says she understands. Alright, she apologizes to Xiaofeng and he says it's okay. Xiaofeng is thoughtful and Billy notices this. She asks what it is, but he doesn't want to comment on it. Oh MC, don't be sad about anything. Soon you'll be out of there. Some time passes, and Vivi and Xiaofeng are sitting with that awkward tension in the air. Xiaofeng thinks it's a bit strange when the two of them are together, especially alone. Vivi wonders what she should do. When she said those words before, she didn't imagine it would be this awkward all the time. Our MC makes the mistake of asking which insect Vivi likes. She replies, saying he's a bit small, but very cute. He's great in the kitchen, very intelligent, and always creates various contraptions. But stopping to think, doesn't that sound like our MC? But the most important thing for her is that he saved her before, becoming her hero. Our MC replies that he really is very talented, and Vivi agrees. But inside he knows he can do everything this guy does. This insect has nothing special. To break the tension, our MC invites her for a walk around the area. After all, staying there is getting pretty boring. Next scene, the two are already flying. Vivi says ahead is the territory of the poisonous frog dragons. Our MC starts to observe a bit lower. And man, what a strange scene, huh? The princess comments that those dragon bodies can't even be eaten because they're all poisonous. That's why they were out of supplies. Besides, since the bodies are in the river, it ended up contaminating nearby animals too, making hunting even more difficult. Looking further ahead, our MC asks if that's the territory she mentioned. She replies yes. The area is surrounded by a canyon all year round, so when you enter you lose your sense of direction. But this isn't a problem for our MC. He has a way to deal with these critters. Isn't that the perfect place to build a dam? Next scene, we return to the camp. Our MC is in the commander's tent. The commander tells our MC to hurry up and say it. She's been fighting for days and is very tired. Our MC says he has a strategy to finish off the enemy. But once again, she scoffs at our MC. She says she can handle the dragons alone, but so far, we haven't seen any results. The subordinates agree. They even say he should spend more time with Vivi. Forget this war stuff, go be happy. Even though our MC doesn't wanna, they take him outside. And the commander returns to rest. Outside, our MC asks Vivi, how did she become a commander being so arrogant? But Vivi can only apologize. Xiaofeng says it's okay, it doesn't matter. If she doesn't want to help him, he'll do it alone. That's when the scene cuts to the red one. He's breaking some rocks. Apparently the rocks are construction materials our MC will use. The red dragon is the one taking care of transporting the stones, but apparently he's not liking it very much. Actually, he doesn't like anything, right? He works because he's afraid, but he keeps on pouring, and pouring more. Finally, the barrier was ready. Our MC thanks everyone for their hard work. This time I have to agree that Dragon deserves even a reward. The little guy worked, you know? A few days later, the rain finally came. Now will be the perfect time to test the dam. After the rain, they started fighting again. Our MC is far away watching the combat. Realizing the fight isn't going as expected, he says the battle requires the king's intervention. Turning down, he gives the signal for his friends to begin the operation. The group activates their powers and attacks the barrier directly. Mama comments that the dam is too thick to break, but it's necessary, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't hold so much water. The problem is they realize the barrier isn't breaking. Our MC really hadn't considered that. He imagined it would work out, right? But it's okay, he has another way. He calls for the dragon and says he'll remove the collar. Sometime later, already without the collar, the dragon is all excited. Our MC throws the collar directly into the water. The sly dragon is already thinking about how he'll escape. He was even trying to think of something to remove that collar. But our MC did him the favor of removing it. So now this is wonderful. But that's when we see the collar reaching the bottom of the river. Our MC just needs to press a button. And there goes the barrier. Everyone gets excited, except the dragon who had that thing around his neck. Finally, the barrier broke and now the water can flow. Our MC tells the dragon not to be sad, he'll make a new one soon, so don't worry. The armored dragon thinks our MC cannot be underestimated. He might look cute, but it's clear he's not at all. In fact, he's pretty nasty when he wants to be. The scene returns to the fight. The frog commander doesn't understand. They should have run out of food a long time ago, and consequently, energy to fight. So, what happened? But it's okay, with that terrain, he's practically invincible. But that's when they see a huge wave coming. Neither of the two commanders understands that sudden flood. And to make matters worse, along with the wave comes a second army. The frogs try to run. But clearly there's no time and many are swept away. Those who stay and resist don't last long either. Xiaofeng orders everyone to prioritize those stuck in the trees. From afar, the princess recognizes that mech armor. She wonders how this primitive planet developed this technology. It's our MC, right baby? Respect. The general gives the order for all subordinates to advance. Now is the time to annihilate the enemy. The subordinate even questions why the forest isn't the ideal territory to fight. But the commander doesn't care. Now is not the time. So they charge towards the forest. She's doing everything not to lose credit to our MC. But too distracted, she was attacked. The bad thing is the attack landed. With the general trapped, the frog simply starts to run. Our MC from above sees the frog leader taking the general. Our MC, poor guy, can't even understand what he's seeing. The frog is very happy. With his army defeated, he didn't expect to have this victory. The general is quite disgusted, but there's not much she can do. Brother Frog says she has a very dirty mouth, but it doesn't matter when she's in his belly. Let's see what she thinks. She tries to resist, but can't hold on any longer. That's when the frog's tongue is cut. Our MC passes by, grabbing the commander and getting out of there. If he had taken a little longer, there would be no more commander. But stopping to think, I only see benefits in this. I didn't like this woman anyway, but believe it or not, she thanks him. Our MC says it's okay, they're allies, and that's what's expected, but realizing it's our MC, she's heartbroken and forgets the thanks. But this was already humiliation enough, she asks to be let down. As soon as our MC drops her, she starts hunting the frog commander. This time, he won't escape, but he believes it's okay, since he's very far away. That's when he notices the shot, but it's already too late. He took an arrow to the chest. The general is happy because she had her revenge. The scene changes to the dragon's nest, the stalactite cave. A dragon calls for his father, asking how his recovery is going. His father rises, asking why he's being bothered. He explains the situation about the insect army. And worse, they're almost there. Tao gets extremely irritated. How dare they do this? The little dragon says this won't be a very big problem. He has already gathered all the strongest warriors in the territory. The insect beasts will never return alive. Tao agrees with the little dragon's decision, but only asks one thing, not to be disappointed. So, the terrestrial shark dragon thanks him. His sister congratulates him as they withdraw. But he doesn't quite understand these congratulations. She explains that now all the strongest in the territory are under his command. If for some reason the father kicks the bucket, naturally the successor will be him. The scene changes to the assembled dragon army. The terrestrial dragon says they'll prepare a little surprise for the insects. The funny thing is, the guy was black, now he's brown. Did they change the color, or was it because of the light? The scene changes to Vivi. Guess who she's thinking about? Vivi thinks our MC's two bodies only shared the same name. But that was it. But apparently, no. They both survived the explosion, and both got new bodies. This explains why he knows about surgery. And the Mega too. Yeah, folks, everyone already imagined Vivi was an insect version of Weiwei, but that they were different people. But apparently, no, she also got another body. And Weiwei is Vivi being translated, right? So, really, it's both of them. The worst part is she's thinking all this with our MC right in front of her. Our MC even asks Moth if he doesn't feel like someone is looking at him. But Moth says no. For him, no one is looking. But that's when something comes. something fell very close to them. Boy, that's the cricket. One of the Grasshopper King's 4 generals. Yeah, folks, let's abandon our MC and head to the Grasshopper Kingdom. It's more worth it. She gets close to her MC, showing all her strength, which is a lot of strength. Our MC asks who the lady is. But the girl thinks the 3 of them are very cute. She simply can't resist, so she grabs all 3. There are even some bonus kisses. But that's when an arrow is shot in their direction. Whoa, a little more and it would have hit. The worst part is they were aiming to hit. The Grasshopper asks what her problem is. If she had been a little slower, she could have hurt those creatures. But Commander says that won't happen. She never misses a target. She says Fenkeek remains confident as always, and it's been a long time since they last saw each other. But Kiki doesn't pay much attention and asks what the heck she's doing there. The Grasshopper asks her not to be so fierce. She's no monster. She's only there because she's following her king's order. But then suddenly the woman disappears. Our MC realizes she really is very fast. The Grasshopper says that according to intelligence, the main dragon army has split into 2 forces. The problem is they don't know in which one the general is. Part of the army is coming towards them, and her king was worried she wouldn't be enough to handle the attack. So he ended up sending her there. If they surrender like this, they can spend some time together. The girl continues to provoke Kiki. She just says she'll spend a few days there. She doesn't need to be so petty. But Kiki says she knows very well what she's doing, so she better leave the camp now. The princess arrives, tells Kiki to stop, or she'll tell the queen mother. She says okay, she understood, but whatever happens from now on, she will no longer be responsible. The princess apologizes, but the Grasshopper says it's okay, they were just kidding. Apparently Vivi has a big problem. The Grasshopper found her very cute too. Apparently, she won't be able to escape the Grasshopper's clutches. But that's when our MC calls for her. He says there's a camp nearby, and if she wants, she can stay there. The Grasshopper approaches, saying that's great, and thanks him. Our MC introduces himself, saying his name is Xiafeng, the King of Insects, but King of Insects of the Yellow tribe, but if she wants, she can also just call him Xiafeng, and it's all good. But our MC is inviting her for a totally different reason. He doesn't want to be nice. He wants another guard. That way Billy won't be able to bother him, saying he can't go too deep. She says our MC is very small. Being an insect king, she imagined he would be much bigger. But our MC replies he became an insect king by accident. Our MC thinks what he wants most now is to trap her there with him. Next he calls for Yu. Xiaofeng says the Grasshopper will live with them for a while, so please, she should take care of the girl. And Yu asks if she needs anything at that moment. She tries to think of something. And thinks of something, but this time she's not going to hold back. She picks Yu up and says goodbye to our MC. I can already imagine what will happen. Poor little Yu. But someone has to sacrifice, right? The scene changes to our MC in Wei, and she still remains suspicious, asking if it could be him. But our MC is much more worried about the cards. She says she lost again, but this time she won't play anymore. She would never be able to beat Xiafeng, the King of Insects. Our MC thinks he really is unbeatable. But that's when he realizes what she said. He says that's not possible, him, the King of Insects. But she thinks it really is him. His expression gave him away. She tells him to give up. She knows he's the King of Insects, but says this is incredible. He can transform into a wasp king. Our MC asks her if she also has a clone in this world, but she says she won't tell. She has a body, but it's a secret. Realizing he's freaking out, she's always by his side, and the name is very similar. Could she be Vivi? For him, this is impossible. She finds all this very funny, but really, their personalities are very different. The story takes us to the assembled dragon army. Xiafeng observes from afar. He comments that there are about 50 to 60,000 soldiers there. Grasshopper comments that at least the dragon general isn't there. She explains that even though they left at the same time as the Grasshopper King, his army is longer, so it took longer to arrive. If they get rid of the dragons in 3 days, they'll still be able to fight the general. From afar, our MC sees an intermediary arriving. Arriving there, she goes directly to the insects and our MC. She says the fight will take place at noon. Believe it or not, her audacity increases. She tells everyone to enjoy the remaining time. Digging scoffs, she imagined 4 star dragons would be stronger. Another commander says he's ready for combat. That's when Kiki says she won't be left behind. She's gonna combat too. And we can't forget this little guy. Remember, this one has already buried many dragons. Many indeed. The general says he and his men have to be the front. They have the most armor, so he has to advance first. Our MC realizes none of the generals want to yield. They all want to be the first to advance. But he definitely won't participate in this dispute. But that's when they say the Insect King will make the decision. Yeah, folks, apparently it's gonna fall on our MC. He even thinks, could there be another insect they're talking about? Is it really him? But unfortunately, it's definitely him. Kiki says it has to be him, after all, he's a king. The grasshopper finds it interesting and agrees with this. Whoever says it's time, let Shofeng decide. But a commander disagrees and just thinks the women are crazy. They want our MC to organize the formation. The other commander also doesn't agree that our MC should do this. But the women ask if he's saying he despises them. And he says no, clearly he didn't mean that. He reflects that women have always had disagreements, never stood by each other, but now they want to be united. What's happening, man? But okay, if there's no solution, they'll listen to our MC's plan. If they follow that formation, everyone will be able to fight at the same time, regardless of order, so there's no argument. Kim questions why is her army at the end of the line. But our MC says her army has greater long-range power, so he prefers this army to stay in the rear, so they can shoot more enemies with ease. She says okay, believe it or not, this makes some sense. The big guy pats our MC's back, saying he did a good job. He also apologizes, apparently he underestimated our MC. He will definitely be a great warrior in the future. Our MC, poor guy, is almost dying there from the big guy's pats. It seems he didn't realize the boy is small and weak. The scene changes to the enemy army. The leader notices it's noon. Finally, the combat will begin. He asks his army if they're ready for the banquet. And since the army confirmed, he orders everyone to advance. So, the dragons advance to attack. The wasps aren't far behind, they're also ready for combat. The beetles follow by land. The battle is about to begin. The chaos is still going wild on the battlefield. This time, the long-range troops have already started firing, taking out dragons that haven't even reached the front lines. Over in the thick of it, the giant beetles are holding the line, tanking everything. They absorb the attacks while the other troops do a general cleanup. The hammerhead dragon even admits the insects are pretty efficient. However, he knows the battle will be decided by the strongest among them. Just then, the 7 5-star dragon generals storm the battlefield. The scumbags show up immediately looking for the insect commanders. Speaking of which, they're already on the front lines, but there are only 4 of them. This just got real ugly. The math doesn't add up 7 against 4. Biella white aunts them, saying they're all just 5-star dragons, but the other general warns her that if she's getting cold feet, she can just run to the back. The flying beetle asks how they're going to split the enemies since there are 7 of them. The red beetle keeps it simple, they'll take on all 7 at once, and whoever takes out the most wins. From a distance, Yang Xiaofeng is watching the whole situation, thinking things might get more complicated with 7 generals showing up. Zipping up right next to him, the Mantis general tells him not to worry, because the 4 of them can handle it. He says okay, but wonders why she's getting so close. Well, the generals are more than ready for a fight. Man, this red beetle is no joke. They say years ago, he got tired of rolling, well you know, and started rolling this bad boy around instead. If this thing lands on your foot, it's gonna hurt, but if it hits your head, it's a fatality, game over. Kicking off the party, the archer general is the first to make a move. She fires off several arrows at once, almost nailing all the generals, though a few manage to dodge at the last second. Big Red doesn't fall behind and attacks right after. He tells the enemy generals to try and handle this boulder. Too bad he doesn't directly hit anyone. But on the bright side, he completely obliterates the ground around them. BLLY attacks too, materializing right behind an enemy. Except she used her ability to get, like, 50 times bigger. The enemy general even comments that she's almost the size of the Dragon King. Another general, who looks like a parrot, says that's a bunch of nonsense. That whole thing is just for show, she's all size and nothing else. Activating his own power. He says he's just gonna stand there and tank her attack, no problem. Now with his power maxed out, he tells her to bring everything she's got. At first, he actually managed to hold his ground. He was handling the pressure just fine, but he just couldn't hold on for very long. See? If he had just moved out of the way, he'd still be in one piece. He was stubborn, tried to block the attack, and look at that, he went bye-bye. Seeing all this, the Mantis general says she's not going to be left behind. Here on the battlefield, there's no shortage of fallen bodies. So, she begins to activate her special ability, injecting her bar into the downed creatures. She manages to turn them all into zombies. Basically, the enemy troops are now hers, and they are more than ready for combat. Seeing that the situation is looking pretty grim, 2 generals ask an ally if his ability is ready yet. Confirming that it is, he starts to activate it. Apparently, this ability is an area of effect attack. I mean, not an attack, but an area of effect isolation field. Now, the 6 remaining generals have the upper hand besides the ability buff. The other insect generals are trapped with no way out. The serpent dragon is the first to strike, activating its fear ability to try and paralyze all the insect generals. The dinosaur dragon launches its plasma attack. The pygmy dragon launches its fire attack. The pitbull dragon attacks with his giant teardrop. Yeah, I called him a pitbull. What are you gonna do? But tell me he doesn't look like one. Anyway, the buffalo dragon attacks with his swarm of clones. BLOY is the first to get hit and is pierced straight through the chest. The troops that Feng Li took control of also start to fall. The ones that weren't taken out by the ranged attack are being knocked down by the bull. BLLY warns her comrade that because of this, her position is now exposed. Unfortunately, they messed up their strategy. The archer says it's no problem, they can go all out, and she'll provide support from the rear. The red beetle, who's no longer a dung roller, says that's exactly right, they need to push forward and clear the front. Noticing that some of his troops are still standing, Bingley orders them all to advance. The weirdest part is that he used his ability not just on enemies, but also on allies who had already fallen. This guy really spares no one. The Cobra Dragon doesn't get what's happening, questioning why they aren't frozen with fear. His ability was supposed to leave everyone paralyzed. BLOY gets ticked off hearing this, like, afraid of you dragons. They left that whole feeling fear thing behind a long time ago. The archer adds that's exactly right, the only thing left is hatred. She also lost an important comrade to these scumbags. For Feng Li, the story wasn't much different. There was a battle where he lost his entire army. As for our boy, the Red Beetle, he had to bury all his comrades by himself. With that said, attacking all together, they finally managed to break through the barrier. Tell me, how could you feel anything other than pure hatred? Yang Xiaofeng, watching from afar, agrees that his generals are truly strong. From a distance, a new dragon appears, clapping his hands. He says he didn't expect to find such strong opponents among the insects, admitting they managed to surprise him. The archer asks if he's the high commander of those beasts. Introducing himself, the Earth Dragon confirms it, saying he's the great son of General so-and-so. He asks if those troops are after the great general, stating that he doesn't plan to drag out the fight and has a proposal. An ugly pink creature tells the dragons to get out of the way, but with zero kindness for its allies move it. You useless bugs, can't you see they want to get through? The Earth Dragon continues, saying his father's nest is beyond the mountains. If they go there now, they'll be able to catch his army. As for them, they'll just stay put, because all they want is peace and to leave. Of course, the commanders don't believe a word of it. The archer even tells the dragon to get on his knees, and maybe she'll consider it. But the red beetle cuts her off immediately, saying no way. It's much easier for them to just steamroll everyone. No negotiations, to avoid any risk of betrayal. The Earth Dragon just laughs at the situation, commenting that he was just trying to be a nice guy. Until now, they've only fought against useless minions. He originally intended to spare everyone's lives, but he didn't imagine they'd be so stupid. But that's fine, if it's an end they're looking for, it's an end they'll get. The red beetle tells him to stop showing off and being so arrogant. If he's all that tough, then he should try and catch this little ball. The Earth Dragon can only laugh at this, seeing the beetle as just a brute. With incredible ease, he manages to stop the steel ball. But it would have been nice if that's all he did, right? The jerk didn't just stop the ball, he also managed to throw it right back. Let's just say this caught the red beetle a little bit by surprise. Unable to dodge his own weapon, he takes a direct hit. Luckily, the beetle is pretty tough till he gets hit, but it doesn't do much damage. BLLY asks if he's okay, and he says yeah, but that guy over there is probably a tough nut to crack. The Earth Dragon tells them to stop messing around, it's better if they all come at once so he can show them the difference between superior and inferior creatures. Charging forward, BLLY says he's all alone, so everyone just needs to give it their all. The red beetle agrees, saying it doesn't matter how strong he is, there's a limit to how much he can take. Too bad they didn't realize this was exactly what the Earth Dragon wanted. As soon as all the troops get close to him, he uses his wave force field ability. With that, he simply sends everyone flying. Even for the 4 great generals, it's tough to resist that ability. The Earth Dragon laughs at it all because in the end, the great generals can't even scratch him. Summoning his fallen generals, he says it's time for a second round. BLLY doesn't get it. What do you mean? Those jerks are still standing. The archer replies that it's no problem if they got up. They just have to knock them down again. From a distance, our MC asks who that guy blocking the general's attacks is. The mantis explains that he's a superior great dragon, even stronger than the others. Our boy didn't quite get it, so the mantis explains that the so-called dragon generals are just partners of the dragon queen, a way she found to maintain a stronger bloodline. But the superior grade dragon beasts are direct descendants of that bloodline. In the end, she asks if he's scared, and he says no, just a little surprised. Hearing this, she tells Yang Xiaofeng that if the situation gets worse, he should run from there as fast as he can. After that, the crazy girl activates her ability and simply vanishes. Yang Xiaofeng reflects that the opponent is no ordinary enemy and decides he's not going to just stand around waiting for something to happen. As soon as he gets to the camp, he runs into the armored dragon praying, saying that he's completely done for. But that pressure he felt before, there's no doubt. It can only be from a descendant of the Dragon Queen. If that guy even dreams that the armored dragon is siding with the insects, he's a goner on the spot. Hearing this, the MC shows up and says that if he wants to leave now, he can go. Surprised, the dragon asks if he can really leave. Our hero confirms it and even frees him from his shackles. There, now he's free. He says that since they've known each other for a long time, the armored dragon surely has some information that dragons would like to know, so he can go and tell them if he wants. The dragon wonders if he misjudged the MC this whole time. But hey, he's not gonna be the one to stick around and find out if the kid set him free. He's free. Waiwei suddenly appears, asking if he's really going to let the dragon go just like that. Without worrying, he'll tell the enemies everything. Our hero replies that if it can divert the dragon's attention a bit and ease the pressure on the battlefield for the commanders, it'll be perfect. Waiwei asks if he's planning to use him as bait, and he confirms it. The girl says she gets it then. Our MC is immediately suspicious. Is she really Princess Waiwei? Her human version was never this understanding. He thinks it can't be her. No way. Well, Waiwei says she wants to help too, and he agrees. He asks her to wait a moment while he makes some preparations. Waiwei agrees but warns him that she'll be the one piloting the mecha armor. Man, the MC stops in his tracks. Like, what do you mean? Waiwei argues that in the simulation training, she was the best, so it's only fair that she pilots it. He asks if she's really Princess Waiwei. Smiling, she confirms that it's her. With not much he can do, our hero can only feel down. After all, he assembled it, designed it, and sweated to build the armor, and in the end, he won't even get to pilot it. Back on the battlefield, the Earth Dragon says that BLLY's strength is incredible and it would be a waste for her to bite the dust there, so he offers her a chance to live. He says the universe is much vaster than she imagines, and what she's seen so far isn't even a fraction of it. If she joins his ranks, he will show her the universe as it truly is, giant and magnificent. But if she doesn't want to, she can fall right there, the choice is hers. Suddenly, one of the generals behind him is hit by a mysterious power, and the pygmy dragon is about to be devoured by another one. The Earth Dragon tries to figure out if this is the ability of that sneaky mantis, the so-called necromancer. In the end, he concludes that his generals are a bunch of trash. Yeah, I also thought they had gotten up on their own, not because they were possessed. Since he's a superior great dragon, he easily eliminates the zombie cobra. After that, he turns to the zombie dinosaur dragon. Freeing his two generals who are still alive, he tells them to stay back, out of the way. Our buddy Feng Li gets a little annoyed by this unfortunately. His sneak attacks didn't work. BLLY tells the Earth Dragon to shove his proposal in the deepest, darkest place in his body, if you catch my drift. The dragon says that's fine, at least he tried, but they're all a bunch of ungrateful wretches. Before the blow gets close, he manages to dodge it, immediately launching a counterattack. He goes straight for Feng Li, who is isolated. However, our mantis general appears just in time. By a hair's breadth, her comrade was about to be sent packing. The mantis says that, aside from the wave power, the dragon is totally useless. After saying that, she slams him into the ground with one blow. To top it off, she even taunts the other generals, calling them useless for not even being able to hurt that punching bag and that maybe they should just retire. The archer replies that maybe it would be better to take her down instead of the dragon. BLLY agrees, while the mantis just thinks it's all starting again, because it seems like these ladies are always on a hair trigger. The red beetle says the enemy is powerful and that if possible, it's better for them to team up to defeat him. Feng Li says his wave ability is hard to deal with, so the best strategy is to fight in shifts to drain all his star power. The Earth Dragon gets up from the hole, calling everyone's comebacks. From a distance, watching the massive brawl, the female dragon Garuda thinks that the insects are really tough to handle. One of her subordinates approaches, saying they've captured a 3-star dragon who claims to have escaped from the insects. This makes Garuda a little curious. Now face to face with the commander, the armored dragon bows. Garuda asks if he was really taken prisoner by insignificant insects. Being a first-class liar, he says no, that he was actually undercover gathering information. Leaving the dragon aside, in the next scene, we see Waiwei waking up in her human body. The girl doesn't quite understand why Yang Xiaofeng asked her to switch bodies. Speaking of him, the madman appears out of nowhere in his giant wasp form. Clearly, the girl gets a fright, as she didn't expect to see him there in that body. She even smacks him with a pillow. Our hero tries to explain that it's an ability he gained when he became the Insect King, a kind of place-swapping skill. He says he'll explain the details later because right now it's time to deal with the current crisis. A little embarrassed by her scare, the girl says okay. She asks what he wants to do next. Our hero remembers she said she was going to pilot the mecha, and if she's really going to do that, he has a plan. He explains that the Dragon King's full recovery is approaching, so that place is no longer safe. However, he plans to get the Dragon King's body out of there before that happens, so the beast's flesh can be distributed to strengthen everyone. Waiwei asks if he's really thinking of devouring the Dragon King's body. Starting to shout, she asks if he's gone crazy, and what if the king wakes up? Our hero says it's fine because he's done it before, several times. He comments that the Dragon King's flesh is not only incredibly delicious, but also helps you get stronger, and it makes your skin radiant. Waiwei was thinking about not giving in to temptation, but she reflects that eliminating the Dragon King would be excellent for the Galactic Empire and, as a princess, it's her duty to make sacrifices for it. Sometime later, back in his hut with the body, RMC thinks it's not bad at all, as there's way more meat than last time. Just then, an oar suddenly begins to emerge behind him. The spirit of the Dragon King asks who injured his body, promising to tear the person to pieces. Our hero just stands there listening, but he doesn't see anyone and even wonders if he's hallucinated. Well, he doesn't have much time to waste, so it's better to get this over with. With that said, off he goes to chop up the entire Dragon King. After a while, we see Xiaomo arriving at the MC's tent, flying in a great hurry. Once inside the tent, he comes in shouting that there's a huge problem. However, he's not the only one with a problem. Our little MC is also having trouble cutting that head. Our hero asks what's wrong, and Xiaomo replies that a massive group of dragon beasts is heading their way. But, looking at the MC's body, the little guy wonders why he's covered in so much blood. Xiaomo tells him not to worry about that right now. First, it's better for him to gather everyone and prepare for the approaching enemy. Looking at that head, the MC says okay, he can't waste any more time there, and there wouldn't be that much meat anyway. It's time to throw the piece of junk away, placing the head on the ground. Our hero gives it a kick like it's a soccer ball. Of course, this is very convenient for him, because in the end, no one will know that was the Dragon King's flesh, since they don't even have the head anymore. In the next scene, the MC's camp has already been invaded. The armored dragon points out that this is the place he was talking about. The pipple dragon finds it strange as the tents are empty. Where are the insects? Garuda also questions where the insect king is, since the armored dragon said he would be there. The little dragon replies that, well, they probably ran away. Garuda does not like hearing that one bitten asks if he's messing with her. But actually, our little MC didn't run, he's right there in the nearest mountain. Thinking that the armored dragon really didn't disappoint him, and did everything he wanted. He notices that the 5-star dragons who were fighting the commanders also showed up. This is unexpected, but it's not bad news. Since they're here, they might as well get a warm welcome. Young Xiaofeng gives the order for all his wasps to fire. From there on out, everyone gets a birthday candle to blow out. Garuda panics immediately, yelling that it was all an ambush and that the group of insects was lying in wait on the hill. The probability of survival in this attack was definitely very low. Those who weren't taken out directly were probably finished off by the toxic smoke. Yang Xiaofeng announces that it's time for the second army to join the battle. It's trying to cut off the escape routes for the runaways and, if possible, trap everyone in a net. Huh? In the next scene, we see our MC tied up. Wai Wei arrives with her mecha and asks what happened. Why on earth is he tied to a tree? After understanding the situation, the girl rolled eyes laughing. The MC made the entire attack plan, and in the end, he was tied up by his own subordinates to keep him from going to the battlefield. After sorting out his situation, he asks Wai Wei what she thinks of the mecha armor. The girl replies that, so far, she hasn't found it difficult at all. The only annoying thing is that she's in a powerful 4-star armor and hasn't even gotten to use it yet. Leaving those two aside, we see the enemy commanders retreating. However, as soon as they spot something, they stop in their tracks. Their escape route has been cut off by a gigantic army. The Red Beetle apologizes but informs them that, unfortunately, their escape route has been cut off. Back to the MC and the princess, Wai Wei is praising the boy, saying it's incredible that he managed to build that armor just from scrap metal. But she remembers there was a lot of scrap metal there, so why didn't he just build a 5 or 6-star armor? Well, the boy says it's not that easy. He explains that all 5-star and above mecha armors are custom-made and specialized. Forcing that type of armor onto an inferior frame ends up putting the pilot's life at risk and makes it impossible to pilot. Approaching the battlefield, the boy realizes that, unfortunately, the fight has already started. Our dear general is facing off against the pygmy dragon. She's using her spear strike ability, but the enemy's healing capacity is much greater. To try and end the situation, she activates her giant spear, and even manages to land a really hard smack on the scumbag's head. But as cool as the image looked, in reality, the attack wasn't effective at all. It literally had no effect. To make matters worse, now the pygmy is preparing a counterattack. He activates his reflector cannon and finishes off Feng Li. As for Big Red's fight, we see him trying to attack. His opponent is that darn pitbull. Even though Big Red has enough strength, he doesn't have the speed to hit the enemy. But the enemy has more than enough speed and damage to hit him. The dog, at an absurd speed, starts attacking from several different points. With that, unfortunately, Big Red is also defeated. Our dear Mantis Flower calls out for her master, clearly worried. But she'd better worry about her own enemy. As she's a 4-star warrior, she can handle the attacks pretty well. She not only dodges but also defends. The problem is that Garuda comes in for a direct attack, and lands right on top of her while she was defending against the other attacks. And so, our Mantis girl kind of couldn't handle it and was defeated too. The little dog even says that he really couldn't do much against the insect generals, but it's kind of funny that mere level 4 or 3 soldiers thought they had a chance. Garuda says that really, only the Insect King was missing, while the little mosquito and the Red Beetle are back there, scared to death. But they didn't need to be so scared because reinforcements finally arrived. Wai Wei has all 3 generals in her sights. She starts firing an absurd amount of shots at the 3 of them. After a while and a bit roughed up, the dog looks up to try and understand where that attack came from. Oh, my friend, you better not even look up and just start running. In the next scene, we see the armored dragon waking up. He doesn't quite understand what happened or why he's still alive, because he should have been a goner in that attack. Yu appears and says he's finally awake, but the armored dragon asks why she's there. Yu explains that the soldiers on patrol found him collapsed, abandoned, and wounded. The The dragon says he understands but asks why she saved him, since he's still a dragon beast. He replies that the insect king trusts him, so they trust him too. As she leaves, she says his wound has just been treated and it would be best if he didn't go wandering around. Momo, who's right behind her, warns that he'll be keeping an eye on the rascal and that if he screws up, he won't live to tell the tale. The dragon's no fool, right? As soon as they left, he left too. If they find out he betrayed the insects, he's finished, so he needs to get out of there as fast as possible. The problem is, where is he going to go? He's already considered a traitor by the dragon beast, so where else can he go but stay? The female soldiers nearby start talking about the dragon. After all, he's still a dragon beast, and they're in the middle of a war against the dragons themselves, so it's normal for them to hold a bit of a grudge. He's lucky he has the MC's protection, because otherwise, they warn that they would have already turned him into jerky. After walking a bit more, the armored dragon comments that he finally found it. That right there is the collar young Xiaofeng made for him. The dragon never thought there would be a day he'd be so happy to wear that contraption, but let's just say this collar is like a life insurance policy. Looking to the side, he sees a soldier wasp shouting, telling everyone there's a huge problem. A message just arrived from the front. Captain Fang Li and her team have been defeated by the dragons. And now, what? What should they do? Help her stay at the base. The armored dragon reflects that this is all his fault, as he was the one who led the dragons there. With that said, the madman dashes off. It's just hard to understand why he's doing this. The rascal says he'll do his best to make up for his mistake and even asks the MC to wait for him, because help is on the way. Back on the battlefield, the pygmy dragon is shooting everywhere, desperate to it way. But what he doesn't see is that, right behind him, magic is surrounding Feng Li. We see it was the MC, using his substitution magic. Watching the battle unfold, Garuda comments that she never imagined there was such a powerful figure among the insects. She thinks her strength is at least at the 5-star level. While Garuda is commenting, our little MC is in the back trying to rescue the mantis, of course, without her noticing. Everything was going well, until the dummy steps on a branch. Garuda looks over immediately, and our hero is like, "I'm not here." She asks if he's the so-called insect king. Sweating bullets? The boy says no, definitely not, no way. Flying away super fast, he says they'll talk later because he's busy right now and has to go. But from up high, Waiwei notices the MC is being chased. She was even rushing to try and help, but that darn dog asks where she's going. The princess says this dog is a clingy pest, but if he wants to meet his end, that's fine. She stops to face the dragon, but the jerk immediately activates his ability. However, the princess is very good at what she does and manages to stop the attack with just her foot. She literally steps into the dog's ability and attacks with hers, or directly in his mouth. Since the sword is very long, it manages to go through the dog's head. As if the first one wasn't enough, she stabs him with the second one, finishing tearing the little dog apart. She says she's leaving because she's in a hurry. Waiwei rushes to rescue the MC, but she doesn't see the incoming attack. Since she didn't see it, the jerk's attack ended up hitting the girl, even causing a forced landing. You can see the damage to the armor was pretty significant. Inside, the mech's computer goes into alert mode, warning that damage has been detected in the thruster and the fusion power line has been compromised. For the mecha to function with this damage, the computer activates the backup power, but the remaining operation time will be only 30 minutes. Knowing she only has 30 minutes, Waiwei gets mad as hell, saying that the pygmy has signed his own death warrant. But he just replies, "Bring it on, my friend, bring it on." While those two are about to start their fight, our MC is still being chased. The boy has already figured out that no matter how fast he runs, he can't shake the darn girl. Garuda even tells him not to run and asks why he doesn't want to play with his big sis. Slowing down a bit, the MC realizes his stamina is almost gone and he's definitely going to get caught. Just then, looking down, he sees the red beetle and the little mosquito running from a pig dragon. The beetle says he'll stay behind to hold off the creature while the little mosquito runs. Young Xiaofeng wanted to help, but the situation on his end isn't looking too good. But actually, he can take advantage of her getting closer. The boy starts to perform the spatial substitution directly with the pig dragon. In the blink of an eye, he swaps places and is now safe. The one who's not safe is the pig dragon, who doesn't even know what happened. In fact, he's probably thinking, dude, that was a dirty move, wasn't it? What was even dirtier was Garuda's move. The poor thing didn't even have a chance to dodge. She just collided with the pig dragon and went down. When the two hit the ground, the explosion was gigantic. The little pig was knocked out instantly, and if he, who fell from that height, is in this state, imagine Garuda who's underneath him. Our little MC reflects that this time was a close call. The little mosquito congratulates the boy, saying he managed to take down 2 dragons at once, something truly worthy of a king. He's not too happy about it, because if everyone had listened to him from the start, no one would be in danger. But that's okay, he's not there to fight with anyone. It's time to move on and face the rest of the generals. He asks the little mosquito to take good care of the mantis while he's on his way. Meanwhile, back on the battlefield, Waiwei continues to beat up on the pygmy. She smashed the dragon on the head with her sword. Then, she throws him far away. As if that wasn't enough, she fires several beams in his direction. Since the poor guy can't react, he just takes all the damage. But you know how it is, right? No matter how big the explosion, the sucker is tough. See, Waiwei even comments that the guy is pretty resilient. Not to mention the absurd regeneration. Looking through the mecha, she sees that he's still alive, a bit dazed, but still alive. This is starting to make her angry. She doesn't understand when this is going to end. But to put a stop to it, she says she's going to cut him in half. The poor dragon just ducks waiting for the hit. But, funny thing, the hit is taking a while to come. Actually, shouldn't it have come already? Oh, man. He opens his eye and realizes the mecha has just stopped. Inside, the computer warns that the power has been completely drained. The mecha will enter sleep mode, and since the pilot is in danger, it will enter emergency evacuation mode. Too bad that, in reality, she won't be able to eject. The pygmy is taking the opportunity to tear the mecha to shreds. One arm, he's already managed to rip off. Seeing that he's going to destroy even more, the little beast is overjoyed. Look at the face on that jerk. Inside, Waiwei just curls up, knowing there's no escape. The only thing she can do is call out for Yang Xiaofeng. The boy is coming from a distance, but he's rushing. He even activated his acceleration mode. To launch another attack, the pygmy starts concentrating his plasma ball. Our hero is running, but he realizes he's not going to make it in time. Whoa, hold on. But that's when the ground behind the pygmy starts to give way. Out of the hole comes the armored dragon, and he comes in with a flying kick right at the pygmy. He barely missed hitting Waiwei, but on the other hand, the surrounding scenery is completely destroyed. After the blast, the armored dragon grabs the pygmy, swings him around a few times, and throws him far, far away. After that, he runs to the armor to see if Yang Xiaofeng is okay. So that explains why he was helping so much. He's convinced the MC is inside the armor. Our hero, seeing this, says he's fine and that he can let go of the armor now. The dragon is totally confused. What does he mean he's not inside the armor? Then who is? Seeing that the MC isn't there, he drops the armor on the ground and says thank goodness the MC is okay. Too bad it won't be for long, because the pygmy dragon has already gotten up, saying that it seems the armored dragon really is a traitor. The dragon replies no, that in fact, they were the ones who forced him with numerous injustices. Now, it's not his fault for being disloyal. From now on, he will only serve those who treat him well, like the master up there. Besides, from now on, he's an enemy of all dragon beasts. The pygmy dragon is confused by the situation and even asks the MC what magic potion he gave the armored dragon. Our hero says he didn't give him anything, that even he doesn't understand what's going on. Waiwei gets out of the mecha shouting Yang Xiaofeng, saying that this dragon beast has an absurd defense and very strong regeneration. She tells him she tried to beat him in various ways, hitting him in several spots, but in the end, she didn't stand a chance. How little MC from above says he gets it. However, she should get back in the armor now, because it's too dangerous outside. He asks her to let him handle everything. The boy reflects that the opponent is a 5-star dragon, and even though he's worn out, he and the armored dragon, who are 3 stars, don't stand a chance, at least not in a comparison of strength. But if necessary, the armored dragon will have to be sacrificed. But that's when the armored dragon jumps towards him, warning him to be careful. Our hero got distracted for a second and didn't see the attack coming. Luckily, the armored dragon ran to push him out of the way. He barely avoided taking the direct hit. The armored dragon doesn't let it slide and goes after the pygmy. The two face off in a very intense clash. Actually, the pygmy comments that he's getting full of himself, because in the end, he's just a mere 3-star dragon. Our little MC is there on the ground, thinking he was saved. Therefore, he can't be ungrateful. If the armored dragon risked his life for him, then he'll risk his life for the armored dragon too. Yang Xiaofeng yells to the armored dragon, telling him to grab the armor and run to a safe place in a bit. The dragon apologizes but says that unfortunately, he can't even move, as the 2-star difference is starting to become apparent. Our hero says he doesn't need to worry, because he'll take care of it, activating his Jigodification ability. Right after, he releases the armored dragon's collar, and uses his substitution ability. With just one hand, he manages to hold back the pygmy, who can't understand how the MC can be so strong. Even though he's only using one palm, he should be much stronger. The boy says a 5-star dragon doesn't seem like a big deal, but the dragon reflects that even if strength isn't his strong suit, he shouldn't be overpowered by a 3-star insect. Grabbing the collar, our little MC says his friend won't be needing this anymore, so he fits it onto the pygmy. The pygmy gets furious about this and starts to activate his power, but the MC punches him in the mouth and tells him to shut up. Looking back, he asks the armored dragon if he's ready yet, but, running desperately, the armored dragon asks him to wait just a little longer. He sees the tunnel he had dug before, and it's definitely very safe there, so he throws the mecha in there, and then jumps in himself. Seeing that they're both safe, the MC activates his extreme speed, and gets the heck out of there. The pygmy doesn't quite get it and even thinks the MC is a coward for slapping him in the face and running. But what about that thing on his neck? What is that? Our little MC says he'll find out soon enough and even gives the pygmy a little wave. After that, the collar explodes. Man, and talk about a massive explosion. to check out the explosion. The armored dragon even digs his way over there. As soon as he gets out of the hole, he sees the pygmy skull and comments that, thank goodness, the collar wasn't on his head. Yang Xiaofeng says the armored dragon was a great help. If it weren't for him, he definitely wouldn't have won, or would have won with losses. The little armored dragon says it's an honor to serve the great insect king. Yang Xiaofeng, seeing that he has won the armored dragon's loyalty, comments that it seems he can use the dragon's abilities, as long as he has a high level of loyalty. With that, our little MC gained another ability. In the next scene, we go back to that pig dragon that had fallen on top of Garuda. The witch emerges from inside the pig. Yeah, I figured she would have survived after all. She's a 4 or 5 star, so the chance of survival was high. She comes out of the pig looking for Yang Xiaofeng, but when she looks ahead, she sees the crater caused by the MC. Right away, she realizes that power is about 5 stars. Actually no, 6 or more. Unfortunately for her, the boy is still full of tricks, but a good dragon always knows when to retreat. But of course, she'll remember this and, sooner or later, she will have her revenge. Meanwhile, on the other battlefield, the Earth Dragon is furious with the attacks from our allies. Since they're always attacking, retreating, and taking turns, the dragon is already very worn out, but he has one last resort his true form. Summoning this form, we see that even his horn is grown. That's what this war business gets you. You go out to fight and get cheated on at home. If he was a cuckold before, now he's. His leg, which was a normal size before, has now quadrupled in size. Let's just say he turned into a body-ballad humanoid. From a distance, Feng Li tells him not to get so cocky, because his star power is still low, so he doesn't need to be so arrogant. The Earth Dragon says it's not arrogance, he's simply showing the truth, the great power he inherited from his father, the great general. With ease, he grabs the 2 zombie generals, saying that since they're no longer alive, they won't be mismatched either. Feng Li is shocked that his puppets were destroyed, and the worst part is that both were 5 stars. Our mantis woman comes from above, saying he looks ugly in this form. Incredibly, she manages to land a cut on the Earth Dragon's back, but it didn't even leave a scratch, and he immediately starts his counterattack. In the end, he manages to land a punch on her, sending the girl spinning and landing far away. Furious about this, the red beetle rips out a gigantic chunk of earth. He tells all the allies to get out of the way, and throws a piece of land, activating his 1,000,000-ton throw ability. The Earth Dragon knows he's all brute force and no agility. There's no way he can escape that boulder. But since he's also brute force, that's no problem. He shatters the boulder with his fists. What he didn't expect was that the Archer General would be inside the boulder. She comes out with a perfect aim, locked onto the Earth Dragon. Using her abilities, she fires more than 1 arrow. Even though the Earth Dragon tries to defend himself, he ends up being hit by some of the projectiles. BLLY asks what's wrong. Didn't he say he was invincible? It sure doesn't look like it. She charges at the dragon with her spear. The spear almost gets him, but he manages to catch it. The problem is, the thing is gigantic and manages to drag him backward, dragging him to the point of knocking him down, and BLLY even tells him to go to hell. Well man, I didn't think she'd be able to penetrate, but she really ran him through with the spear. Luckily for the Earth Dragon, he still has a way out. He activates his Dragon's Breath ability, thus eliminating the general. I mean, he thought he eliminated her, right? She switched from her giant body to her original one. Now, she's coming in hot with her spear ability, but the Earth Dragon is messed up, but not out for the count. He stops the spear and shatters it in half, saying he might go to hell, but he's taking some of them with him for company. BLLY can't understand how this jerk still has so much star power. The wretch begins to condense all his energy. BLLY immediately realizes what it is and warns the red beetle to get as far away as possible. The Earth Dragon activates his shockwave ability, but this time with the power of self-destruction. With this, he causes a gigantic explosion. The funny thing is, the jerk is still alive. I thought he was sacrificing himself, but apparently, I was wrong. He asks the generals what they thought of his full power attack, but he said that not expecting an answer because to him, the generals were done for. But BLLY in the back says that, unfortunately, he's going to be disappointed. We see 3 of the 4 generals doing just fine. The Earth Dragon, now out of strength, just falls to the ground, disappointed that he couldn't take any of them with him. To make matters worse, his power begins to fade, and he shrinks back down to his small size. Garuda, who is flying high in the sky surveying the area, realizes her brother has been defeated. She immediately rushes to help. She grabs the Earth Dragon and simply flies away. Seeing all this, the archer says she's pretty bold, but unfortunately, she's not getting very far. The general fires her arrow towards Garuda, but unbelievably, the Earth Dragon still has a bit of strength left. He managed to summon his barrier and defend both himself and Garuda. Seeing that her brother is still alive, she asked if he's okay. He says yes, he's still alive and well, and that she doesn't need to worry. The only problem is that he's reached his limit. Garuda, crying, is furious for losing the battle and thinks there must be another way, but unfortunately, we know there isn't. The archer, watching the 2 leave from a distance, comments that the Earth Dragon's life force is truly surprising. BLLY says no, that the blow he took to the chest was completely fatal. Even if he has a surprising life force, in the end, it will be useless. But now they can declare victory. What's left is to clean up the lower level dragons. For anyone wondering where the 4th general was, there he is. Feng Li was under a pile of monsters. The explosion sent him flying. Funny how none of the other generals tried to help him. But back at our little MC's camp, the barbecue is in full swing, and they're making a toast to the greatest hero, the little armored dragon. Yang Xiaofeng says the armored dragon was essential to this victory. He was the one who led the enemy into the ambush, and without him, it wouldn't have been possible to save Princess Weiwei. It was thanks to his help that they managed to eliminate the 5-star dragon. The dragon says it was nothing. It was thanks to the chance Yang Xiaofeng gave him. Otherwise, nothing would have happened. Our hero says that's nonsense, that without him, the operation wouldn't have been so successful. Meanwhile, the commanders are there celebrating, but not so happily, right? In the end, all they did was get beat up. Seeing that little dog that was split in half being roasted, the armored dragon thinks that dragons also follow the law of the jungle, but with a rigid hierarchy, where low-star beasts can't eat the high-ranking ones. Calling him over, the MC says he's now going to share a piece of meat. This will be the armored dragon's reward, a gift to be more precise. The armored dragon immediately feels that fierce aura. That's definitely not just any meat. It can only be from a high-ranking one. Feng Li and Big Red instantly realize what kind of meat it is and even ask if the MC is really going to do this. But the boy says that everyone is family now and there's no reason to treat anyone differently. The armored dragon starts eating the meat, saying who cares? Anyway, he's not part of a dragon beast circle anymore. Today, he's going to taste the meat of the big shots. After swallowing, he realizes the meat doesn't even have a taste. Whoa, no, wait a minute. The dragon starts to feel sick, and Yang Xiaofeng even asks if he's okay. The dragon says he's uncomfortable. It feels like his body is going to explode. Whoa, and that's when the beautiful little wings appear. No, wait, I don't think that was very proportional. I think the problem wasn't the wings, but the fact that he grew enormously. Look at how big he is now compared to the MC. Actually, the wings match his body quite well. It wasn't disproportionate, it was just the angle. Plus, now our armored dragon is at level 4, for stars. Yang Xiaofeng isn't too happy about the situation, as he didn't expect the dragon to grow so much. Now, his size and power are probably greater than the MC's own subordinates. The little dragon, crying a lot, thanks the MC, and the boy says you're welcome. He says that in the end, he can just let it go. Now the dragon is also an ally, so that's a good thing. While the celebration is going on, Momo appears with his mosquito partner. He says he has news from the front. The enemy general has been technically eliminated, and the 50,000 dragon beasts have been completely wiped out. Everyone is happy with this news, and Feng Li even comments that this is a great victory, something that hasn't happened in the last 100 years. Xiaomo asks if this means they're going to march again, and if so, he'll go get ready. Our hero says no, that this time the journey ends here. None of his companions understand and ask why. He explains that everyone is injured and now they're without the mecha, so they can no longer counterattack 5-star dragon beasts. He says that, unfortunately, they are too weak now. On a battlefield like this, there are a small boat in the middle of a storm, and the risk of sinking is very high, so it's not worth it. The mosquito tries to say they trained a lot to get this far, and the mantis agrees, saying she wants to witness the great defeat of the dragon general. Feng Li says the MC is right, that a battlefield changes constantly, and that the insect generals will be able to protect them all the time. Big Red agrees with her, saying that advancing recklessly is very dangerous. Yang Xiaofeng then says it's decided they're not continuing. Coincidentally, the allied army is passing by at that very moment. The generals come down to meet the MC. The boy informs them he's not going to continue fighting, and the mantis immediately asks why. BLLY doesn't get it either. Didn't he say he wanted to go to the battlefield before? What happened now? Our hero says he realized the insufficiency of his own strength and that he and his allies need to get even stronger. Only then will they one day be able to retake the dragon territory on their own. The generals start to smile, saying the MC is quite arrogant, but an ambitious kind of arrogant. With the three of them flying, the beetle announces it's time to leave. BLLY says Okayan that they'll part ways here, hoping to see him again soon. The mantis grabs Yang Xiaofeng, saying she won't be able to live without him, but he says that actually, she should be leaving, right? She says that at least he should let her take them off. But Yu immediately starts shaking her head, saying no, she's staying with her brother and the king. The girl pleads with the MC not to send her with that crazy lady, but he reassures her, saying she's not going. The archer calls for the mantis to hurry up. She's dawdling too much, and they're both going to be left behind. Since there's no other way, the archer grabs her by the neck and starts dragging her away by force. Leaving our allies behind, we see Garuda crying for her brother. She begs him not to leave her alone, but I think he's already gone, right? While crying, she's also seething with anger, desperate for revenge. Whoa, that's when someone says she won't get it with words alone. The girl immediately gets up, trying to find who said that. Yikes man, it's the Dragon King's head. He calls out to the girl, saying he's right there. The king says that although he doesn't know why he appeared there, much less in that form, he's sure his meeting with Garuda was not by chance. Garuda is completely confused. What do you mean the head is talking? The Dragon King warns that if she wants revenge, he can help. The girl asks how. The king says he'll tell her, but first, could she maybe just pick him up real quick? Picking up the head and starting to shake it to get the water out, she asks what the plan is. Before speaking, the Dragon King tells her to stop and begins to exude his aura. Seeing such a dense aura, the girl gets a fright. She thinks that aura is terrifying and that he is definitely a much stronger dragon than her brother. Yeah, guys, she still hasn't realized that's the Dragon King. The head says that, as she can see, he is on the brink of his end and that to continue living, he will need that body. The girl asks if he's talking about her brother's body, and the king confirms it. If she gives him that body, he will help her with her revenge. Garuda no longer has any feelings for her brother's empty body, so she doesn't care, as long as it can help with her revenge. So, she says she agrees. Smiling, the Dragon King says then the deal is done. He comments that the body has the superior bloodline and is very strong, making it perfect for him to inhabit. The Dragon King activates his fusion ability, and then his plundering technique. With that, what was once the Earth Dragon begins to transform into the Dragon King's body. After a while, there he is, standing, saying he will help the girl as promised, but first he needs to recover and regain his strength. He tries to use his spatial tunnel technique, but unfortunately, it disperses. The Dragon King thinks that, as expected, his technique was stolen. He swears that no matter who the unlucky jerk who did this is, he will find them and seek revenge. Since he can't use the portal, he'll have to walk. Garuda follows behind, asking where he's going with her brother's body. During the battle the MC didn't participate in, the main insect army met the Dragon General's army. As soon as the two sides met, the battle began without hesitation. The two sides fought for 2 days, but there was still no winner. However, on the 3rd day, the Allied force finally arrived on the battlefield. The Red Beetle comments that the general is still there. BLOY says that it seems the battle isn't over yet and that they arrived just in time. BLOY announces she will lead the troops on the flank. That would be the one and only final battle, a certain victory, so to speak. One of the dragons comments that it seems an army of insects is attacking from the flank and that, to make matters worse, they seem to be the great generals. The poor enemy general has no idea where those reinforcements came from. After some time back at the king's meeting place, one of the queens is asking about the result of the final battle. Another king says that, thank goodness, it was a victory. That dragon general used his subordinates as a shield as soon as he saw the reinforcements arriving. He fled alone without even hesitating, not caring about his army at all. One of the kings says he's a scumbag. Another agrees, saying it's a shame, because if they had captured him, they could have used his flesh and blood to train several strong generals. RMC, on the other hand, is thinking that, thank goodness, the territory was reconquered, but that these kings are still greedy, wanting the general's flesh. The Mother Queen asks how the spoils of war will be distributed, announcing that all gains from the Yellow Wasp clan will be credited to young Xiaofeng. She says he is already a qualified king and cannot stay forever in that small, insect-controlled forest on the border. The boy, of course, immediately thanks his mother, and she says it was nothing, but that managing a territory is no easy task. The other queen says the same thing half of the black wasps' gains go to young Xiaofeng. Our hero asks why his aunt is doing this, giving him half of her gains. The queen tells him not to worry, because in the future, he will have to take care of Weiwei. He doesn't quite get it at first. What does he mean he'll have to take care of Weiwei? The other kings comment that, indeed, the MC has gained a lot of territory and will need many subjects. They decide to send him a large number of citizens they rescued from the dragons. Our hero thanks them very much, but says he can't accept. The generals say he doesn't need to be modest, that it's all fine and he deserves it. So, our little MC is over the moon. Now, this means that in the future, he will not only have millions of acres of land, but also millions of subjects. But there's a catch: the kings only did this because they offended the two queens last time and now need to please them. Going out to talk with his mother, the queen says she heard the MC played a very important role in the battle, but he says no, it was thanks to his citizens, all thanks to his little town. The queen is surprised. What does he mean he has a town? He replies that before they went to war, he managed to build a town in the forest that, although not very prosperous, has plenty of food and clothing. The mother says she wants to go take a look. He says okay, they can go there, as it's about a half-day's journey from there. Arriving at the MC's little town, we see the armored dragon building a bridge. Man, these people are very advanced. However, he is suddenly surrounded. The wasps tell him to prepare for battle, saying this will be his end. Our hero, down below, desperately asks them not to attack. The queen doesn't understand and asks why not, since that's a dragon beast. He says no, that he's actually one of his subordinates and is not dangerous. The queen says that dragon beasts are enemies of the insects and asks how he can have a dragon as a subordinate. He explains that at first, he was just planning to use him to get information and distract the enemy, but that he somehow won his loyalty. The queen says that's incredible, sensational, worthy of her son who managed to subdue a dragon. He's relieved his mother didn't make a fuss about it, otherwise it would have been goodbye for the little dragon. Walking through the town, the mother comments that he achieved this scale in just a few months, which is remarkable. She sees the citizens offering fruit, but he says no, they can eat it themselves now. Seeing this, the mother comments that he is well loved by his people. He says yes, but they are more excited about the appearance of the Mother Queen. Arriving at the MC's little house, we see Wei. She's there, ordering her things to be brought inside. The queen arrives, not quite understanding, but greets the girl and asks what she's doing there. Seeing the yellow queen, Wei bows. The one who didn't really like her presence there is the MC, who asks why his tools are outside. The girl says she needed space for her things. The mother gets all excited, asking if she's going to live with young Xiaofeng, saying that's great. She says yes, that she'll probably be a bother for a while and hopes the queen doesn't mind. I don't know about the queen, but the MC didn't really like the idea, since he wasn't even consulted. The mother immediately pulls him aside, telling her not to worry and giving the girl permission to stay, because he's still an immature child. As she says goodbye, the Mother Queen says she feels more at ease, seeing that the MC has many capable subordinates. She even asks them to please take good care of him in the future. Our hero is no fool, right? He knows this is definitely leading to marriage talk. It's not that he has a bad impression of Wei, but it's strange to think that Princess Wei is Princess Vivi with such different personalities. The queen says she just doesn't understand how he increased his strength so much and how his old subordinates evolved so much. She asks if he used a special method, and he says yes. She says she understands, but that he shouldn't let his guard down because if his force has a lot of power but little skill, it's the same as growing up without knowing how to walk. In other words, get to training your troops properly. He doesn't need to be sad, because he has good brute strength there. He just needs to refine it. Turning to the mantis, she asks if the two of them haven't met before at the queen's palace. Calling her Your Majesty, the mantis says yes. The mother notices that she was able to master her own power very quickly, as expected from the mantis clan. She says this clan was once one of the strongest tribes in the past and that, certainly, the girl will have a promising future. The mantis thanks her for the compliments. Finally, she says that they all serve under her son's command and that he is lucky to have them all to assist him. Now that the boy has his own country, she hopes everyone there will help him maintain peace and defend his people. With that, the queen leaves, leaving the MC and the princess behind. Yang Xiaofeng may look happy, but he's definitely not. He got his mother's message, not just him, but his subordinates need to get stronger if he really wants to maintain peace in a gigantic nation. Now in her human body, Wei asks the MC if he would now say that they are together. Together, he asks if they aren't always together. The princess confirms, saying they met twice on the same unknown planet and that, let's say, the two of them have a shared destiny. Our hero says destiny or not, he doesn't know. But one thing is for sure, if they don't get out of there as fast as possible, both of their bodies will end up in a dragon's belly. Suddenly, he shows off his new gigantic mecha that he made, telling the princess it's ready and she can get in to check it out. The kid simply made a 6-star mecha for the princess, nicknamed the Twilight Princess. Yeah? You can understand why because of the color, right? Looking at the mecha's data, the MC sees that everything is correct and all operational data is stable. He finally did it, and thank goodness just in time. The princess says there are tens of thousands of dragon beasts out there, and asks how they are going to get out. She asks if these 2 mecha armors will be enough. Our hero tells her to relax because everything is fine and he's already made preparations for their escape. He tells her to look behind her, and turning around, she asks if that's a missile. The boy says that's his trump card, not an ordinary missile, and that he named it the Volcano Awakener. From what he observed, the cave they're in is located beneath a dormant volcano, literally filled with high-temperature magma. As soon as the Awakener wakes up the volcano, the dragon beasts will start running desperately, and that's when they'll be able to escape. The princess says he's a genius, because not only will he manage to escape, but he'll also eliminate several dragons. The boy brushes off the compliments, saying they don't have much time and they better start running. Sometime later, we see the fun beginning. Immediately, the guardian dragon feels the volcano's vibration. He gets up quickly and wonders what the heck is going on. That's when he sees several lower-level dragons running towards him, saying the volcano has woken up. The guardian doesn't run. In fact, the first thing that comes to his mind is that the Dragon King is still in there. I mean, at least that's what he thinks. In the middle of the confusion, to disguise themselves, the MC and Wei hide among the rubble. Seeing everyone run, one little dragon was left behind. But since he was left behind, he'll be the first to be eliminated. Seeing who hurt him, he doesn't understand a thing. How is there a human in there? Immediately, the other dragon beasts also stop. They might get taken out by the volcano, but the little MC is going with them. What they don't quite understand is where the mecha armors came from. The princess says that, unfortunately, they won't have time to find out. The girl immediately starts whipping everyone. Yang Xiaofeng notices that more troops are coming from another tunnel. But this time it won't be like the last. Let's just say he has new toys. He manages to fire 2 lasers from the armor, bringing down the entire cave ceiling. With the impacts, the ceiling starts to crumble, and ends up burying not only the dragons but also sealing the tunnel. Yang Xiaofeng tells Wei Wei to stick to the plan. As soon as they get out and reach the planet's atmosphere, they'll be safe. But until then, you better run like crazy, my friend. Outside, we see there are a lot of dragons flying around. The princess didn't expect the number of dragons outside to be so large, but the MC tells her not to stop and to keep moving forward. Very scared, the girl says she understands. But for us to find out if she'll make it through or not, you already know what to do. You have to leave lots of likes and comments asking for the continuation. Thank you so much for watching until the end.